Joe Rogan Podcast. Check it out.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
Train by day, Joe Rogan Podcast by night, all day.
Dude, I think I'd get more nervous for that than a fight, for sure.
I don't know why. That doesn't make sense.
Well, for a fight, I know I'm prepared. I know I have 8 to 10 weeks to prepare for that moment. I guess you could prepare for comedy if you know you're making people laugh and you know you have a good bit. That might make it easier. But to go up there and like freestyle it would be hard.
You
That'd
don't
be
wanna,
impossible,
no,
pretty much, for a newbie.
Well, you could. It depends on your personality. Like, there's people who could freestyle it. Like, I'm sure Joey Diaz could freestyle it his first time on stage. It's just all in who you are. Like, I can't. I prepared my shit for months in advance. I even recorded it on a little tape recorder and played it back and listened to it.
You still do that? Like, record and then listen to it? No.
I do record sets, but I don't like just talk into my tape recorder and then like listen to that like it's a bit and rehearse it like it's a bit.
Yeah, comedy would... I can watch it. I just don't know if I could ever do it. I feel like I'm a funny person. Like when I'm around my group of friends, or like around like comfortable people, like I feel like I can make people laugh. But sometimes when I get really high, I feel like I have good bits.
Yeah.
Like and I'm like, how could you? And then I'll tell someone after I'm not high, and I'm like, yeah, that was not it.
But when you're in the moment, maybe you could have figured out how to translate it. The problem is when you're sober, then you're reading like, what the fuck was I saying? I do that all the time.
Happens.
I have notes on my phone, so I like if I'm out and I just have a crazy idea, I'll write it down on my phone, and then I'll go look at them the next day to see if I mined any gold. I'm like, what do I got? What do I got? But so many times it's like, what the fuck are you saying?
Yeah, no, I like the way you talk about it, though. I think it was even one of the recent podcasts you're saying it's just like such an infant when you have an idea, and then you slowly kind of add to it until it's like the whole bit.
But you never know, because sometimes they come out like full grown.
Yeah.
Sometimes they just pop out of your head. You just have an idea.
Yeah, that's fucking funny.
It's like a full-grown idea, but not always. They're all different.
It's a tough job.
I have a weird theory about ideas. It's not substantiated, nor do I expect it to be taken seriously. But I think ideas might be life forms. I think we're very limited in the way we think about life forms. We think of life forms as something that breeds and something that, grows in the ground or whatever. That's what we think of life forms. But if you think about every fucking thing on earth, everything, this microphone I'm talking to, the airplane that got you here, the sneakers that are on your feet, every fucking thing came out of an idea. An idea got into a person's mind, and then that person made that idea. And we're like, people are so creative, and we certainly are. But where the fuck are these ideas coming from? These ideas that manifest themselves in the form of physical things like televisions and automobiles and cell phones. What is that?
So you think they could just be floating around in different dimensions? Maybe if we were on some kind of drugs, we could see certain ideas floating around. You can grab that one, put it in your mind.
It might be that way. It might be that your mind tunes in to these things that are out there. And like the more you can tune in, the more successful you'll be, right? So the more you'll have an incentive to tune in and make more stuff.
Interesting.
And people are rewarded for being successful and making stuff out of ideas.
Yeah.
Fucking weird, right?
I mean, fuck, yeah.
Like, where are they coming from? We're just the most important thing that human life has ever had is ideas.
Yeah.
Because those ideas turned us from these primates living in the jungle, like regular animals, to someone who lives in a fucking apartment building on the 32nd floor and has Wi-Fi. That's what turned us into that. Ideas.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy.
It might be life forms.
Yeah, I feel like I have very few brilliant ideas. Good, thank God for the people that do figure out the important shit.
We need a lot of people to think up important shit. I have a joke about that. You remember those folks that got trapped on that island? There's an island called North Sentinel Island, and it's in the middle of the Indian Ocean. There's only like 39 people on it. No. It's where there was a missionary a couple years back. He went to deliver Bibles to them, and they murdered them.
Oh God!
but these people, like, we're talking about like uncontacted people, and I'm saying like they don't have a chance. Like that's them.
Oh yeah, okay.
There's not enough of them.
Right.
There's only 39 of them. I'm like, to get a society like we need, like we have, you need fucking millions of people, and there's only like 4 or 5 people that figure out everything. And we buy all their shit.
And those are the guys that are going to live if another. I was listening to the Graham Hancock one. Those are the guys that are gonna survive if another
apocalypse happens.
Yeah, something crazy happens.
Yeah, we're not gonna make it.
No,
they're not gonna miss a beat.
No, yeah.
They're out there with bows and arrows, hunting and fishing and living off the land, and they've been doing that for thousands of years. They're gonna be fine.
Yeah, I feel like such a bitch when I think of those guys. Like, I'm so helpless. Like, I can whoop someone's ass, but it like doesn't really mean much when it comes down to it. But
you could do it. You could do exactly what they're doing if you were thrust into that situation. 100%, 100%, dude. You'd be like that dude in Avatar who just adapts and becomes one of the Na'vi. You would just adapt.
Yeah, it's like languages, I guess, too. You just submerge yourself in another country. I was in Mexico recently, and I was like, damn, I could, because my wife's from Oaxaca. Her first language is Spanish, and like, so I've been with her for like 7 years, so I've learned a little bit. So I was trying to speak it there, but I was like, damn, I feel like I could learn it if I was here for like 3 months. If I'd just be speaking it.
Yeah. There's some method that I was reading about that is some like tried and true method for learning language that allows you to be functional in a language in 30 days. See if you can find out what the fuck that is.
Damn.
It might have just been a marketing scheme.
Yeah.
I might have got sucked into
These
it.
fucking stars are tripping me out. I keep seeing them.
Learn a new language in 30 days. Yeah, Pimsleur method.
It is an ad, but that's what pops
It is
up.
an ad. Focuses on conversational skills. Start actually speaking today. I heard that Rosetta is good too, right? The
Rosetta
Rosetta
Stone?
app.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. Elena, she's 2. My daughter, she's learning English and Spanish at the same time. So she's starting to say 2 or 3 word sentences. But some will be in English and Spanish, and it's just a trip to see how their little brains work.
It's supposed to be really good for child's development to be learning languages simultaneously.
Yeah, Danny's mom's our full-time nanny, and she only speaks Spanish. So and she's with her Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then sometimes on the weekends. So she's learning like she's like Spanish could be her primary language at first. So yeah, no, it's fucking interesting.
It's one of the more important things, supposedly, to like keep your mind from atrophying is like learning language. Like learning language is like a really difficult thing. So they say that like there's a few things that you can do to kind of stave off mental deterioration. One of them is like crossword puzzles. Like doing things where your mind, it just makes sense. Like you make your mind work. And what makes your mind work more than learning a language?
Yeah, seriously. I remember when I was, what was it, Duolingo or some shit, one of the apps. I would go every day. Well, maybe not every day, but pretty much every day. I'd go to the coffee shop and before practice, and I'd read. I would go there for an hour. I'd go and like read for half an hour, and then Duolingo for half an hour for a long time. And I got decent at it, but it's just like you lose what you don't use or whatever the fuck that is, and that's so true. Because that was like a while back when I first moved to Arizona and first met Danny. I was like, I'm going to be able to talk to her in her language, and then did it for a while and was like, fuck that.
I got it a lot when I was in high school. I had Spanish, and I got to a point where I could almost have conversations in class. You know, I could have like crude conversations in class. And I remember thinking at the time, oh, this is great. Because now I always know how to talk like a little bit of Spanish. That shit was gone in like 6 months. 6 months after I graduated high school, it was gone.
Yeah, I was.
You want some coffee?
Fuck it, I might take some coffee. Yeah, I was surprised. I was doing pretty good. I think Tim went with me to Mexico. He was impressed. I was trying to have conversations, and the thing is like when I was there, it wasn't like as embarrassing. But like when I tried to do it with Danny or her mom or like, I just feel like a fucking idiot.
Imagine how foreigners feel talking to us. You know, that's why it's so rude to mock them.
Yeah, Danny moved to America when she was 9. Went to just a normal school, and no one spoke English. And she only spoke Spanish, and she was like, just submerged into it, and just slowly had to learn. Like she went to English class, obviously, but it's hard when. She said there was one girl in her class that spoke like broken Spanish.
Wow.
Yeah.
Imagine trying to like fit in and learn a new culture while you're learning the language. You have totally different culture, totally different environment, and totally different language.
Yeah, no, it's impressive. I mean, it's like you don't really have a choice when you're 9 and you just go to school. It's like you don't have a choice but learn.
Right, most 9-year-old kids freak out if they have to move to a new neighborhood.
Yeah,
they got to make new friends. It's like traumatic. You know.
You did a lot of moving, yeah.
Well, when I moved my kids here, there was like I'm like this is like kind of at the wire where I can't move them anymore. And
what
it'd be
age
a problem? 10 and 12.
Okay, right.
I was like, this is like right when, and then we still had friends that visited. We have friends that also live in Texas. So like, this might work now, But if you move them when they're like 15
Not
and
good.
16, not good. Not good.
Yeah, I was trying to get my sister to move down when she was, I think she was somewhat like freshman or sophomore, and moved down to Phoenix from Montana, and my mom was like, "No," I didn't get it. I'm like, "Why?" But thinking about it now, I'm like, "Yeah, that would have probably been." It's hard for a girl.
It's rough. It's rough for everybody. And especially girls, they go in these. It's like a natural bullying instinct that like teenage girls have.
They're fucking mean to each other.
They get fucking
dude.
mean to each other, dude. I get privy to some text message exchanges that some of these kids have. I'm like, what the fuck, man? And parents get confronted by their kid being like horrible and saying horrible shit to people. Kids telling kids to kill themselves, like wild shit.
Yeah.
No kids I know did. Let me just state that.
Just in
But I do
general?
know that was like a thing where a girl was arrested and she wound up being held guilty. She was a teenager. She broke up with this guy and she convinced him to kill himself.
Oh,
He killed
yeah.
himself. Remember that?
That was I think that was on Netflix or some shit. I watched that.
What? I mean, there's something about like teenage people that are just like learning how to be mean and learning how to like turn on and being scared of people doing it to them.
Yeah.
And so they pile on each other like, woo.
And you're not learning anything in school that's like communication skills or like going inside yourself and feelings, and like you're not learning any of that. So it's just
Imagine learning how to talk while you're texting. Imagine like, learning how to communicate with people, and you're doing more texting than you are actually communicating.
that's how, I mean, I think in 7th grade I got my first flip phone, 7th, 8th grade. So I could talk to chicks texting. I could text them, "Hey, like you look good." I could say
So
anything.
arduous, though.
But then in school, like when I'd see them, I'd be like, I couldn't have a conversation. I was so scared. But texting, I could say whatever.
Well, it's like we were talking about stand-up. It's just a thing you get used to doing. You know, like you're used to fighting. Like for you, I'm sure you get heightened senses and you get fired up and your adrenaline kicks in. But this is a normal thing for you. There's people that just would completely freeze and not even be able to walk into the cage.
Oh, yeah.
They would have a panic attack. But you've done it so many times. I think that's the kind of the case with all things that are difficult to do.
Yeah, I that too, and it's like a skill you have to learn because like Donald Cerrone, for example, did it how many times? And like I was in the backstage of his last fight. I fought I don't remember who I fought, but I was in the back room. He was walking out before me. He was warming up, and he just looked not scared. I don't know if they were nervous, like had this anxious energy, and he's done it more than anyone. But it's just like, I
think if you want to fight well, that never really goes away. I think you have confidence, and I think you control it, and I think the best guys learn how to handle it. But, you know, when you're looking at like Alex Pereira looking at Stylebender in the face-off, like there has to be some crazy heightened sense of tension and awareness in the moment, and it's a crazy big fight. I don't think you get away with that without not having that.
Yeah.
I think everybody has it. It's just some people handle it better. And I think the guys that don't have it, I think sometimes they get in trouble. Like some fights I've seen guys where they're just a little too calm, a little too confident, and then they get lit up. Yeah. It's almost like they can't wake themselves up.
Interesting. Yeah. For me, that last fight going in there with Peter, I just felt... I felt no nerves. I felt so calm. Like, and I've had nerves. I've had fights like my debut when I fought Terry on Ware. I remember like in the backstage, like closing my eyes too long, and I was thinking like, if I lose this and then lose one more, I could get cut. Like having that thought vividly, and I was like, whoa, fuck that. Okay, we'll like counter that obviously with some positive shit. But that going into that last fight, I had zero nerves. I don't know if it was. I didn't feel like it was a win-win. I wasn't thinking like, oh, if I lose to Peter, like no one's gonna care. It was just. I don't know what it was, but I felt it was confidence. Obviously, I had a really good training camp, had a good everything, weight cut, but I wasn't nervous to lose. But it wasn't because it was like to Peter. It just wasn't. I don't know.
You just had gotten into a good headspace to compete. Maybe,
maybe
you're just like much better now at getting in the right headspace that allows you to compete at your best.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, thinking about all those other things, those are not beneficial. And you've experienced those in the past, and you learn from it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's like there's these moments in life where you could think the wrong way and just go off the rails, or you could manage it.
Yeah. It's a skill. It's a mental skill, and I attribute that to all the things I do in preparation leading up to fights. And I've had so many training camps now. I think that was my 10th fight in the UFC, and then I had a ton of fights before that. But I think it's just learning each camp a little bit more to prepare yourself for that specific moment.
Yeah.
Fights are fucking weird because I had no plans for October 23rd. The fight was October 22nd. Like, it's just like, you just plan on not dying, but you're just like, there's nothing else that matters. For 12 weeks, I knew I was fighting him for a long time, over 3 months. There was just nothing. Like, October 22nd was that date. Nothing else mattered. It's crazy what kind of headspace you get into fight camp. And then after fight camp, it takes me like 2-3 weeks. Like, we're 4 weeks out tomorrow from that last fight to get back to just normal thinking and just being at home, being a dad, it's a weird mind space you get into in fight camp. Yeah, it's just a very disciplined mindset. And then I know some fighters that don't really train and take it as serious, but everyone's different.
Well, I think you're figuring out how to do it right for you.
Yeah.
You're dialing it in, and I think the way you're doing it is the right way. I think it's the only way you make those big leaps. I mean, you're in a fucking shark-infested pond, man.
Yeah.
That is such a shark-filled section of MMA. That 135-pound division is wild, man.
Yeah.
And no one weighs 135 pounds.
Dude, Aljo, I heard Aljo say he was like 170 or something the other day.
Aljo's so big.
I'm like, what the fuck? No wonder he doesn't want to fight till July.
Build is like the perfect 135 pound. Like, you can't get any bigger, any leaner.
Yeah.
It's like, there's like tweeners. Like, I think Diego Sanchez was always a tweener. He was like a little bit too small for 55. And, when he tried to make 45, like, that was way too much of a weight cut.
Yeah.
And at 70, like, I think he was small for those guys. He beat a lot of good guys at all those weight classes. Like, Diego in his prime but he was just an animal. And I was like, if there was a 160-pound division, like somewhere in that range.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that'd be sweet if they had more divisions. I know you guys always talk about that.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I think it should be every 10 pounds.
Yeah, it makes sense. 65, what is it, 75?
Yeah.
85, yeah.
Because there's a thing, too, about guys who have too many fights with guys that are out of their weight class. Like, I think it takes even more off of you. I think if you're a small guy in the weight class and you have wars with the bigger guys in the weight class, I think it probably takes even more off of you.
Yeah. I mean, and then for Aljo might, in my opinion, I think, I walk around I think I was 157, 158. I feel like that's prime. If he's walking around 170...
When you get to
fucking
58, is it looming in the back of your mind? 135.
Oh yeah, I will not get above 160 because I know I have to eventually make weight. And I think Aljo, that's just too. He's saying he doesn't want to fight, the weight cut and all that. But if you're gonna be champion, look at Adesanya. He's fighting all the time. If you're gonna be champ, you got to be ready to go. Why? And you can't get that big.
What did you think about Adesanya when he went up and fight Jan Blachowicz and he didn't even gain any weight?
So that was from 185 to 205?
Yeah, he went from 85 to 205 and he wound up weighing like 194 or something like that. So he didn't do anything to try to gain weight. He just didn't cut weight. That's probably what he walks around at before he fights in middleweight.
Yeah, that was just a tough matchup for him to go up. That's a lot of weight too. It's not like going up 10. Like for me to go up to 45, it's only 10 pounds for him.
Yeah.
Going up 20 pounds to try to become double champ, that's tough. That's like a shitty weight class to want to be double champ in. Unless you're Alex Pereira. I don't get how because on the scale he doesn't look super, super sucked in. Like doesn't look like he just got done cutting 20 pounds. But that motherfucker is so massive. He made Izzy look small. And I've been around Izzy. Izzy's a big guy.
Yeah, Izzy's a long, tall man. And Pereira's just, everything was so... Did you see what Robert Whittaker said about it?
The big fella?
He goes, you see the size of this fella?
Yeah. I did.
He's a freaking giant.
Yeah, and he is. That's an interesting... They got to give Izzy the rematch, though, right?
Oh, I would think for sure. If Izzy wants that, I would think that's his.
Yeah. Izzy said he wanted it, but fuck, dude. He fought a damn near perfect fight for a couple more minutes.
So he goes from 83 kilograms to 99.3 kilograms.
Fuck.
So what is 99.3 kilograms? Is that like 220-something pounds?
That picture on the left, 219 on fight day.
Yeah.
It's weird because when they weigh you on fight day, they just grab there's a scale, you have your shoes on and shit, like that. You have a hoodie on. They don't really make you take your shit off and weigh yourself.
Look at that, 219. He walks around he weighs in at 184, and then he weighs in on the fight day at 219. That's crazy. That's
I don't
so
get
big.
it.
He's a heavyweight.
Yeah.
Bro, he's a fucking heavyweight.
Yeah.
He's a heavyweight. He's like, look, if he had a little bit of fat on him, he's a heavyweight. Right? Like,
Yeah, that's true.
Like if you had Cain Velasquez looking, those are some busted up toes, son. Those are some toes that have kicked some elbows, man.
Fuck. That's the worst about every time I get in the fight. It's my fucking feet.
Look at those toes, son. Those toes have seen hell.
That's good. That's a big fight though. The rematch.
Oh, fuck
the
yeah, it
fourth
is.
fight.
Fuck yeah,
God,
it is.
imagine if he lose again though. He's just 4-0 to this guy.
Do you
0-4.
think if you were Izzy, should he take some time? Should he go right into the rematch in like 6 months? Like, if you were in his corner, what would you say to him?
Yeah, I mean, I wonder if Alex is going to stick around and defend it with someone else.
Oh no, Alex would take that fight. That's such a
No,
giant
Alex.
fight.
Yeah, Alex will. But I wonder if Izzy said, "No, let's let someone else try to fight Alex." I wonder if Alex is sticking around for that, or if he's like, "I'm going to go up to 205, try to fight double champ," unless it's Glover, right?
No, he would never fight Glover.
Right,
well,
right.
but that's actually a good point. If Yuri Prohaska beats Glover in the rematch,
Yeah.
and then he decides to avenge Glover and fight Yuri Prohaska, they got a great storyline. What a storyline. Because Yuri obviously has grappling skills because he
Right.
submitted Glover, but that was in sort of a wild exchange, and he caught him in a choke while they're in this, and it was in hell. They're both in hell. I mean, they
Deep
dragged
in
each
hell.
other to hell. It was like as exhausted as you can be, as broken as you could be. Everybody got rocked. Everybody got hurt. It was a crazy-ass fight. Yuri did submit him. But they say Pereira's got a brown belt in Jiu-Jitsu. Like, he just got a brown belt in Jiu-Jitsu. The Glover gave him his brown belt. I don't know what it actually looks like if he thinks he's going to grapple.
Yeah.
You know, like, I don't think he thought he was going to grapple.
Right.
I would
Yeah.
like to see, like, if that's a real brown belt, like, I was seeing real grappling. But when it comes to hitting people, dude, he's fucking technical too, man.
Yeah.
It's not just power.
Yeah.
The way he's setting Izzy up,
That left hook.
the left hook is
so fast.
murderous. And he checks kicks as
Yeah.
good as anybody, man. If you watch his left leg when he's fighting, when he's stomping forward, he checks everything, man.
Yeah.
He's checking all those calf kicks. But that was a big problem in the fight, was that Izzy had landed some brutal calf kicks on Izzy early on. I think it was like 5 or 6 in that first round.
Heavy. Those are heavy too. His fucking fist. I met him. I fought him when he fought Strickland, and his fist is like literally both mine put together. It was so massive.
Dude, and they're long.
Yeah.
They're like long fists.
Just a big fella. Just a big fucking
His
fella.
fucking highlight reel is like nobody else's. His highlight reel is so wild. Like his fight, you see his fight with Jason Wilness?
No.
Pull up Pereira KO's Jason Wilness.
This
By the way,
kickboxing?
yeah, Jason Wilness was world champion. Jason Wilness is like top of the food chain, elite kickboxer. And he fought Pereira before, and he actually had beaten Pereira at some time early in Pereira's career. But this fucking knockout is so wild. And you got to remember, like, you know, this is like the cream of the crop in glory. You got that?
Damn it, Jamie.
Jeez. Here it goes.
God, he's such a long fucking.
But it's just like he's built different than everybody else. It's weird, man.
Yeah.
Like the kind of snap that he has in his shots.
Fucking Izzy had him. 10
man.
more seconds in that first. No,
Oh my
2,
God.
3 more seconds in that first round.
First round, he was fucked.
Oh.
He was fucked.
And he was, dude.
That right hand was perfect.
Yeah.
There it is.
Oh.
So watch this. So he drops Wilness with a head kick. Wilness is in trouble.
Just stands there
He
like a fucking
kick
killer.
through his hand. Oh! Bro.
Jesus, that is.
Bro.
That's how he knocked that dude out in the UFC too. That fucking
his
switch
flying knee is monstrous. He's knocked a bunch of people out with flying knees, and then he gets on the top of the fucking ropes and screams like a monster. Like listen to the sounds he makes when he screams. Watch this.
Easy work for Poatan Pereira. That's that completeness. That was a head kick.
That's
That
scary,
dude is a legitimate ancestor of people that were like tribal folks in Brazil in the Amazon.
He looks like it.
He is,
yeah,
man.
Looks the.
That's superior genetics, son.
Those knees, those long fellas,
bro. That's some crazy genetics.
Yeah, perfect for fighting that style.
And the technique, man.
Yeah.
He's fucking technical. When he was walking down Izzy, when they were like hand fighting and he was checking these kicks, I'm like, this is dangerous in every way. It's not just dangerous power. He's fucking sneaky. He's really technical and creative when he's hitting people.
Yeah, slick. That pressure he was putting on Izzy too, just slow,
and
forward.
He's fighting strange. It's like hands down, straight up.
Yeah.
You know, and he moves in on you, and it's just like, it's so filled with danger.
Yeah.
Like every step he moves towards guys, you see this like recognition of this, like, it's a different kind of power.
I would be so curious to see him versus Robert Whittaker, but I feel like he's going to make Whittaker look tiny.
Yeah, but Whittaker's got wrestling. Whittaker's got real wrestling.
Yeah, or Marvin. Marvin's a thick bastard.
Marvin's a big fuck.
Yeah, he is.
He's a big fuck. You stand at that guy, you're like, how do you make 85?
Yeah.
He's huge.
Yeah, Marvin's a big fuck.
So guys like that have good grappling, and big, strong guys, that's going to be interesting because I don't know whether or not he can keep those guys off of him. And also, I don't know. We really don't know what it's like for him to fight 5 rounds with a grappler. We saw him struggle grappling with Izzy. Yeah. Perhaps he wasn't prepared because he didn't expect it. But still, he got dominated in 1 round on the ground by Izzy. If a real elite grappler gets a hold of him, you know?
From what we saw from that Izzy versus that little exchange on the ground, I'd assume, like, a guy like Marvin would take his back, choke him.
What if he got in there with a guy like Rodolfo Vieira?
Yeah.
What if he got in there with one of those big Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, like Jack black belts?
God, I can't imagine shooting on that dude, though. Knowing those knees are right, coming up the middle like that. Fuck.
Well, especially in the first round when he's fresh, like you're not going to get to those hips. Like, and you're going to run into some shit maybe.
How old is he? 34,
34,
35?
I believe. 34.
So he's not too. I mean, he's got if he wants to fight in his prime, probably got a couple more in him.
Couple more years.
Yeah.
To be at the elite level. But then you look at Glover.
True.
And you're like, how is he doing that?
Yeah.
How is he fighting at that level? Like when he stopped Blachowicz and choked him, when he dropped him and took him down, he just ran through him. Like Jan Blachowicz was the fucking light heavyweight champion, and Glover just ran through him.
Yeah, that was legendary.
41 years old at the time.
Damn, he's that old?
Yeah, bro. I think he won it at 41.
So is he
42 now?
42 now, fighting, what is that, December 10th?
December 10th, the rematch. Yeah.
42?
42.
Holy shit. How old's Yuri? Mid-30s?
Younger. Much younger.
That's crazy.
How old is Yuri for
42.
It doesn't say. They won't tell you on UFC. They'll hide that shit. I think it's a selling point, honestly. Especially for
if you
dudes
want
like me who are old.
Yeah.
Like, I want to see old dudes go there and fuck people up. And Glover's just so... And the thing that happened with Glover, too, is his relationship with Alex Pereira.
Oh, he's only 30?
Yuri's only 30.
Oh,
Jesus
wow.
Christ. That guy's so talented, man. He's super creative.
Yeah, that dude's
super
sick.
weird to watch. But I think what happened was Glover training with Alex, the two of them tightened each other's games up really substantially. You saw like a big leap in Glover once he started training with Alex.
Yeah.
And he was like, hey, I'm in the ring with this fucking killer, man.
Yeah, that's what happens when you train with fucking killers.
Yeah.
You got to, especially at this level. It's like, if you're just training with fucking turds, give me a fucking turd.
Yeah, there seems to be a real benefit to the struggle of training with someone who could fucking kill you on a regular basis. Like, you either sink or swim, but if you do swim, those guys who do swim, they think about those camps that have like a ton of killers. You know, that just like everybody thrives off of everybody.
Yeah.
You got to just like not destroy each other in training, and you can all get through it better.
Yeah, the sparring.
That's
some
where it
people.
gets
I mean, that's just can change someone's career. Just how hard you spar.
Yeah.
I haven't sparred. I spar in camp. Like that last fight, I sparred. I think 9 weeks out up to the fight, and then.
Are you careful with training partners? Do you have like guys that you know that you could spar with that you'll like legitimately spar and not turn into a fight?
Mario Batista. I know he just fucking smoked that one dude, Benito Lopez. I've been training with Mario for probably the last 7-8 years. We were both amateurs at the MMA lab. He's one where I feel like we're all every time he's so good at mimicking whoever I'm fighting, or he's such a good training partner that it never really turns into like an ego match. And then there's a bunch of guys at the MMA lab that are killers, up and comers. But sparring, we turn it up. We gotta go hard. I want that feel, but I also want them to know, hey, if I do get hit, if you rock me at all, don't try to take me out. Like I want, this is sparring. Like
right.
I'm not getting paid. You're not getting paid. Let's take care of each other. So I always try to take care of my partners too. I don't want to. The last thing I want to do is fucking knock one of my partners out. And I've dropped my partners, and I feel so bad just because I know how concussions can change people's careers, change their lives outside of fighting. So my main focus is not knocking my partner out, and I want them to be the same way while turning it up, because I do want to get a good fucking look. For guys like Peter. Like I wanted guys to come after me. I knew that motherfucker was gonna come after me. So I wanted my partners to not be like timid, and sometimes it's hard to find training partners that are gonna like come after me and not be like scared a little bit.
Yeah, one of the things that I learned from watching fights, and this is important, is that when I watch fights at home, when I just watch them, I don't sometimes know who really won because I'm not totally paying attention. Maybe I get a text message from my friend. Maybe I'm talking to my kid. Maybe the dog comes in the room. Like, maybe I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Like, when you watch fights with a group of friends and you're all laughing and talking shit, you barely know what the fuck is going on.
Yeah.
Which leads me to your last fight. Because after that fight, there was a bunch of people that were saying that was a bad decision. Piotr Jan should have got it. And I remember being in my green room. I just did a show in London, and we're eating steaks, and we're all talking. We're watching the fight. We're like, did you think he won? Like, I don't know. I'm like, I'm going to have to watch that one again. I'm like, it looked like Piotr took him down a bunch. So there's a perception, and I think some of that perception comes from takedowns. Yeah. And so then I go back, and I just watch it. I just watched the fight with no one in the room but me, and when I was at the gym. And I was like, no, that's not a bad decision. There was one round to you in the beginning, second round to Jan, third round to you. If you look at damage done, you look at overall strikes and impact, you landed more. He definitely took you down. Yeah. But how much was done with that? That's the thing. It's like, what does that count for? Like, I know there's a sort of subjective element to how that gets regarded and what's good and what's bad, but that was not a bad decision. It was a very fucking close fight, a very good fight. But I felt like for you that was going to be that fight where we'll see. Yeah. We'll see how you hang with the cream of the crop, because that guy's the best.
Yeah. Fuck yeah. All the people that were saying, not all, a lot of the people that were saying it was a robbery were the same people going into that fight saying I was going to get smoked. So they fucking hated the fact that it was even close. So, but yeah, I rewatched the fight a bunch. First round, I feel like was the round that was controversial. Some people were saying it should have been 30-27 Jan, and those guys are just fucking the haters.
Those guys are hot.
Because the third round was clearly mine. I cut him bad and hurt him. The second round, he won, but I did drop him. Technically, I dropped him. He cracked me, didn't drop me, but he did more damage on the second round. The first round was the one that was the most like up in the air. And when he took me down, I was throwing up omoplatas, triangles, arm bars. They weren't necessarily close. They weren't close to submitting him, but he was having to react. He was having to do the defenses to where he wasn't able to strike me, which led me to being able to get up. So, and then when I did get up, I was clearly landing the better shots. But yeah, a lot of people, they just hated the fact that I skipped the entire top 10, went to the top dog, and I got to answer a lot of there was questions about cardio. Can I even grapple? Because I hadn't really grappled yet in the UFC. Do I have that dog in me? Do I have heart? Which I felt like I showed that when I broke my foot in the Andre Soccermom fight 5 years ago. I was fighting with one foot, and people don't remember those moments. But yeah, I feel like I got to show a lot in that fight.
Yeah, you definitely did. Yeah, but fuck all those people.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me. It doesn't. Like, we talk about it. Like, I talk about it on the podcasts and stuff. I do talk about it because it's it's being talked about.
Well, you're a flamboyant personality, and you talk a lot of shit. Yeah. So when people talk a lot of shit, it gets a lot of people to pay attention to them, which is great. But it also gets a bunch of haters hoping that you get beat up.
That's Floyd's whole way of he made money his whole career. Conor, everyone fucking wanted to see him lose. Eventually I'm going to be making them pay-per-view points, and if people are going to pay me or pay to see me get knocked out.
Floyd's the great master at it. Floyd went from being like a really exciting pressure fighter and he had a bunch of hand problems to like Money Mayweather, start talking shit, just boxing people's faces off. No more hand problems, much more money.
Yeah, I love what he's doing too, beating up these YouTube guys.
It's great.
I love it.
It's so funny that these guys are willing to get beat up by him.
Well, I think they're all delusional.
They really think they have a chance.
Most of them, I mean, yeah, they really think. I mean, they're like, I could land it. I could land the shot.
Isn't that hilarious?
If you're not a, yeah, it's fucking weird. I love what he's doing though. I mean, I didn't watch his last one. I watched the one with Logan. Was the only one I really watched.
The Logan one was insane.
Logan's I bet Floyd was in there like, what the fuck? I didn't realize this motherfucker was that big. Logan's
He's so
big guy.
He's so big
and athletic.
Very athletic. And when he was like swinging wild at Floyd, I was like, if one of these gets through, that's a big old Viking fella.
Yeah, that was. I don't know. I was sitting on the edge of my seat. That was probably. I like Jake's fights too. I'll watch those, but it's pretty much the only boxing I watch. Like Logan or Jake's fighting, or
he dropped Anderson Silva.
I was front row for that.
He dropped Anderson Silva.
It was
no matter what anybody says.
Yeah.
Jake Paul dropped Anderson Silva. You got to stop with all this. He's just a YouTuber.
Yeah.
He had a boxing match with Anderson Silva. He won a unanimous decision, and he dropped him.
Yeah, it was entertaining.
Over.
It was fucking entertaining.
Very entertaining.
Too.
It was a good fight.
Great boxing match.
I submit, and I have before, that if that guy wasn't Jake Paul from YouTube, and he was just an up-and-coming, undefeated boxer who's been knocking out MMA fighters, you would go, wow, this kid is fucking awesome. You would say, look at this up-and-coming boxer who's tricked these MMA guys into boxing with him, and he's knocking them all out. Knocked out Ben Askren, knocked out Tyron Woodley with one punch.
That was gross.
Anybody that doesn't think he's legit after that, you're delusional. You're delusional. But he's doing it too. He's getting people to hate him.
Yeah, so I'm so curious. And I'm glad they're doing it. I fucking love it. I'm so curious what's next for Jake Paul. I love to wait for the anticipation. I know the Nate Diaz thing's kind of looming there, but...
Imagine if he wins a world title. Like, what if he does this for 5 or 6 more years and wins a world title?
If he keeps... He's improving, clearly improving fast, too. From that last fight to the Anderson Silva fight, improved a lot.
Yeah.
He went through a full fight camp. He's supposed to fight that Top Ramen Jr., fucking whatever the guy's name was. He was supposed to fight him, going through fight camps.
Top Ramen Jr.?
I don't remember his name. It's fucking Top Ramen. Something like that.
Rahman?
Yeah.
Rahman. Hasim Rahman's son.
I don't know where I got Top Ramen from. But, fuck. He improved a lot from going into that fight camp. Supposed to fight that guy, didn't. But you could tell, dude's in the gym. He's training.
Yeah.
He's doing big things. So yeah, I'm excited to see him. See him what's next for him.
Yeah, it's interesting because he's kind of sort of taken over the sport of boxing in a way. Like he gets as much attention and as much press as any of these like Ryan Davis just signed on to fight Gervonta Davis just signed on to fight Ryan Garcia.
That is official.
Yes.
Is it?
Yes.
Oh shit. Okay.
That's happening in February. That's a big fight.
I'll tune into that one.
But like, how come we didn't get Errol Spence versus Terrence Crawford? Why didn't we get that fight?
Yeah.
Like that was supposed to happen. That was in negotiation. Like with boxing, there's like certain fights that just don't get made. And it's so frustrating.
Is it different organizations owning those different fighters and shit?
I guess it's probably a factor. Different promoters, it's probably a factor. But it's also like, I think fighters probably want the best deal for themselves. And they're holding out negotiations. And who fucking knows? But it's just like, that was one where I was like, damn. Like, how did we not get that fight? That was a great fight.
Yeah. I don't.
That's a who knows who wins fight. Those are the ones you want.
I mean, are they? How old are they? They're still.
I think Terrence Crawford is older.
Oh, okay.
I think he's in his 30s. He might be 34.
Like a Floyd Manny thing where you get it too late.
Yeah, man, you don't want that. Because Crawford is like one of the best switch hitters of all time. He's a fucking wizard in there.
God, I'm not even very familiar with those guys. Like I've heard of their names, but I'm not familiar.
So you don't watch boxing?
No,
really?
I've watched Logan and Jake boxing.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
He's 35.
35. Yeah. See,
Terrence
that's
Crawford
getting a little.
Yeah, it's
getting up there.
It's getting up there, but.
I wanted to ask you what you think about the power slapping too. I know because when I was thinking about it, I was like, I'm gonna probably come on here, and if it gets brought up, talk just absolute shit about it because I don't fucking. But then I had a meeting with UFC yesterday, and I sat down with Dana. No cameras, nothing. Just sat down, talked to him. And he was getting so fired up about the power slapping and so passionate about it that it made me almost kind of want to watch it because he announced his thing and everything, and I was like, he's like, if they don't have to fucking do it, because my whole thing is concussions. Are like, I don't want to fucking watch people just get like they choose to do it. I'm like, well, fair point, but I just can't imagine. Oh God.
Listen, man. I love Dana, and I would be a hypocrite if I said I wouldn't watch this, because I will watch it. but this is not my cup of tea. What I like is problem solve. I like puzzles. I like you and Jan. I like this fucking Russian assassin storming the gates at you, and you figuring a way to move around him and kick his legs and jab at him, and that's what I like. I love that fight. I love that fight. I love technique. Like, it was sad to watch Frankie Edgar get knocked out this weekend. It was sad. But god damn, Chris Gutierrez is good.
Yeah, slick.
God damn, he's slick.
Yeah,
he's so the way he moves is so nice.
Yeah, I watched
footwork.
That. It was very good. He has like a similar style to mine as far as like dancing up against the cage and like throw similar shots. I think we probably have similar builds, but yeah, I did not like that fight for Frankie.
I did not like it.
I'm not allowed to bet on fights now. That whole new thing.
What is that? I don't like that.
I don't have any inside information.
I want a guy like you who bets his whole fucking purse on winning.
Oh yeah, I'm betting on yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
Why?
So weird.
Why can't a UFC fight? It's bad optics, they say.
I would have bet Frankie. I mean, I looked at Chris Gutierrez and I look at Frankie. I'm like, Chris is gonna probably knock him out. Like Frankie, that's what I was thinking, and I would have put money on it.
And these kids were in the crowd for the first time.
And they panned to him in the beginning of the fight. I'm like, this is not. That was their first time.
Yes, the first time seeing him fight live, and it's the end because it's his last fight.
Yeah, that.
Look, the guy's
hurts.
a fucking warrior. You can't tell him no. You can't tell him don't do that.
Absolutely.
But goddamn, as far as matchups go, Gutierrez is one of those guys that everybody who watches fights knows he's fucking dangerous, like a top level, but he doesn't have the shine yet.
Yeah.
For whatever reason.
Yeah.
You know, not enough. Maybe this fight will change that.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's going to change it for everybody who remembers. But it's like there's so many fights and so many KOs. Like in that card, 15 fights, I think we had the most first-round stoppages ever.
Like 7 or 8.
It was nuts.
Yeah.
And fucking Brian Spann, holy shit,
a
dude.
jab.
Holy shit, is he good.
That's a scary dude.
And when he said, this is the first fight I trained for, like, what?
Yeah, that's...
What?
How old is he, Jamie? We see how old? 31? Damn, you're on top of that shit. Yeah, 31. I mean, that's...
Dude, that
that's a
guy's
scary guy.
a nightmare.
Is he ranked? Right. Was that a rank?
I mean, it should be now because I think Dominic Reyes was ranked. I think Dominic was like 5 or 6 or something like that.
I think he's 0-4.
Those last few fights were rough, dude. The John Jones fight was rough, right? And then he goes right from that to Yuri. And Yuri nukes people.
Yeah.
When he kicked his body and left this giant red footprint on his body, I was like, how fucking hard does that dude hit?
Rise fan number 10 now?
Number 10 now. Yeah, that's legit, man. There's a few of those guys in that division, man. Nikita Krylov, the way he took out Gustafsson, I was like, holy shit. Did something happen to him recently?
I'm not sure.
Yeah. Why do I feel like he got injured?
That's a scary division right there.
Fucking terrifying division. They're all heavyweights.
Yeah.
Every one of them's a heavyweight.
Yeah, fuck that. I'm so glad I'm not a big guy. Like bantamweight. Like there's still some scary guys at bantamweight.
Well, you have a great frame for bantamweight, though. If you can continue to make 35, that reach is such a nice thing to have.
Yeah, I know Chael always says reach advantage is not advantage unless you like. I'm like, it is. Reach advantage is an advantage.
It's an advantage.
I know.
Look at John Jones.
Yeah.
When you have the reach
84?
advantage and strength, like John Jones has reach advantage and ridiculous strength in wrestling. Yeah. He's got the best combination of assets. Like distance management. Like he might not have the same kind of one-punch power that some of those guys have, but he fucks up everybody.
Yeah.
And his distance management is the best ever. In that division, he's so good at just keeping right away, stabbing at your legs, the elliptical kick or the, what's it called? Oblique kick, and then the side kick to the knee.
I love that one.
Elliptical kick. Where's my brain?
Yeah.
Weed stole that word from me.
Elliptical kick.
Gus is out for his next fight, if that's what you were thinking of.
Oh, maybe. That's what it was. That's what it was. Yeah, because Gus was supposed to, that was going to be his rebound fight.
Oh, because he retired, right? He was going to come back? Alexander Gustafsson? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah,
Oh.
he was going to retire after that last KO because Krylov just stormed at him in the first round and took him out. I couldn't believe he fought that way. Like, he generally fights like pretty reserved, but in that fight he just went do or die. He's out.
OSP. The fucking OSP Von Flue. He was. I remember his fight against. Was it Glover that he uppercutted, or who was it?
Oh, it's a no official. What's Glover? He uppercutted Glover.
That was slick boxing. That whole last 10 seconds of that, he slides
Video
off.
game shit. Video game shit.
Yeah.
That was Gustafsson in his best.
Yeah.
That and the John Jones fight. I remember the John Jones fight, the first one, when John didn't train. You know, that's how you see the difference. Because look at the second fight. They have a second fight, and John,
did he take him down?
But you have to also say, the second fight, how was that before or after Gustafsson fought Rumble?
Oh, that's a good question.
Rest in peace, Rumble. Rumble
Out of
passed away
nowhere.
this week.
Yeah.
Apparently, he had some form of, I think it was like non-Hodgkin's lymphoma or something along those lines.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's public. We should find out if that's public knowledge.
I think it was. I think I read that. I couldn't pronounce the words, and that sounds like it was.
Yeah, I shouldn't say it if it wasn't public knowledge. Though. If it's not public knowledge, we should edit it out.
I'm almost positive I just read that in an article the other day. But yeah, that was great. I was on the
38
UFC,
years old, man.
Yeah, I did the UFC quintet with him. It was me, Clay Guida, him, Gilbert Burns, Anthony Smith. But yeah, that was I think my only really interaction with him.
Dude,
fucking good dude.
Yeah, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, a rare immune disorder called HLH. Yeah, horrible.
38.
Such a nice guy. And the biggest welterweight that's ever walked the face of the planet.
Yeah.
When he was a welterweight,
I know, that's fucked.
Dude, I saw him in between fights once, and I go, Anthony, how big are you? And he goes, 230 pounds.
230? What the
Dude,
fuck?
He walked in looking like a Greek god. He was so gigantic.
just ripped?
I'm like, he wasn't fat at all.
Yeah.
I'm like, how do you get that little? How do you make 170? He was gigantic.
He always had issues making 170 though, right?
Oh,
Like,
yeah. Well, he missed it a bunch of times, and then he fought Vitor at 85. And Rumble was like this guy that you never knew what you were going to get. If he was like ready to go and in shape and prepared,
Jesus.
he could be one of the most dangerous guys of all time.
Yeah.
But he was kind of, at least early on in his career, inconsistent until he moved up in weight.
Yeah.
Then when he moved up in weight, look what he did in the light heavyweight division. And I maintain that most of what was holding him back was just the dread of making that weight. It's just dread.
Yeah.
So the guy goes up 2 weight classes and is knocking out everybody with one punch at light heavyweight.
Yeah, 170 should have never been.
Imagine that. Inside of his career, he's fighting 35 pounds up and destroying people. Knocking out Glover with one punch. Knocks out Gustafsson. Bro, he fucked everybody up except DC.
Yeah.
DC just used his wrestling.
He fought DC twice, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
God, I bet DC was like, God damn it, I don't want to fight this motherfucker again, dude.
He's so dangerous.
God.
Rumble's so dangerous.
That's a scary, yeah.
He was so dangerous. He had power that was... I remember when he hit Glover, I was like, oh.
Did his tooth go flying? Was that Glover's tooth?
He made somebody's tooth go flying.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was Glover's.
It was that uppercut.
God damn, he was a powerhouse.
Yeah, possessing that fucking power in his hands. Because he doesn't need to be like...
Oh, it is Glover's tooth.
yeah. Because he doesn't need to really be accurate either. He can hit you like anywhere in the head, and that's night-night.
Bro, he could hit your shoulders and you'd be dizzy.
It might get knocked out.
It's crazy. He just had that preposterous power.
Yeah, that... Oof.
Watch this uppercut.
Dink. Oh, that was like...
Crazy.
Just like a thud.
That's Rumble, man.
Boom.
That's why everybody was scared of Rumble.
His tooth.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh. At least he gets a
He
takedown.
woke up.
2
he
points.
woke up, didn't know what the fuck happened.
No one counted my takedown on Peter with 2 points. I think that was 2. My little takedown at the end of the first.
I think it was a takedown. Did his knees go to the ground?
Oh, yeah. He took his
DC
back.
gets mad when they don't give up takedowns. Like
Unless it's me.
Colby Covington. Oh, unless it's you.
Yeah,
When
okay.
Colby Covington fought Kamaru, he took him down.
Yeah.
And DC was like, "That's 2.
Yeah.
That's 2. You got to give it to him.
Yeah.
It's a takedown."
I know.
So until Leon took him down the first round, which was fucking
Mounted.
wild.
Right in the mount.
Wild. Mounted him.
Yeah.
Yeah. No one had actually officially taken down Kamaru.
Yeah.
That fight was insane.
Dude, that was insane. And then Kamaru coming on here after and just fucking
Pure
champ.
class.
Humble
Pure
champ.
class.
Like,
Pure class.
Good outlook on it. It's like, I mean,
Yeah.
he was winning the fight, got caught with a fucking head kick from one of the best guys in the world. It's,
Yeah.
is what it is.
That's the game you play.
Fuck, that was
Yeah.
crazy,
Yeah.
though.
It
And
was
then Izzy
crazy.
losing in the 5th, too. Both pound for pound guys.
And right when it was about to happen, John Anik actually set it up. He said about like that, he could coast here, but that's not what he's made of.
For Kamaru?
I think it was like that he could. No, I think it was like not quitting. I think he was talking about Leon. See if you can find it.
That was.
It was like I don't want to fuck it up. I already fucked it up. But it was like.
No.
There was a quote that he said right before Leon knocked him out. It was like he was kind of setting up that Leon's not going to quit. Yeah, prophetic call and the greatest knockout call in UFC history. Yeah, there it is. We'll hear it here. John Anik's the best of all time.
He's so fucking
He's the
good.
best.
As his hand gets raised, he's going to win.
Minute
You gotta
12.
get to the gas station.
Oh, God.
He may have resigned
Low kick,
himself
setting it up already. Throws that little low kick. You see how he's feinting that left legs, trying to get a reaction out of him? Nothing, no reaction.
That is not the cloth from which he was cut. Bam, and then the knockout. It's the perfect call. It's the greatest call ever.
That was
But
so
that is not
beautiful.
the cloth from which he is cut and then a perfect head kick. Bro, that's Shakespeare.
Yeah, that's
That's
beautiful.
Shakespeare.
That is fucking.
John Anik
That's
is the
goose. That
fucking
gave me
man.
goosebumps.
That is not the
cloth.
cloth from which he is cut. I mean, that is a
Oh,
It's the greatest call of all time. It's the greatest call of all time.
yeah, John Anik's a legend, dude.
But that's the greatest call of all time, right there.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't get any better. Every now and then, like the words and the moment line up, and you're like, that's the greatest call.
That's goosebumps.
One of the wildest head kick knockouts. I think the most important head kick knockout ever. Ever.
Yeah, has to be. Pound
And
for pound.
the most shocking, where he just lands it with a minute to go in the fight, where he's clearly losing. Holy shit.
And this is pound for pound headshot dead.
Yeah.
I was like, oh
shit.
It was crazy too because that was in Utah at elevation. Kamaru trains in Denver at elevation, and Leon to go 5 rounds was getting grappled, and to be able to pull that off smooth still was so fucking impressive.
He's so technical, man.
Yeah.
On his feet, he's so good. There's some video of him hitting the pads, and it makes you want to quit karate.
Really,
Watch this motherfucker hit the pads. See, find like Leon Edwards hitting the pads.
I remember seeing him like do the
Dude,
elbows and shit.
he's so smooth and powerful, man.
Yeah, I stood. Yeah, that's.
Give me some volume on this.
He's a big guy too.
Bro, that is fucking clean.
Speed and power mixed right there.
Clean technique, too. It's like total efficiency in the way he's delivering that kick. Every move as he steps in with those elbows. I mean,
That's gonna be a massive rematch. I know
Yeah.
that's in. Is that the one that's in? Oh, that's in London. That's right.
and what Leon loves, too, is that he did all of this out of his gym in England. He didn't have to move to America and join ATT or join one of the big gyms.
Yeah.
He did it out of his town.
That's fucking impressive.
That's fucking impressive.
I couldn't have done that in Montana. I could have done that in Montana.
Bro, you'd be able but look at this. Some guys that could pull that off somehow or another.
Yeah, no, it's impressive. But there's sometimes you just gotta fucking leave. So those kids listening to this right now at a shitty gym, you gotta leave.
Sometimes you have to leave.
Yeah.
Pretty much like John Jones had to leave.
Yeah.
A lot of guys have stories that, they leave. Joaquin Buckley was here last week.
I
He
listened
said
to
he
that.
had to leave too.
Yeah.
He had an original gym he started out with. He's like, okay.
You can only get so good if someone's like a coach is only at a certain level. It's like,
Yeah.
and the training partners and stuff. So, yeah, going to a big gym's, maybe not a big gym, but just a gym with some good, some decent coaches. But yeah, you gotta, for the most part, you gotta look for something better.
Do you think that there's any benefit to having a smaller environment where the coaches are really paying attention to you versus a large environment where you're at like an ATT or something like that? They got hundreds of fighters, right?
Yeah.
Like where you kind of get lost in the mix.
Dude, my last probably 4 or 5 years, like I do all my sparring at the MMA lab. They have a fucking great team over there. Like they have a great schedule. Their Monday through Saturday schedule is great. But for me, once I started getting into the UFC, I was like, I need that one-on-one. I need my personal strength and conditioning coach, Brandon Harris. I need my own guy. Jiu-Jitsu coach Augusto Mendez, 180cc in I think 2019 in my weight class, best grappler in the world. And then Tim's the kind of the head coach, holds mitts, sets up the sparring. So I still go to the lab to spar, but I bounce around and it's more of a boxing approach. It's like we got the whole team dialed in, focused on me. And I
just like
that.
your mindset, right? Like all these things improve with time, right? And, and now you really got it totally dialed in.
Yeah, it's crazy to think about all the things that just worked out. Like how I met Tim, then I moved to Arizona, and then I meet Brandon Harris for the strength and conditioning, and that completely changed my career. I wasn't lifting, and if I was lifting, I wasn't lifting properly. And it's not even lifting to just get super strong, but just to not get injured, just building that muscle around those joints and just build this. I haven't gotten seriously injured since I started working with Brandon, and I think that's a huge reason why, just from lifting correctly. So meeting him.
What kind of exercises does he have you doing?
It's not like the nice thing about it is I don't have to think about it. I know I go in there and I just put all my trust in him. Here's my strength, and most of the conditioning is the sparring, is the mitts, is the grappling, and then I do like treadmill sprints and shit too. But the thing with him is I don't go in there and his main goal isn't to just fuck me up. It's not make me sore. It's not he does what I'm not getting in the gym. So we'll do some stuff will be like lower heart rate stuff, and I know you had someone on here talking about how important that is. Just for longevity, but just for getting in shape too, having like the zone 2 workouts for 45 minutes and stuff like that. But as far as lifting, we'll do the deadlifts and the bench press, and we'll do normal lifts just in perfect technique. I'm not hurting my back. I'm not trying to lift way too much.
Are you doing like deadlifts, squats, a clean press?
I don't really do
what
squats,
kind of
no clean and press, deadlifts. We'll do. I fucking feel like an idiot thinking about what lifts we do right now.
So you're doing, but is his approach like higher repetitions with lighter weight? Like how does
depending on where we're at in camp, like it changes from. We'll do like 4 weeks of this, 4 weeks of this, 4 weeks of this, and like further out we'll do power. I really building that strength, especially like I'm gonna go fight a guy like Aljo or Henry. Like I'm gonna be fucking grappling. I need to be strong. I need to be able to deadlift and jack up some underhooks and be able to. So we're gonna focus on. It depends. Like when I was fighting Peter, I didn't really plan on grappling too much. I was planning on being way faster on my feet, not really lifting as much, being a little bit lighter. So it depends on who we're fighting. I'm gonna fight one of these guys next, and I want to be strong. I want to make sure we're hitting those deadlifts and being really fucking strong. But so yeah, it depends. And if we do like a 12-week fight camp, the first 4 weeks will be whatever, and then the next 4 weeks, and then the next 4 weeks. Like I don't even really pay attention. I just go in, trust him, do it, and fucking. Yeah.
Do you anticipate that Henry is going to jump back into the mix? You think that's real?
It's a great question. I've been saying no for a long time, but I do think, the closer it gets, I think he is.
Yeah.
I think he's going to come back. I know he's 2-time world champ, Olympic gold medalist.
If he's going to come back, he's got to come back soon.
Yeah.
Like, what is he now, 35 maybe?
It's a good question.
How old is Henry Cejudo? This is like what age is he?
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, so
35? 36 in like 2 months.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
So,
he's got it now.
Yeah, he's got it now. At that age, in that weight class, it gets tough. There's some outliers, right? Like Mighty Mouse seems to be an outlier. He's as good as he's ever been.
Yeah.
It's wild. And I've been watching him over in one FC.
I watched that last
He's
fight.
as good as he's ever been.
Yeah.
He's a wizard.
But Henry versus Aljo, I think, is if I had to guess, if that's going to happen, it's going to happen early next year.
I wonder if how much do you think Cejudo is super talented?
Yeah.
Obviously, 2-division world champion. But how much does that sell? Is that a big fight?
For Aljo or me?
For anybody.
It should be, but it's not because it's Henry, and for whatever reason, some people are fucking likable, some people are, superstars, and he's just not. I mean, it's not. I'm not acting like I'm talking shit. He's just really not a superstar. He's a 2-time world champion. And he's got like less than 1 million followers on Instagram, which is crazy. Two-time world champ.
Yeah.
That's like that was Conor's whole thing. That's
Yeah,
why he
this-
was so fucking massive.
I'm not saying this is a diss. I'm a Henry Cejudo fan because I never understood why Mighty Mouse didn't
Nice
get
to meet you. I
famous.
never met a fucking Henry Cejudo fan.
I'm a fan of the way he fights.
He's very
Come on,
skilled.
man.
Very
The way he
skilled.
took out Dominic,
Very skilled.
he's a fucking animal, dude.
Yeah.
The way he took out TJ. Henry
Yeah.
Cejudo's a beast.
He is a beast.
He's a beast. I know he talks a lot of shit, but
And it's not
again-
good shit. That's the thing. Like you can talk shit as long as it's good. But him versus Aljo.
Is that thing here? If you do
No, I
like
think
this,
it's good.
it'll tighten it up.
Oh, no.
This button right here, it's wiggling around. That's why you're having a problem with it down here.
Oh shit.
That right there. There you go.
Henry versus Aljo. I think it's a pretty big fight though. I mean,
a very big fight.
It's not gonna do crazy numbers. It's not gonna be a main event. If I had to guess, it would be a co-main.
But it's a difficult fight, and it might not be a big fight.
Yeah. Yeah,
Right.
that sucks.
Which sucks.
It fucking
It's kind of
sucks
crazy
for-
because
for
you
them.
could lose to Henry. Henry's
sure.
a monster wrestler,
Yeah.
and Aljo's strength is, he's clearly well-rounded, but his
Yeah.
strength is his grappling.
God, see, it's an interesting fight.
Very, very,
And
very,
the-
very.
And I bet me versus Aljo would be a main event. I think Henry versus Aljo would be a co-main event on a card.
Ooh, shots fired.
But
Shots fired.
and I think that's just
He's gonna have a crown on in his next video on
God.
Instagram. He's gonna be talking shit about you.
I get 75 likes. I've looked at his Instagram. It's pathetic. I was like, what the fuck? How does he have this less of likes?
It's unfortunate that people don't appreciate what he's accomplished. It's like the flyweight class just never got to shine.
Yeah, I mean, it still
Still doesn't get to
really.
shine.
Yeah.
Brandon Moreno and Davison Figueiredo 3 is going to be
4.
fucking insane. That's right.
That's 4.
That's right, 4.
Yeah,
Oh my
yeah.
God,
Yeah, that's crazy.
bro. Kai
But-
Kara France. I mean, that division's
Yeah.
filled with killers. Filled with killers.
The reason Henry left was money. He wanted more money, and the UFC wasn't going to pay him more money. They're like, this is what we're going to pay you, either fight or not. And that's why he retired. And he thought retiring they would want him back, and they just haven't. So now he's this old, and he's like, well, fuck. Okay, I'll come back.
Well, I think he's still a competitor too.
Yeah,
we
for
could be
sure.
cynical about it all day long, but that guy is a Olympic gold medalist and 2-division UFC champion.
Considerably the number one combat. I saw someone say Alex Pereira is the number one combat sports athlete, but it's hard to put him above Henry when he's won the Olympic
he won
gold.
the gold medal in the Olympics.
And 2-time world
However,
champ.
Pereira, when he's fighting in glory, he's fighting elite professionals.
Yeah.
Whereas Henry is wrestling amateurs. There's not. I wonder if they had a professional level of grappling, if the level would be even better than it is right now. Do you know what I'm saying? Like if there was like millions of dollars to be made.
Oh, yeah.
Like if wrestling was like NBA, like it was that big, which is totally conceivable.
Yeah.
Wrestling is fucking exciting. You watch 2 assassins go after each other and dive on legs and scrambles. It's very exciting. Why isn't that a huge thing? And if it was a huge thing and these guys could make millions, I wonder if the level would go up.
Yeah.
Because think about how high the level is already. But if it was like a real professional sport all around the world.
Yeah, that's a good question. Probably. I mean, I'm
wonder.
sure money makes people happy. It makes them want to fucking go after it. So yeah, probably.
Well, it does, but that makes wrestling even more impressive. Because other than like guys like Jordan Burroughs, who makes a considerable amount of money doing events and competing, he makes money. But for most guys, it's a fucking tough road to be a wrestler. You might get a coaching job, but if you get a coaching job, like that was what kept. That was Mark Schultz. Mark Schultz, who was the brother of the guy who got murdered by John DuPont in that movie.
Oh yeah.
What was that movie called again?
Foxcatcher.
Foxcatcher. The movie's kind of like they play a lot of take a lot of liberties with the storyline, like Clear.
Yeah.
But in the story in the movie, Mark Schultz fights some Russian in a cage fight, but in real life, he fought Big Daddy Goodridge. So Mark Schultz, who was a fucking cream of the crop, world champion wrestler, just took Big Daddy Goodridge down at will. Just mounted him, beating him up, but he never fought in MMA again because he was coaching. I think he was coaching for Baylor, Brigham Young, maybe Brigham. He was coaching for some college. And the college said, if you want to retain your job as a coach, you cannot fight in a fucking cage with bare knuckle headbutting people on the weekend.
Yeah, no, that's fair, but come on. Like
But
show
I mean,
up Monday retarded.
that's the problem with guys who were wrestlers. It's like you got to a point where you got a job, then you got to. The only real competition back then for money was MMA, and there was guys that like jumped in with no submission training, they didn't know what they were doing. Remember when Ensign Inoue tapped Royce Alger? Do you remember that?
Hell no.
You don't remember
I don't even
that?
know who those guys are.
Dude, you don't know who Ensign is? Oh my God, Ensign's a legend. Ensign's one of the toughest guys that's ever lived.
Old school UFC?
Old school UFC, old school Pride. He fought wars in Pride. He had a war with Frank Shamrock.
This dude?
He was to the death.
Shit. What a name.
His nickname was Yamato Damashi, which is, I don't want to fuck up the translation.
Yeah.
But I think
it's a big guy.
Roughly it has something to do with like fighter spirit. Find out what Yamato Damashi means. What's the actual translation of it?
12-8. Just fought everybody, huh? Or anybody?
What does it say? Cultural values. What is it? What is the definition? Japanese heart mind. It's a Japanese language term for the cultural values. Well, they would use it in like a warrior term, though. Spirit, cultural values, as opposed to cultural values of foreign nations. Spirit, Yamato spirit. Anyway.
Wonder what those dudes were making back in the
One
day,
day,
money-wise.
me and Eddie Bravo and this dude Cabbage. Do you remember Cabbage?
No.
Cabbage was another guy who fought in the early days of the UFC. One of the fucking toughest dudes that's ever lived. Built like a fire hydrant.
Fucking Cabbage.
Yeah.
Fighting.
Samurai Spirit or Old Spirit of Japan. So that was what his nickname was, like Samurai Spirit. That dude would like literally try to fight to the death. His fights were so wild. They were just fucking slugfest, like ducking his head, swinging, full blast, dumping the gas tank, just emptying it out.
As fast as possible.
He fought Igor Vovchanchin, but he also fought skillfully too, man. He submitted Randy Couture. He armbarred Randy Couture. That was Cabbage. Cabbage was an animal, bro.
They all look the
so
same.
Cabbage was a funny dude. One time, me and Eddie Bravo and Cabbage were smoking weed in a hotel room in Vegas, and I wanted to quit. I was like, dude, we can't keep smoking weed. He just kept rolling up joints, and he just would, if you'd fire the joint up and say, Yamato Damashi. Yamato Damashi.
Just a character.
We completely passed through into another dimension in that hotel room. We just sat around and giggled for like
That's
3
funny.
hours afterwards.
That's funny. I think I don't remember who I was having this conversation with, but I was thinking if fighters got paid way more like they want, it's like I don't know how many fighters will stick around. It's such a fucked sport, like to go through those camps and stuff. I'm like, if these young fighters are making, $100,000, $200,000 and they're not used to making money, I'm like I don't know how serious they would take it.
I think the killers would all stay.
Yeah.
I think this is like what makes a Pereira or an Adesanya or even you. I think what makes people really get get to that level. It's not just the motivation is not just money. The motivation is glory.
Yeah.
The motivation is accomplishing this impossible task, and right. I mean, like, what is your motivation?
Yeah, I think mine now is just reaching my highest potential. I'm like, damn, how we're so close. We're number one right now. I want to be the champ, and I want to be, I want to see how far I can take this. I want to be recognized as one of the greatest ever too. And I don't want to just be recognized as a striker that knocks people out. I want to be, I don't want to just Alex Pereira's like known just for striking. Izzy was kind of just known for striking. I feel like I've underrated jiu-jitsu, underrated grappling, and I've been training a lot. And I want to start like ideal scenario. I fight Alger or Henry. I would love to fucking choke one of these dudes.
Did you tap Gilbert Melendez in a tournament?
No, I tapped
not
Gomi.
Gilbert.
Gomi.
Oh, it was Gomi.
Yeah.
Takanori Gomi?
Yeah.
Sorry, Gilbert.
I grappled Gilbert. We did an 8-minute round. Or it was 8 or 9 minute round, and that was a pretty sick match. That was on that UFC quintet, but
Gilbert, super underrated guy. People forgot about Gilbert.
Yeah, but high level black belt, way bigger than me. I didn't, I don't think I took that quintet very serious. I trained for that, like it was a match. I think a lot of the guys were just kind of going in there fucking around. It was like, so I don't know, but I trained serious for that, and yeah, I went 9 or 8 minutes, whatever it was, with Gilbert, and then choked Gomi. But yeah, I want to start choking people. I love knocking people out, but I would love to, if I have an opportunity to choke someone, I would love to.
Well, having a well-rounded game where you're a significant threat both on your back and on the top and not just standing up is so important.
Yeah, especially in this division.
Yeah, that division's just, there's so much going on in that division, man. It's so. Remember when Marlon Moraes was the fucking scariest guy alive?
He knocked out. I remember when he knocked out Aljo. I was there for that. I thought, that, and then when Tony Ferguson got front kicked by Michael Chandler, I watched. I was like, I just witnessed the first murder in the UFC.
Bro,
they laid there for so long.
Moraes had this switch kick off the left leg that was a thing of fucking beauty.
Yeah,
it's one of the best switch kicks I've ever seen. It's so like. Right up there with Barboza. But Barboza would switch kick to the body, and you'd be like, Jesus Christ.
The whip.
When Barboza was in his prime, earliest, like before all the wars, and bro, his switch kick was insane.
Yeah.
It was insane.
Yeah, this fight was, I mean, I think he went to throw that same switch
so
kick
Aljo
and knee
took
him.
him down, and then here.
Yep, went to throw it and knee him.
Boom. Dude, his left high kick was fucking insane. Look at that. Look at that left high kick.
Yeah, that was beautiful.
Oh my God. It's so fast too.
Yeah.
And when he was chopping at Henry in that first round, I was like, oh my God, Henry's fucked.
That's what I thought.
I'm like, he's fucked. But Moraes just fell apart. And Henry just put the gas on him.
Henry knows how to win. He just knows how to fucking win. He's a competitor at the highest level.
Yeah, and it's really strange to watch like how a couple of fights can change the trajectory of a fighter's career, and limit like how durable they are.
Yeah,
and like what happens when things go sideways with them.
Yeah, that mentally probably fucked Moraes. Like he was dominating and then just completely gassed out.
Yeah, in the biggest fight of his life, like he was almost the world champion.
Was that for a? That was for the
belt.
Who was Henry? Wasn't champ, was he? Was he at the time? No one was champ.
Wasn't
right?
it for the? Wasn't it for the?
It was for the belt, but I don't
Henry's
think,
belt.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it was.
Pretty sure it was for the belt, or was it?
It was a title fight. It was a title fight.
Right. So it wasn't an elimination fight, or was it an interim fight? Maybe it was interim.
Oh, maybe.
Was this before or after Mighty Mouse left? It's after Mighty Mouse left, right?
Well, this was at Mighty Mouse 25. This was at 35.
Oh, that's right.
But I think it was after TJ, or no. When he fought Moraes right there, June 2019, won the vacant UFC Bantamweight Championship. So it was vacant. Okay. Yeah, because TJ must have got busted. And then
that's right.
Because Henry went down to 25. TJ went down to 25 to fight Henry.
Well, that was just madness.
That was so stupid. But it's weird because TJ doesn't look, he's not a big 35er. He didn't look.
Bro, but he looked dead.
Yeah, I know. He looked so bad.
Like, he couldn't take shots.
No.
Like, when you're taking EPO just to try to not be anemic, you know, like he was literally letting his body eat itself.
I would have liked to see TJ versus Henry at 135. That would have been a very interesting, way different fight. I still think, you know, Henry could have done the same, could win that fight, but it would have been way more interesting.
Well, I hope they can do something with TJ's shoulders. It would be a shame if that's what ends it for him.
God, he's already, I mean, he's what, 36? How old is he, Jamie? 36, 37?
Yeah, that was him when he was cutting down to flyweight. Just crazy, man. Just crazy.
It was, he's
dying. The thing about that is, we want to pretend that doesn't take something out of you, but it fucking does. Do you need tissues, brother?
No, I don't even think it's just stuff.
36 also.
He's 30. TJ's 36.
Maybe 37.
He's almost 37. Appreciate it.
I don't want you sitting around with boogers. I hate that.
Mocos.
It's so hard to concentrate. He's 37.
He'll be 37 in 2 months.
Yeah, he's got tremendous skills. I mean, TJ, when he won the title from Renan Barão, I remember watching that performance. I'm like, God damn, TJ!
I was watching that. I actually watched both those fight week when I was on the treadmill, just kind of walking or whatever I was doing for that last fight. I was watching those, just fucking. I always try to find some fights that I like, but yeah, that was so impressive when he beat Renan like that first time. Fuck.
People that talk shit about TJ Dillashaw, that's like that Roy Jones Jr. song. Y'all must have forgot.
Yeah.
Just go back and watch him piece up Renan Barão to win the title, and do it like he's sparring.
Yeah.
Just do it so calm, like he's fucking sparring. He was a bad motherfucker. And even then, his shoulders were fucked.
Really?
Yeah, man. Dude, TJ's had shoulder problems forever. He's had multiple shoulder surgeries. I think, he probably tore some shit early and didn't get it fixed and kept like training while it was torn. And then there's a lot of guys, they blow their rotator cuffs out and then they keep training. And it's like...
TJ had some sweet those fights against Cody, whether he was on shit or
God.
not. I mean, if he was and he beat Cody like that, that's super fucked up because Cody did drop him. Cody, to recover as fast as he did, it could have been because of that. Who knows, whatever. But those fights with Cody were epic. The fight with Corey Sandhagen was fucking sweet.
It was a good fight, particularly knowing that he blew his fucking knee out in the first round. Mental toughness, man, off the charts. His mental toughness. The fact that he took that fight and popped his fucking shoulder back into place in the middle of the Aljamain fight and even got through that first fucking round.
Yeah.
9 months till I could start training rough and tough and then making sure everything is healed up. Dillashaw explained about his recovery and training timeline. I've had shoulder surgery before, and I'd say another year maybe to compete, either a year to compete or a year to get back to a training camp.
This is like 2 days ago. I think he just had the surgery.
So he had the surgery to repair a torn labrum, biceps, and additional work on his biceps tendon in 2019. So yeah, man, his shoulders are fucked, man.
I wonder why
It's just very hard. The shoulder's a very complicated joint.
I've been lucky. Fucking, I'm put together pretty well so far.
That's great.
So far.
It's when shoulder issues and back and neck issues, those are giant ones.
Yeah.
The back and neck one is particularly disturbing.
Oh, fuck. I mean, Aljo had that neck, whatever he had.
He's got an artificial disc in his neck.
Fuck. That's crazy.
He had to do it.
Yeah.
He had to do it after that Jan fight. He said it was fucked up before that, but when Jan hit him, I mean, you got to think, if you do have a herniated disc and then you get an illegal knee that you don't expect on the ground and you're not preparing for it and you get really jolted.
It's so crazy. Like, if Jan didn't do that, Jan wouldn't have ended up having to fight me. And, like, he's just had such, like, that sucks.
Crazy luck.
Then the last fight with Jan Aljo.
I think he was asking his corner, too. Can I knee him in the face?
Didn't someone say yeah?
Someone said
in his corner? That's what I thought. Like,
I felt like that was the... That's true.
I'm so curious what that dude does next. I don't think he's been kind of off the grid, not saying stuff. He feels like UFC doesn't have his back or whatever. I'm like, well, first of all, you fucking need a guy while he was down. That was your own fault. It had nothing to do with UFC. They gave you an immediate rematch, lost a close fight to Aljo, and then you lost a close fight to me. So it's just, I mean, that's shitty.
I feel like he fought one other person before.
Oh, he did. Yeah,
he fought
Corey.
Corey.
Yeah.
Fought Sandhagen, which was a great fight.
Yeah.
And Sandhagen took that on short notice. Right?
Yeah, that was impressive as fuck.
Yeah, very impressive.
In Abu Dhabi. Yeah, yeah. Very impressive.
And so then he has the rematch, and I just think when you saw Aljamain with his neck fixed, and he got his he had a dietary issue before, whereas like he wasn't eating before the fight.
Yeah, I remember him said that.
And he just was like exhausted while he was in the fight, and he realized like I didn't eat anything. What
Ate
the
breakfast.
fuck is wrong with
and then
me?
you're fighting at 10 p.m. at night. Yeah.
And this time he fueled up.
That'll change. That'll make you feel better.
He said it changed everything. But I guess when you're nervous and you're not thinking about it, you forget to eat.
Yeah, I mean,
but on a fucking title fight.
Yeah, it's tricky because you're like, I don't want to eat too close. Like, will this food, like, is there a certain sauce on there that's gonna make my fucking stomach hurt before going? Like, it's tricky fight day.
What do you eat generally? On fight day?
I had.
What is this?
This is the video of Peter. I think the link I clicked said that it's video of his corner telling him to do it.
Oh, okay, I'm here.
Let's go, Pete. Control now. We need to dig deep. Keep that pressure on.
Punch! Just punch! Just punch!
There we go. Ah, yes!
Yes.
Yes!
That one guy was saying just punch.
Yeah, it's
One guy's
Bahumpa.
saying- You can hear, right? One guy saying just punch, but then somebody in that corner goes, yes, when he says kick. It's in Russian. Habib heard it sitting over here because we couldn't understand the language. But someone in that corner yelled, yes, kick. And then Piotr Jan lands an illegal knee that ultimately cost him the UFC champion.
Dude, having good corners is because you're with those motherfuckers for a week in a hotel, having 3 good corners. I have Brandon, doesn't know shit about fighting, strength and conditioning, more of a guy. He stretches me out. We do breath exercises. We do stuff like that. He knows, don't yell, don't say shit in the corner. You don't know shit about fighting. Augusto, Tanquino, I said if you want to say anything, if it's on the ground, grappling wise, yell. I'm listening. If it's on the feet, tell Tim because Tim's more of the striker. I want to hear Tim yelling in the corner, and I don't want him yelling random shit. You hear some people yelling shit just to yell shit, especially in the minute you get, you'll have all 3 coaches trying to tell you something. It's where I feel like I've had such a good corner. It's like only the person that needs to talk is Tim, and then if you have something that you think's important, you can tell Tim. Tim can tell me. Unless it's grappling on the ground, Tanquino, say whatever the fuck you want. I'm listening. But yeah, some people, the corners,
chaotic.
Oh, chaotic, and just fight week. You got to hang out with. Sometimes I don't know. It's crazy. I feel super lucky because I bet there's some fighters listening to this that are like, God damn it, he's right. They have to bring, you bring cornermen, and it's like maybe you don't have 3 people you're super close with, or you want to hang out with all fucking week while you're cutting weight. And
yeah.
I just feel so lucky. I have 3 guys that I love being around. Tanquino and Brandon are so fucking quiet. They're not. It's just it's a good vibe fight week. So
you fought in the Apex Center?
Yeah, a couple times, 3 times.
3 times?
Yeah.
And when you fought in the Apex Center, was it during the COVID times when they had no audience?
I fought Eddie Wineland.
That's right.
That was crazy.
Dude.
That was fucking crazy.
Have you ever done that before, that fake the uppercut right hand?
It's like, that one specifically, I think I have done, but it's just, they're all just feints. Like when I was dribbling on Chris Mintino, it's all just like, look at my hands, boom, boom.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I have that little uppercut 3 and then a 2. It's just like, look at my hands, like a change up in baseball, kind of slow, boom. So I fought him. Then I fought right after that. I fought Chito, and then I fought Thomas Almeida in the Apex. But the Chito fight, that's gonna be massive, and everyone wanted me to rematch him right away. And I always said I'm gonna rematch him when the time is right, and we're getting there. I go out there and beat Aljo or Henry, which I truly believe I can be. I have the style, I have the skills to beat those guys. Chito's first title defense, fucking massive.
What's Chito ranked right now?
I'm not sure. I think Chito versus Corey is kind of what they're.
Is that happening?
I don't know. I know they were talking about it in December. It's obviously not gonna happen in December now. But if I had to guess, but I don't know if Chito gets past Corey. Corey's fucking good. And I people,
Marlon's 4.
And people think I hate him.
So
I
Corey's
definitely
6.
I got nothing against Chito. People think I hate him. I don't mind Chito.
Well, just people thought it was funny that you always said that wasn't a loss.
It's not. And then I'll die at that.
How is it not a loss?
And I think Chito knows too. You go watch that fight. It's like he literally. It wasn't a calf kick. It wasn't a good leg kick. It was a kick he threw, and I pulled out. With kicks, you either check them, step in, you eat it, or you pull out. I was pulling out, and I've watched it. The slow-mo, his big toe literally like pushed a button. My peroneal nerve pushed a button, and my foot just fell asleep. But before that, I was kicking him. I kicked him so hard he spun around. I was kicking his legs way harder than he was kicking mine. I was out striking him. I don't think he punched me in the head once until the whole thing. And then I blitzed forward, and I went to step back, and my foot just wasn't there. He got on top, elbowed me. It's a loss on the record, but I don't feel like it wasn't like I didn't go in there and lose because his skills were better than me. I do not believe that. If we have a rematch and he goes in there, beats me to decision, something beats me in any other way without some kind of. If he kicks me in the nerve again, I'll think he did it on purpose. I'll be like, okay, that's fair. That's 2 losses. But I just know it wasn't a skill set. It wasn't a lack of skills. It wasn't he didn't beat me because his skills were better than me that night. And it sucked because that camp was so fucking good. I had such a good training camp, and everything was so good for that. And it happened, and it was, and I don't feel like I lost any stock or anything, and I feel like everything went as it needed to go. But I'll never accept that as a loss. As far as mentally thinking, I didn't get beat that night.
So because it's such a button, that nerve is such a button, it almost, in your mind, is like a lucky punch.
How many, I know Izzy said his perennial nerve got kicked last time, but how many times from that fight until, there's fights every weekend.
Yeah.
You rarely see that happen where the nerve gets shut off and they can't, my foot, I rolled it like 8 times when he kicked it into the end of the fight. I rolled it so many times.
Well, that happened to Henry against Mighty Mouse,
yeah.
Right? That was a big one.
Yeah.
We got that drop foot. Chandler had one in Bellator.
Yep. And that Jimmy Crute, I think, happened or something like that. But you know what's weird is in that fight, right? Oh, wait, was it that one?
I think that was it.
Yeah, it might have been. Yeah, look at what. It was so weird. I was like, oh shit, my foot's not working. Go back to it real quick, will you? Can you make it in slow-mo down on that bottom right? Or even like that? Look, I'm pulling all the way out. And his toe hit, like, it wasn't a nice calf kick. His shin didn't land on my calf. It wasn't like, It was just a weird fucking thing. His toe bounced off. I like pushed a button, and my foot turned off, and it was such a weird feeling. I could feel like I'm like, oh shit. It was so
your
weird.
foot.
Yeah. I rolled it like 8 times, and I was still trying. Oh, and I still outstruck him. If we're counting stats, he still didn't. I just didn't feel any danger. It was a weird feeling. I had to drag it. I couldn't lift it.
Are you trying to hope it comes back? Like, what are you thinking right now?
So I have my ankles wrapped, and before I walked out, I was having Brandon. I said, "Hey, we pulling this? This feels a little tight on my ankle." And I was wondering if it didn't come back because the ankle was wrapped too tight. Because I feel like it should have came back by now, and I still had no feeling, and it was so weird. Oh god! And going backwards like that was fine. It's when I tried to go, I don't like watching it. It's when I go forward, that it wouldn't lift.
Wow.
And but even before that had happened, I was dominating the fight. I was not getting hit, and I was piecing him up before the knee thing. And then even now, it's like I'm not really getting beat up. Throws a head kick, doesn't really do much. I have to go backwards and drag it. I can't move forward.
It's crazy watching it from this angle too, because I'm only looking at that foot now, and I'm like, yeah, it's totally numb on you.
And he hasn't really. I mean, that's. I don't know. Like I said, I don't mind Chito. I'll roll it a couple more times here, and then I blitz forward, which I probably shouldn't have done. That was a nice kick, but my leg is just so compromised right now. I can only go backwards and drag it.
Is it getting any better at all?
I don't remember, honestly. I just remember it had this weird like stinging feeling. I was like, I need to knock this dude out, is what I was thinking. I was hopping right there, like, fuck. I was thinking I need to throw a bomb on this motherfucker. It seems like it's back a little bit.
No,
I haven't watched it in a minute. But yeah, this is going to be an exciting rematch. I know he wants it. I want it. Nice 1-2 right there. Right here's where I blitz forward and I go to step back, and it's just not there. Oh. And then he gets on top, lands a nice fucking elbow, but I wasn't even thinking about. Yeah. So I'm excited. I'm excited for that. I think that's a giant fucking fight.
I think it's a giant fight too.
The division.
Chito has now become a star too. You know, and that knockout of Dominic Cruz, like, holy
beautiful
shit.
Yeah. Who else did he? Oh, Frankie.
Frankie was a rough.
That was
one.
crazy though, because Frankie was winning that. He won first round, won the second round. He took him down, and he would have won that fight and landed that front kick with like 2 minutes left or something, which was. So,
yeah.
But I mean, he's doing what he needs to do. He's building his name, which is perfect for me, and I think it just makes sense that rematch is for a title main event.
It would be a big fight. It would be a very big fight. It'd be very exciting. It's just a really good division in terms of all the different matchups you can make. There's so many killers in that division.
Yeah. I mean, there's the Adrian Yannis, the Chris Gutierrez. They're like still at the high top 15 or whatever. Yeah, fucking killers in that division.
Yeah. When you look at like MMA now that you're a part of it, and now that you're an elite fighter, and you remember what it was like when you were a kid, when you first saw it, what was your first exposure to MMA?
I was probably a young teenager. My dad was watching, and I thought it was disgusting.
Like, what year do you think this was?
I think it was. I don't know if it was WEC, and he was watching like Uriah. Well, I think even before that, I was really little, and it was Tito versus Chuck. I think we went over to like somebody's house, and I was like pretty small. Didn't watch it at all. Didn't really care for it. That was probably the first time I ever watched it. And then when the more I can remember, I was watching Uriah. I don't know if it's WEC. I don't remember, but I was disgusted. But I'm like, how these guys don't? I remember thinking, how do they not break their ribs when they get kicked? And why they're elbowing each other in the head? I thought it was disgusting. I was like, this is fucking absurd. I liked football, basketball, baseball, soccer. I like ball sports. Did not think fighting. It's so weird. I remember telling my mom, like, Dad's watching that again, because I wanted to watch something on the TV, and he was watching fighting. And I knew my mom thought it was gross too. So she would yell like, "You gotta change that" or some shit. So I told on my dad for literally watching what I do now, which is funny.
That's hilarious.
It's funny to think about, but
That's so funny.
I didn't really even after that. Once I got into fighting, when I moved down to Arizona, I was 19 is when I really started watching fights. But until then, I didn't really watch UFC. Even now, like I rarely watch fights.
Really?
Rarely.
God damn, dude, I can't get enough.
Yeah, I don't know. I
watch everything. I watch boxing. I watch MMA. I watch wrestling matches on YouTube.
Really?
I watch a lot of jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
A lot of no-gi jiu-jitsu.
No-gi jiu-jitsu is a lot more fun to
man,
watch.
It's so high level right now. God damn, these guys are so good.
Gordon Ryan, dude, the fact that Gordon Ryan would go and compete and make it look so easy with those stomach issues he was talking about is fucking mind-blowing.
Mental strength off the charts.
I don't get it.
Off the charts discipline and mental strength.
I like how he said he's like, I'm not the most athletic guy. I just make other people less athletic than me.
Yeah,
Damn.
he's in a sport where he just controls you with technique and skill and knowledge and discipline. That fucking guy trains every day, 7 days a week.
I don't understand. He makes the best guys, like Galvo when he choked him.
Makes them look like they don't belong in there with him.
It's so impressive. And it's like...
He one-arm choked him, man.
Yeah. The motherfucker must be so strong.
Oh, he's ridiculously strong. I mean, look at him. He looks like a goddamn superhero.
Yeah, he does. He's fucking young, too.
Yeah. He lets guys take him down. He's like, come on, take me down.
I know.
Take me again. You're going to have to grapple. Now you're Fucksville.
That's crazy how what Islam did to Charles too.
Yeah.
Got on top.
Crazy.
Had
his back for a good part of that round and landed some good shots. Dude, I mean, that's like
Islam had Charles back?
Wait a minute, what'd you say?
When Islam took down...
I thought you said Izzy.
Oh, no. Islam, what Islam did to... I was so confused. I'm like, I didn't watch it.
I thought you were talking about different fight. I thought you were talking about the Izzy fight.
No, when Izzy took down or beat Charles, just dropped him past... Right in the
when Islam took down Charles.
Islam. Was I saying Izzy the whole time?
Yeah, you said Izzy. It's okay.
It makes sense.
Islam, I might have missed it. Maybe you're confusing it because I confused it. But Islam's choke must be otherworldly.
Yeah.
It must be otherworldly.
To do that to Charles?
Not just that, like the moment he's passing, Charles is tapping.
Yeah.
Like his squeeze has got to be off the fucking charts. I talked to DC about it. And I said, hey man, I go, his fucking squeeze must, he goes, oh, dope. I had him demonstrate a choke on me, and I thought it was gonna be fun. You know, like, show me how you do that. Show me how you do it. He goes, dude. When he grabbed a hold of me, I was like, oh shit, this guy's gonna choke me, and that's DC.
Yeah, DC's a thick bastard.
He's a
look at him, right?
2-division champion. But look at that.
Holy
crazy, man. The moment he gets to the side, watch this pass, clamps it down.
Fast.
Oh, they cut it. Yeah, they cut a little snippet where he passes. Yeah. But it's once he passes.
That's
Charles just taps.
Yeah.
The most submissions in the history of the UFC, and he taps like that.
Yeah. Charles's little run he had right there with...
Amazing.
Yeah, Chandler, Gaethje. Who else? Was it one more? Chandler, Gaethje. I don't remember. But yeah, that was... I want to see him win so bad. Poirier, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, he tapped everybody.
Yeah.
He's a monster. Charles is a guy that just changed.
Yeah.
Like, whatever he was before... It's like you got to forget that when you fight him. You're fighting this do-or-die assassin.
Yeah.
He's just an assassin. And something shifted, and he became the best fucking lightweight in the world. It's the weirdest thing, man.
It's got to be just mental. I mean, Jorge similar too. So it's got to be something mental where it just something clicks.
I think with him, he said that it was the birth of his daughter.
That can do it.
That it just was, he was just so committed and driven now.
Yeah.
And... I mean, but like the way he fights too, man, he's so exciting. That he just goes right into the fire, man.
Yeah.
It's not, there's no like, let's play it safe. It's like, come on, hit the fucking gas.
I wonder how much that was to do with his eyes. I know that was the first time he fought after the eye surgery.
Right.
But before that, he said it was so bad. I wonder if he had to get that close, just come straight forward, get that close to kind of fucking dial it in, not really peck off. Because, I mean, he's long. He could be an outside fighter, but he's not. He's fucking pressure, counter.
He's playing a blurry video game.
Yeah, fuck. Blurry video game.
And he's piecing people up. I mean, it was also his like technique. His technique is so clean. Like when he landed that left hook on Chandler, like my goodness, it's so pretty.
Long
steps in, it's perfect. Hands are always up high.
Yeah.
You know, and Islam just took him apart. Took him apart on the feet. Took him apart on the ground.
Yeah.
Like, that's how good Islam is.
I don't even know if I've watched that full fight because I was doing media and shit in the back after. So I don't even know if I really watched the full fight yet. But
It's a good fight to watch.
yeah, I need
It's,
to go back and watch that.
Yeah, it's a good fight to watch. Just to see how good he is. The Dober fight scared me, too. I was like, Jesus.
Oh, God.
Like, Dober was just fucked the moment he got him down.
That scared me too. I was like, oh shit, if he can do that to Dober,
Yeah.
make him look helpless. Volkanovski versus Islam is so fascinating. I think that's the fight I wanted to see. Like,
Really?
oh yeah, Volk versus Islam. Yeah. Would you have rather seen Islam fight someone else in the lightweight division?
Well, who would it be?
Benil.
Maybe Dariush. There's a good argument there, especially he just won and he's due.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a fucking exciting fight. Benil versus anybody is an exciting fight.
Yeah.
Who else? In
Poirier
the division?
just beat Chandler. So
Yeah.
potentially him, but Gamrot would have been interesting, but if he had gotten past Benil. But I think Volkanovski, dude, that motherfucker is good. He's so good and he's so compact that I think it's going to be an interesting fight.
Do you think he's big enough to compete against a guy like Islam, who's a really big 55?
That's a great question. Well, I guess we'll have to
Yeah,
wait and
because
see.
Islam is big.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what he's cutting, but he's got the perfect physique for that weight class.
Yeah.
Like he's very, very lean. You know, he makes the weight, and he's obviously way bigger when he's competing. He doesn't look anything like a 55-pound guy.
Yeah. Yeah,
And the
and
fact that
Volk's
he's
pretty
like-
small.
Yeah, in comparison, when you look at the two of them together.
Yeah.
But the thing is the grappling. Like, you remember, you know, if you look at Volkanovski, he's got real good takedown defense, and he can take guys down. Took Max Holloway down a bunch. But he's not the biggest guy even at 45.
Right.
And when you're going up to face a big guy at 55, but also has Islam seen anybody that can move as fast as Volkanovski?
Yeah.
And
that's
what if
true.
he starts catching him? What if he catches him a few times on the feet, and if he can avoid a takedown? I mean, you're dealing with a significantly quicker guy, probably.
Yeah.
He's probably never fought anybody that quick.
Remember when Ortega had Volk locked up in a guillotine mounted? That was
Okay.
insane. I
Now
forget about
imagine if
that.
Islam had that.
Yeah, I forget about that.
Now imagine Islam in that same position.
He ain't getting up. You might not get out of the
He
round.
might not get out of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Islam has a next level, otherworldly squeeze.
Yeah.
It just seems like he gets a hold of these guys, and they just can't do jack shit.
It's so crazy.
Crazy.
But Volkanovski goes out there, cracks him, and, changes the whole fight.
Well, we have to remember Islam did get KO'd
Yeah,
in
bad.
one of his early fights.
Bad.
Yeah.
That was crazy. That was I think it was just a right hand.
Who KO'd him?
That was
It was
crazy.
very...
Adriano Martins.
Oh, Adriano Martins. Yeah.
I'm not sure. Very familiar with that guy.
See if you can
but
find that fight.
October 2015.
2015. So I
Long
think that
fucking
might
time
have
ago.
even been his UFC debut.
No, he had one more before
He
that.
won one fight by submission right before that.
And all these guys say, he hasn't fought anybody. It's like no one will fight. Like everyone was turning
He was the
him down.
boogeyman. He was the boogeyman.
Yeah.
Because there's certain guys you hear about, like from training stories, and you go, geez, that was Glover. Everybody said that about Glover. Glover was locked out of the United States for 6 years. He
Really?
couldn't get a visa. Yeah, when Glover was in his prime.
Damn,
we
that
got
sucks.
an after his prime Glover. When
That
Grover was in his prime, he was the boogeyman.
Oh, that was quick.
Was it the first? Was it that
Serious.
fast? Oh shit! I didn't realize it was like. This looks. Oh, that right hand was clean.
Whoa.
I bet that guy's feeling good nowadays.
Whoa.
that was
What a
fast
clean
right hand.
right hand. Damn, that is a clean right hand.
Oh,
Jesus Christ.
dude, fighting is fucking crazy.
Oh, it's so crazy.
Wonder where that guy's career went after that. It's crazy. No, Islam's the
I
fucking.
think Cowboy KO'd him, too. I
Oh,
think
really?
Adriano Martins, I think he fought Cowboy. See if that's true. Make sure that's true. I think that was a sweet head kick that Donald landed.
Yeah, Donald had some fucking clean
Was it Donald?
kickboxing.
Yes.
Yes, that's right.
In Chicago.
Oh, Donald had some amazing head kick KOs.
Yeah, he had some. The one against what was it, Rick Story?
Oh my God, that combination
with a
video
1,
game.
2, 3 head.
Yeah, just overwhelmed him.
I think it broke that dude's jaw.
He just was so pretty too, like the way he put it together.
That was
so
beautiful.
pretty.
That was a fucking beautiful combination.
You ever go back and watch like old WECs? Here it is.
That's that same dude.
Yeah.
His top 5 finishes.
Here it is.
Oh, right on the neck.
Dude.
Holy. I don't
That was amazing.
I don't really go back and watch much. There's random ones I'll go back and rewatch. I rewatched recently like the Hamzat versus Gilbert. That fucking fight was crazy.
That was such a pretty kick.
That was right on the that turned his lights right off.
Yeah, he did that to Matt Brown too, remember?
Yeah. Fighting's a fucked up sport.
It's a fucked up sport.
Yeah. It's crazy when people get knocked out cold and come back and keep winning. That's impressive.
What do you think when you see boxing, and boxing seems to have more deaths than MMA?
Yeah.
Do you think that's because of the knockdowns? Do you think that's like because you get a chance to like revitalize and get back? Or do you think it's just punching? Like, do you think there's anything to the idea that getting knocked down and giving someone an 8 count or a 10 count to get up and then letting the fight go on?
That can't be good.
That can't be good, right? But
I think a couple things. That definitely is not good. Dude, I had a pro boxing fight a while back, and I went to a gym, pro boxing gym. You spar Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 3 times a week, hard. I think it's a lot of that. Like, that's a lot of the damage is in sparring. Then you go in there, get dropped, you get back up, get an 8 count, get dropped again. So I think it's probably a mixture between how hard those motherfuckers spar and then, the accumulation of getting hit in the head and getting dropped, and then the ref's like, here, we'll let you feel decent enough to be able to continue. It's hard to watch.
So you think it's probably damage taken in the gym as well as what's happening in that fight that's causing that?
I think so.
Do they just get hit more? I watch a lot of boxing sparring video footage that people put up, and I'm like, Jesus, these guys are fighting.
Fighting.
Like
Yeah, fuck that.
KOing people, and people are hooting and hollering when people get KO'd.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes, you get these guys, and it's like you have a crowd.
Oh, yeah, it's a fight.
Yeah, it's really a fight, and you're supposed to be learning how to spar and move and preparing for fights.
Yeah, that just is intelligence. Like, I guess unless
bravado over intelligence, right?
Yeah, you just got to be maybe just more educated on how important the brain is. I mean, it sounds like you should already know.
So do you think like overall MMA fighters spar less hard than boxers do?
That's a good question. I feel like sparring nowadays getting less and less intense as far as taking care of each other. But if you go to a new gym, it's like these aren't really your boys. It depends who you're sparring. If you're sparring your buddies and stuff, and like you care about them. But if you're sparring some random guy that comes in the gym and is like, I mean, I've done it. I've sparred like new guys come in the gym. Now you're in the cage because you have the in the cage sparring, the hard sparring, and then you have the outside sparring where everyone's kind of going a little bit lighter. But in the cage sparring, if you don't know someone and they come in,
it's kind of a fight.
It's fight. It's life or death in there. It shouldn't be, but it is. We're all alphas. We're fucking killers. Yeah. We're all doing the same shit, trying to survive.
And I'm sure you have guys that visit the gym that go there specifically looking to try to spar with a guy like you.
Yeah, I don't really do that.
Do you make sure that doesn't happen? Like you get to know a guy before you spar with him?
Yeah. For I can't remember the last time I've just sparred some random guy.
Did you see Sean Strickland?
Sparring that boxer.
Some boxer was talking shit to him. Have you seen it, Jamie? It's amazing.
He took all the shots, though.
I fucking love that dude. I think he's so ridiculous.
He's
so ridiculous.
Yeah, he's a fucking character.
He's a character and a half, man. I'm a fan of characters. That guy's a character and a half. But that video is so hilarious because this guy was talking shit to him. Yeah. And so he started sparring him, and he started talking shit. Watch this.
I do think fucking that's brain damage at its finest, though. Because
it's also sparring constantly. Like Sean spars so much, his distance control is excellent.
Yeah,
it's really good, man.
Well, wasn't he sparring like a couple weeks after Pereira knocked him out?
I'm sure he was.
That's not good.
He's an animal.
Yeah, but a dumb one.
So the guy was talking shit to him back.
I'm ready to die here. And then after he was all boys with him, gave him $100.
Yeah.
That was funny. He says fuck you.
Look, it tells him to hit him.
That kid was tough. He took it.
Yeah. Well, I think the guy's a good boxer. But Sean is also quite a bit bigger than him, it looks, too.
Yeah.
Quite a bit.
Holy.
Oh, shit.
That's an intense dude.
That's intense, man.
I wouldn't want to get in a
That's
street fight
intense.
with him.
So that guy I knew was the perfect guy for Pereira. When he walks forward like this and he just keeps that pressure on you, I'm like, that is the guy where Pereira's going to shine, and you're going to get to see, because everybody sees what Sean Strickland does to people. He marches motherfuckers down.
Yeah.
He puts that heat on you.
Yeah.
You know, he's a bad man.
Very skilled.
But Pereira just was like, let me just file spot.
Ooh,
there
that
it
left
is.
hook, dude.
And then 2 right hands on the way down.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Yeah. That was
He hit him
fast.
twice while he was falling. He hits him with the left. He's going, and then twice while he's falling, he right hands him.
Yeah, that's...
Bro, that guy is fucking terrifying.
Yeah.
There's so many good fighters right now.
Yeah.
The sport is on fire, man. It really is.
He's so snappy with those kicks, too. Just get you thinking low, and then what?
And those kicks come out of nowhere, those calf kicks, man.
He does a good job jabbing to the body.
Boom, boom. He hits him twice on the way down.
He
fucking
jabs to the
insane.
body and then fucking comes over the top with that left hook. It's so beautiful.
That left hook is nuclear.
I was watching Pereira highlights this camp, like before sparring, getting the mindset. It's like fucking, you gotta, it's crazy just for even sparring, you gotta prepare like it's a fight. For me, I prepare every Saturday, like I'm going into, like making that walk, I'm gonna fucking, you gotta get into that same headspace, because getting into that headspace is a fucking skill of its own. Getting into that zone, into that when you're in the cage sparring, being able to just be sparring, just spar. It's a skill. Some people go in there and you're sparring and you're fucking thinking about something else, or something hurts and you're thinking about it. But I was watching a bunch of Pereira highlights before sparring, getting in that mindset.
When you have you evolved your way of preparing, like for sparring to mimic fights? Have you or have you come up with something that you do when you're training that you do during fights in your mind, like how you prepare your mind?
For like a specific fighter, or what do you mean?
Just like when you know you're making the walk. Do you have like a specific headspace you put yourself in?
For me, I always get to the gym early. I always do especially for sparring, because you get in the back and you're sitting there. You can sit there for an hour, 2 hours. So I go to the gym early, kind of just sit around, stretch, warm up. I'll have some headphones on, playing. Leading up to the fight, I'm very, very calm. I'll be listening to some Jack Johnson, something relaxing, something that makes me feel relaxed until it's time to, okay, let's start warming up for real. We got 30 minutes to the fight. Then I'll throw on some other music, get my headspace then and start warming up. But it's I don't know. It's nothing. Just always the same. I just make what I've gotten a lot better as warming up. It just helps so much with preventing injuries for everything. Going into sparring or going into competition training or wrestling or whatever it is. But just getting to the gym always like 30 minutes before the class starts, before the warm up. So I'd probably say it's long warm ups.
So the long warm-ups, also you're preparing your mind.
Yeah.
You're getting your mind right while you're stretching out.
And that's and every time it's like just following my breath, nasal. I feel like that helps me quiet the mind. Might not be just fucking blank with no thoughts, but there's a lot less thoughts. The thoughts are slower rather than so many random thoughts. But just breathing and getting into my meditation, kind of just getting into my breath. I feel like there's a bridge between just like the craziness and then the flow, and I get there through breath. It's like a bridge to that space. So before every session, especially sparring, is breath work, whether it's long, just inhales and holds, exhales, holds, just kind of playing with the breath like it's a game rather than just thinking and not concentrating on the breath. Yeah.
And when you're warming up, do you have a specific routine that you follow every day? Do you have like a whole series of movements that you do to try to get everything loose, or do you just kind of flow?
I always I'll warm up like 10 minutes on the air dime just before I start stretching. It depends. If my lower left back's a little bit more sore, I'll kind of focus on that, hit cat-cows, hit certain positions, just breathe into it. Or if my knee's more sore, I'll really focus on my knee more so. So it's not a specific set of stretches or anything. It's kind of more of how I'm feeling that day.
The Airdyne is the shit.
It is.
That guy, I have that Rogue version, the Echo bike.
Yeah.
It's the shit because even if you're hurt, if your foot's hurt, you could do it. Your knees hurt, you could do it.
Yeah.
You got a back problem, get on that fucking thing. You could still do it. It's the most low impact to me and the hardest shit to do.
Yeah, I love running in camp. I love doing sprints. I feel like that's where I really can feel like my cardio improves is doing the fucking hard sprints. But there's been camps where my knees fucked up, and I'm like, I got to do the Airdyne. I'm like, fuck, I got to do the Airdyne.
That fucking thing is torturous,
dude. It really is. That thing's a motherfucker.
Do you do any plyometrics or anything to increase your like foot strength and movement?
Yeah. Brandon will have me doing stuff like that. Stand on one foot, then jump like sideways up, doing box jumps, shit like that. Yeah, definitely do stuff like that.
I think that all that kind of plyometric. Do you know who Nick Curson is? He's the guy from Speed of Sport. He worked with Rafael Dos Anjos when Dos Anjos was in his prime, when he was like really fucking everybody up. People forgot that too.
Scary,
Rafael
dude.
Dos Anjos. Remember when he took apart Neil Magny? Just fucking leg kicked him, took him to the ground, strangled him.
Yeah,
dude, Dos Anjos was an animal.
The black belt all around fighter.
Oh my god, he was a fucking
He's
animal.
fighting Brian Barberena.
Great fight. Great fight.
Brian's a good fucking dude.
He's a tough motherfucker, man. When he knocked out Robbie Lawler, I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, that was on my card. One of my cards.
So this is Nick Curson. He's been on the podcast before in the past too. Very interesting training philosophy, and he comes from that Marv Marinovich school. You know, Marv Marinovich was the guy who got BJ Penn in shape when BJ was in his fucking prime. There was a few fights where BJ trained with the Marinoviches, and they just forced him to get in insane shape because BJ loved to fight. He was super talented, but he didn't really want to train the way they wanted him to train.
Yeah.
They wanted him to train this way. So it's all plyos, and they all come from this school. This is the school of thought. You already know how to fight.
Yeah.
You know how to fight. That should be the least of your concern in camp. In camp, you should be getting in the most insane physical shape you possibly can.
Yep.
And his thing was like that training skills is secondary. You already have these skills. You already know, but if you could get yourself to fucking insane levels of physical fitness at an elite level, he felt like that's the correct compromise.
But I think for me, like when I do most of my cardio, it's doing the actual sport. You know, whether it's sparring or hitting mitts and then having someone grapple and it's just fucking, then you have to hit mitts again, then someone's on your back. Or it's just wrestling, like just doing the actual sport for cardio. You can't beat that.
Well, that's George St. Pierre's approach.
Yeah.
George St. Pierre told me that after a while he realized that efficiency was the most important. And so that getting really good at the movements, you had less energy you were exerting, you were more efficient. Gordon Ryan says the same thing. Gordon obviously is in amazing shape, but he's also very efficient.
Yeah.
And that efficiency comes from just insane levels of repetitions and drills.
Yeah.
So there's like a saying, like George's position is kind of the opposite of Nick Curson's, but I think they both have, there's a positive to both approaches. Because if you already have efficiency, like, so you get to a level like where you're at right now, if you took 6 weeks and just had a wild strength and conditioning camp, you're not going to lose any efficiency.
Right.
You already have a completely tuned in body. You're already very aware of your skill set.
Yeah.
So if you just got ramped up into the most fucking psychotic state of physical fitness possible, how much would you lose of what you already have? I don't think you'd lose much.
I don't think you'd lose much, but dude, there's nothing that gets you in shape for fighting than fighting.
Nope, that's true.
Nothing.
That's true.
Like you can go do the 6 weeks of fucking crazy cardio and then go do 3 5s in the cage sparring and be fucking gassed.
Right.
That's what's interesting too. Is like this next fight, my next fight, 100%. I'm fighting for a title. I don't know who it is. I don't care if it's Henry. I don't care if it's Aljo. I'm fighing for a title, 100%.
So if they give you, what if they say you and Chito for an interim title? Would you go for an interim title?
Yeah, 100%. But they're not, unless Aljo was injured. Aljo's obviously not injured and he's capable of fighting, so they wouldn't do that. But yes, I would fight 100%. But 5 5s, never fought 5 5s, never fought main event, never been 5 rounds. So that's going to be a super interesting. And I've been the last 3-4 fights like in sparring. Hey, let's do an extra round. Let's go on that outside hit mitts for an extra 2 rounds. Let's kind of start. So we've been preparing for that. But that's crazy. 5 5s is the next one, and that changes, dude. That's like fighting twice as long, damn near.
Yeah.
Like. That's a fucking long time to fight extra. So it's
and
gonna be
depending upon the amount of damage you took in the first 2, you're fighting, fucked up legs, fucked up rib. It's Chael Sonnen said it best. He really did. He said, no human being is supposed to fight for 25 minutes. He's like, you can't.
Yeah.
You can't fight for 25 minutes. So you got to pace yourself. You got to figure it out. But no one's going 100% for 25 minutes. You just can't do it. It's too much time.
Yeah. And then you see some of those guys. I think, like, who was it? Colby versus Kamaru, like, their 5.5s was, like, super fucking high pace. There's some that are just insanely fucking. I think Gamrot versus someone was just an insane fucking main event.
Well, you know, that's also the argument about wrestling, right? Like, if you watch wrestlers, imagine if wrestling was no time limit. It'd be a completely different game.
Yeah.
You could never go at each other the way you're going at each other.
Yeah.
Because you know you can't keep that up. You're doing that because you know you have a time period in which they're gonna blow the whistle and the time's up. And you either win or you don't win in that time period. But if you had, like, Gordon does those no time limit matches, and that's a mind fucking a half.
God.
That's a mind fucking a half. Like Felipe Pena.
I saw that one. Or I skimmed through it. I didn't watch the whole thing, but yeah.
He's a fucking world champion, and he quits at 45 minutes. I'm like, I'm done.
Yeah. That was like a couple days after he found out.
Yes, Leandro Lo was.
That was. I can't imagine fucking.
No, I couldn't imagine that either.
Even competing like that.
You
But
definitely.
still.
Well, they're going to do it again.
Are they?
Yeah, they're doing it again. Yeah, I think they're doing it again in Texas. I think. Find out that they just announced that maybe it's on Who's Number One's website, because I think it's a Who's Number One event. But I think they're going to do the same thing. No time limits.
It's crazy because
You want to go?
I'd go.
Let's
I'd go
go.
watch.
Let's
I would
go.
definitely go watch that. I
Let's
think watching
fucking
in
go.
person would be a lot more entertaining than watching on a computer, because then you're watching, you're like, well, I could go fuck around for 20 minutes. When's this? November?
When is it?
Oh, wait.
No, that's the date that they announced.
Oh,
it.
it's like,
February
that's
25th.
A couple days ago.
February 25th.
Yeah.
And where is that going to be at?
Oh.
I felt like someone said that it was going to
Costa
be
Mesa, California.
Oh, it's in.
On
Oh
Frontier,
yeah,
in
okay.
Costa
So it is
Mesa.
in. Okay, Costa Mesa.
I wonder who else. I wonder if they have a couple good matches on that. I'm sure they do.
They always do.
Yeah.
Who's Number One is awesome. When it's in Texas, it's the shit, because they were doing it during COVID in these hotel ballrooms with fucking no one there. It was like me and Lex Friedman went to one of the first events, and we're sitting there. We have like chairs right at the front of the mat, and there's no one in the crowd. There's like, and then it slowly started letting more people in the crowd, and after a while
like
they put
the
up like
Apex?
bleachers. Yeah, basically the same thing. But it was amazing. That's when I first saw Mikey Musumeci compete.
That motherfucker is scary too.
Ooh, he's amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Listening to him on the pod he's a character, dude.
He's so nice.
Yeah, he's so nice.
He's such a sweet guy. You should see how he sits.
Was he just sitting there like fucking?
No, on the ground. He can sit on the ground where his butt is touching the ground and his knees are bent like a frog. Like, you can't believe
Perfect
it.
jiu-jitsu body, just like.
You can't believe you can.
Yeah.
Like, how do you, didn't I take a photo of it and I put it on my Instagram? There's a photo of it. I'm 99% sure I put it on my Instagram. But he's sitting there and you're like, how are you doing that? That's not even possible.
Because he's not very big, right?
No.
Okay.
Well, he's thin, but he's like very ripped. You know, like if you see him without a shirt on, you would go, what is this guy eating? Oh, only pizza? Pizza and spaghetti?
Yeah, that's pasta.
He's fucking shredded.
Is he pretty young?
Yeah, he's like 25.
Yeah.
He lives in
goddamn.
Singapore now. And he's competing for one championship.
Oh, that's right.
They're doing legitimate
Start make some
grappling
money.
over there.
Yeah.
Do I have it on my phone, maybe? Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's good for those guys to start making money. I just am so curious where jiu-jitsu is going to go.
What month was that, Jamie, that he was here? Do you know that?
I know it's when I got COVID.
Oh, was it?
I don't remember.
Was that when you got COVID the second time?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you get COVID at all?
July. June.
I don't know.
June?
I remember. I definitely feel like I had the symptoms at one point. I know I got tested once and it said negative. I never took a positive test to confirm I've had it or not. So I don't know.
So you didn't have a hard go of it?
Dude, yeah, my life didn't change at all. Like those whole 2 years, I bought a cage, put it in a warehouse. Like we trained like nothing was going on. Fought in the UFC 3 times. Like it was just, Dana's such a legend for doing that.
Amazing that he did that, right?
Such a fucking legend.
Because he took so much heat. There were so many
Yeah.
people that were mad.
Yeah, for him to say fuck it, I'm throwing up fights. He would have done it at an Indian reservation, threw up some. He would have done it no matter what.
Well, they were gonna do it in an Indian reservation like the week that COVID was out. I thought he was crazy. I
Check
was
around
like,
July.
July?
Yeah.
Oh, what time of July?
It was around the 4th of July. It was
Oh,
right
okay,
before
perfect.
That, maybe.
All right. I got it here. Give me 1 second. I'll find. There it is. Bam. Got it. Jamie, coming your way. It's hilarious. You look at him, you're like, how the fuck is that even a humanly possible thing to do with your legs.
I'm pumped to see this.
Watch this picture. Now, after this, I want you to try this.
Okay. What the fuck?
His feet are on the ground. His butt's on the ground, and his feet are touching. His knees are touching each other in the middle.
What the fuck? I was trying to picture it when you were saying it. I could. Yeah.
Bro,
that's
what is
weird.
that? How's that possible? How can you do that?
That's some weird knee dexterity. What the fuck?
Weird everything dexterity. Look
Yeah.
at how his knees are going back sideways.
And his feet are almost like flat.
Like, I would
Side-
tap.
yeah.
If you put my knee in that position, the right knee, I would tap. I'd be like, I'm tapping.
He's touching his quads to each other.
Dude, that's nuts.
On the top.
That's absolutely nuts.
Yeah, that's fucking
Like,
weird.
it doesn't seem like you should be able to sit like that. And he was just doing that to be comfortable. He wasn't
be
like,
comfortable.
He just sat down. He just sat down. He just sat down and he was like looking at his phone. And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing, Mikey?
That is
this is
weird.
crazy.
Yeah.
How do you sit like that? Have you ever seen anybody that can do that?
When I was 7, there were some kids that sat weird like that, like double
7?
jointed.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
little
yeah.
kids sit super weird
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, but not like world jiu-jitsu
Yeah, no,
champions.
those are feet on the ground though too.
Bro, when he gets mount on people, it's like he's got arms.
Yeah.
It's like he's got 2 giant arms down where his legs should be that are holding people down.
Yeah, that's got to benefit your jiu-jitsu for sure. It's probably
sure.
can sit like that because of jiu-jitsu.
Oh, 100%.
Just constantly.
Well, he's
being
been
on the
doing
mat.
jiu-jitsu since he was a little kid. And
that's
he's
so
another
sweet.
one. He's a 7-day-a-week,
Yeah.
12-hour-a-day guy.
Yeah.
He's nuts, man, with it.
His approach is super interesting. The guys he trains with, the hobbyists.
Look at this
What the
flexibility,
fuck
too.
is that? His hands are over his feet.
That's weird.
His
That's
like
fucked.
feet are in his elbows almost.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't even know how that's possible.
Yeah, I don't either.
Anatomically, I don't know how that's possible.
Do you even stretch, bro?
Yeah, I mean, that's insane.
Yeah, I wonder if that's genes too. Just
Well-
like.
You know, having that kind of flexibility and leg dexterity is so important in grappling. Eddie Bravo has the craziest flexibility. Like
Still even, or
oh yeah,
really?
Yeah,
Oh,
I mean
wow.
he's got knee problems and shit. He's had some meniscus
Yeah.
tears and shit. But
That
Ed-
100%
there
of
is-
people that sit that way.
Yeah,
But that's not the same
That's
thing he
not
was
as
doing.
bad
No,
though,
that's not what he was
because he's
doing.
got his knees spread apart.
Yeah.
The other one, his feet were on the ground and his legs were touching in the center, which is insane.
Yeah,
that's
that's
I
different.
can
That's
sit
way
like
different.
that.
Yeah, that's way
I
different.
can sit like that. That other shit was
Yeah.
preposterous.
I don't know
His
about
feet were
that.
flat on the
I
ground.
feel like your knee would fucking just pop or some shit.
Yeah.
It's not supposed to be there.
Well, if you can get your body to be that flexible, though, and then have dexterity like that, you could do so much shit off your back.
Yeah.
You know, you can do so much stuff with guard techniques. It's guys who have like really like that was a BJ Penn thing too. BJ was crazy flexible.
Yeah.
You know, and if you're with a guy and you know you get on top of a guy and all of a sudden you're in a terrible position, like there's certain guys if you are on your back and you know you're trying like Fabricio Verdum, if you were in that guy's guard, you're in deep shit.
Yeah.
That guy fucking tapped everybody. Think of who Fabricio Verdum tapped. He tapped Minotauro. He tapped Cain Velasquez. He tapped Fedor when Fedor was Fedor.
That's crazy.
He tapped Fedor in his fucking prime when Fedor was a murderer.
Damn.
And he caught him in a triangle.
Did he retire? Verdum?
Fabricio? I don't know what Fabricio's doing. He's not in the UFC anymore.
Oh,
Let's see what
okay.
he's up to.
Yeah.
He's somewhere else.
Fucking boxing Floyd next or something.
I don't know what he's doing. But you know, when you talk about legends, you got to include Fabricio Verdum because that guy tapped everybody.
Yeah.
He
Especially
tapped all the
Kane,
killers.
Like that was, yeah. I remember when he tapped Kane. That was the only one I would watch, but that was crazy.
And that was one where it was in Mexico City, and Kane didn't adequately prepare for the
that's
altitude.
right. Yeah, yeah. He
Kane-
had went out early.
Yeah,
Verdum, that's right.
Verdum went to the mountains, and he was there for like months. He was there for several months.
I'll never fight in altitude.
Bro, that's crazy.
I'll never
altitude.
do it. I'll
It's
just
also
say,
Mexico
nah.
City, which is wildly polluted.
Oof, yeah. Fuck that.
The air quality's, dude. I took photos when we were landing out my airplane. Where like I got the
Yeah.
and it's insane. It looks like there's a fire.
Like way worse. I mean, LA even when you come in looks disgusting. It's way worse than LA.
Way worse than LA. I think I wrote on Instagram, this is LA in the future.
LA. I mean, it's probably a good way to look at it.
It's when you have just complete, like people are like, oh, the regulations ruining everything. Look at what happens when you don't have regulated air quality. You don't have like regulated emission standards. Like that is fucking important, kids.
Those poor people that live there there that probably don't even know any better that just fucking
Of course, I don't know. You don't even notice it when you're in there. That's what's crazy.
just flying in.
Flying in, you see it, but once you're in the city, you're just in the city.
Yeah.
It's just like the air quality's terrible. So these people, they just get accustomed to it. See if you can find those photos. Like I took a photo like flying in from Mexico City.
Damn.
But it's a terrible place to be out of gas. If you're a fighter and you're in Mexico City and you're tired, woo, that'll test you.
That's the worst thing. That's a fighter's biggest fear is literally just gassing out.
Yeah.
Like that's the fucking most terrifying
Look at it.
thing.
Look at that photo.
Jesus. And that's just a normal fucking day, huh?
That's a normal day. Regular day. That's not a fire.
That's so fucked up.
Bro, it was so fucked up when we were flying in. I was like, oh my God. And I didn't want to say anything. I didn't want to freak out anybody on the plane.
Yeah.
But I wanted to be like, what? If I was with a friend, I'd probably be like, bro, what the fuck are they breathing?
Yeah, that's disgusting.
What are these people breathing? That's just insane.
Just walking around with a portable air filter around you at all
Yeah,
times.
what the I mean, that shit takes years off your life. Like, they know that's true. They know that people that live in big cities, they have like a decreased life expectancy due to the effects of all the pollution.
Did you ever watch I know there was Narcos, the Colombia one. Did you ever watch El Chapo on Netflix?
No, I didn't.
Fuck, it's so good.
Is it a documentary?
It was like a series.
All on Chapo?
Yeah, it's so crazy. Like if I was watching them, like you couldn't make that up, and like that's real fucking shit.
How about the fact that Sean Penn goes over there and interviews him?
Yeah.
What balls does Sean Penn have? Sean Penn goes and interviews him there, and then in the middle of the Ukraine war with Russia, flies to Ukraine.
Oh, wait, do you have him on?
No, I've never had him on. No.
Oh, okay.
I've never met him.
Okay, you had someone that went to Ukraine. Forget.
Lex Friedman went to Ukraine.
It wasn't Lex. It was some.
The guy who got out in the jail.
Oh yeah. That was a fucking interesting pod. What was that guy's name? But yeah, the fucking
Charlie Walker.
Yes, Charlie Walker. Yeah, that was a crazy story.
Yeah,
he got arrested over there. Yeah, he's lucky he got out. Like what they're doing now to Brittney Griner is fucking insane. They moved her to a penal colony, man.
What's that?
That's like slave labor.
No
like
way.
you're in a labor camp.
Dude, yeah, that's so sad.
Penal colony.
I can't imagine that.
Like where? Where is this thing? You know, they'll fucking literally move you to Siberia, and you live in prison in Siberia.
Yeah, fuck.
Like on Stranger Things. Remember when the dude gets arrested in Russia?
I watched Stranger Things first series and then never rewatched.
This is where they're moving her to? Jesus Christ. How grim is that?
I wonder.
Look at it. It's frozen. The Republic of Mordovia, Russia on Friday.
You think she ever gets back to America?
Fuck, dude. Look at that. Do you know how disappointed
looks so sad.
You know, like there's got to be a hope in your head. Like, look, I'm pretty famous. United States is going to take care of me.
Oh.
Nope.
How long has it been? It's been damn near a year, right?
It's been a long time.
Fuck. Imagine she gets out.
It's been several months. How long has she been in there?
Over 9?
Has it been 9 months?
It's got to have been. I feel like that was early.
Bro, and it's
early this year.
For a vape pen.
I know.
I mean,
was it CBD too? Like, or was
I
it?
don't know what it was.
Fuck.
I don't know what it was, but that's straight insanity.
Yeah, that's
like,
so
if
sad.
you want us to be sympathetic, that is the wrong way.
Yeah.
Like if you want to like fire people up to the fact that you have a totally cruel and evil organization that's running your country that's willing to take some innocent woman and use her as a pawn politically and put her in a penal colony. And if that's just the laws over there, that's our laws. Well, those laws suck. Those laws fucking suck. You got a law like that where you have a vape pen and you go to a penal colony? That's justice? Like, how do you want the world to be sympathetic to you?
Yeah.
When you'll take some woman who's a professional athlete and a basketball player, and especially when it's something like cannabis. Like, you know there's health benefits to that, particularly for athletes.
Yeah.
For athletes, it reduces inflammation. A lot of athletes like to smoke weed.
Yeah.
It's not bad for you. And it's not bad for the culture and bad for people. So, like, why are you putting her in a penal colony?
I mean, it's no different than coffee. It's just kind of the opposite. Coffee, you know, you drink it in the morning, get jazzed up. Weed, you smoke it, kind of chills you out, makes you think a little different.
Unless you get a hold of one of them Joey Diaz stars of death.
Oh, God.
Russia said the chances of a prisoner swap for Brittney Griner had strengthened and is angling to get a notorious arms dealer freed.
Oh, God.
Man,
What the fuck?
if we give up a basketball player for a mass murderer. I mean, is he a mass murderer or is he just an arms dealer? It's like he didn't do anything. He just sold them to people.
That killed
He's
people.
like, hey, bro, I'm basically like fucking
I'm not a bad guy.
Winchester or something. I'm just selling shit.
Do you think if you make drugs legal, there'll be less people dying, like from fentanyl, but there's more addicts? Or do you think it's crazy how all these people are dying, just not, they're risking it knowing that fentanyl, just a little bit of fentanyl could be in there.
Yeah.
But if it's legal and it's regulated, then you get whatever you're trying to get. There's no fentanyl in it. You know that. Are you going to have people more addicted because it's easier accessible but less deaths? Or do you think that it's going to benefit in just like less deaths and, less crime? It's hard to say.
I hate to make this quote again, but Thomas Sowell had this thing, there's no solutions, there's just compromises.
Ooh, wow, that's fucking
great saying.
accurate.
And in these situations, these complex situations like drugs, if you do make drugs legal, for sure, people are going to die. But for sure, people are going to get hooked on them that wouldn't have tried them before because now they have easy access. And I think it'll take a while until it gets to the kind of same baseline of people who abuse or don't abuse things. And maybe because the stigma and like the mystery of it all, because it's illegal, will go away if you know what it is and that it's damaging.
Right.
And maybe they could stop more people from having overdoses and with either counseling or medication like Narcan, that stuff that they give people when they do have an overdose, if they have that more readily available, if they have detox clinics, they take some of the money from legal sales and they create these detox clinics, and these clinics along with like counseling help people that have drug addictions. But it's like, who gets to decide what you can and cannot do with your body? If you want to like give that up to the state, well, they're not good at managing anything. Why would they be good at managing your consciousness, managing your choices, what you can and can't do with your body? A lot of them have terrible bodies. They don't even know. They don't know what they. You can't tell people they can't take peptides, or you can't tell people they can't smoke weed. You don't even know what those things do.
Yeah.
Like if you didn't smoke weed, and you were saying you got to stop smoking weed, like you're not qualified to make that statement. You don't even know how good it is. You don't know what the benefits it serves.
Yeah. I think less crime too.
I bet probably overall less crime eventually.
Yeah, eventually.
But there's going to be some chaotic moments. That's like what I said. Like some people are going to die, but I think like overwhelmingly in the long run, less people will die.
Yeah.
Because if you know what you're getting, if you're trying to get ecstasy and someone gives you fentanyl and you die, that is fucked up.
So fucked up.
But if you want to get ecstasy and you get ecstasy and you have your time of your life, like that's a different thing. Like we try to pretend that people don't enjoy themselves when they're on ecstasy is not helping anything.
Yeah.
You're not helping anybody.
Yeah.
I don't think the thing is to like make it illegal and keep it so that only drug dealers are selling you this stuff through illegal methods where they could be locked up in jail forever. So only the craziest motherfuckers are doing it.
Fuck.
And that's not a solution. That's not a solution to a real supply, demand, and also an ethics question. Because who the fuck are you to tell me what I can't do? Especially if you're talking about pure stuff. You know, like I've never done coke, but I know a lot of people who like it. And if you do it now, you run a real risk that you might die because the shit is spiked with fentanyl. It's a real risk.
Yeah.
But if
absolutely.
you had legal coke, you wouldn't have to worry about that at all. If it was just like buying a six-pack, you go to a store, show your license, they give you coke. I wonder if more or less people would do it. I wonder if people would recognize the problems with it, just like some people quit drinking, just like some people decide to be healthier. They quit sugar, they quit they know it's bad for you now, so they quit. If it's like there's a mystery to it being illegal, we're gonna be naughty, we're gonna get this illegal drug. In other countries, like where alcohol is, you could drink alcohol when you're young. Like if you go to Italy, you don't see a bunch of like young teenage drunks.
Right.
They start drinking wine when they're like 6 years old. Nobody gives a shit about it.
Yeah. Sorry.
No worries, man.
But yeah, it's crazy how people they can say you can and can't do things. Like if you're at home It shouldn't matter. You should be able to do whatever the fuck you want.
Whatever you feel like doing. If you're not
Whatever.
hurting anybody else, whatever the fuck you want to do.
You wanna go
Take whatever. Go
Yeah.
to the moon.
You want to, or even go to the club. You want to have a little extra fun time.
Yeah.
You should be able to.
It should be legal and regulated, where you know what it is, where they do tests on it. They have labs that are certified. If they did that, we'd have tax money from it. Instead, what we know is billions and billions of dollars people spend every year on illegal drugs. Let's just guess. Sean O'Malley.
How much money spent on illegal drugs?
Yeah. What do you guess?
In America or just all over?
Let's just say America.
America.
How much does America spend on illegal drugs every year?
Fuck. I'm gonna say 10. We'll go 5 billion.
5 billion sounds good. I'm gonna play it a little under that. I'm gonna go with 4 billion.
Okay.
You guys are way off.
Oh shit.
What's the number?
150 billion.
What? Are you
Holy
serious?
shit.
Damn it.
Americans are spending 150 billion annually on illicit drugs. Appears to rival what is spent on alcohol. Spending on cannabis, cocaine, heroin, and methamphetamine by Americans reached a nearly 150 billion. You know what they noticed? You know what they left out? Mushrooms.
Yeah.
Mushrooms goes under the radar.
It does. It's
150 billion.
Mushrooms is such a different drug.
That should be legal.
It
100% that should be legal.
Yeah.
You should 100% mushrooms should be legal, and they should be given to soldiers and anybody with PTSD and people that are dying from cancer, and helps them to like at the end of life therapy. It's like one of the most beneficial things for people.
Yeah.
The size of retail heroin market is now closer to the size of marijuana market than it is to the other drugs, according to the analysis.
That's fucked up.
Whoa.
That's so sad.
The retail heroin market is close to marijuana.
What is the retail heroin market? Is that just like legal opium?
You know how crazy it is? But what's crazy is marijuana is like the most innocuous in most people's eyes. The most prevalent, the most where people won't like thumb their nose at you.
Yeah.
If you tell your friends you do heroin, they're going to go, oh, Jesus, Sean, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You tell your friend you smoke a little weed, they're like, hey, who doesn't?
Yeah, same with
So
mushrooms.
the fact that they're closing in on marijuana.
Trying to find out what it says.
But that's crazy.
That's bananas.
Well, even when you think about Chapo or Pablo, how much money those guys were fucking raking in.
This is the point. If drugs are illegal, it's not stopping people from buying drugs. It's just giving all the money to criminals.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like that's $150 billion that we could be using to clean up schools and neighborhoods, and just think of the revenue that comes from that.
Yeah, I mean marijuana's changed the game too, taxing it.
Yeah, if they sold it and made it expensive and tax it highly, and then made it so there's like fucking crisis hotlines on everything, but at least you would know if you're getting heroin that you're actually getting heroin. You would know that if you're getting marijuana, you're actually getting marijuana. You know if it's cocaine. It's like if the government wants to regulate, do that. Make some money. You guys stop making shit illegal.
Yeah.
Biden administration was supposed to make it legal. Remember that? They were like, we are going to let all those people that are in federal prison for marijuana possession, we're going to let them out. There's no one in federal prison for marijuana possession.
I mean, I heard you and Duncan talking about that. He's
no
all
one.
like, I supported it, I liked it. I fucking thumbs upped it or whatever he
Yeah,
said,
they
and then you
tricked us.
realize it's fucking actually no one. Duncan's an interesting. I always love listening when he comes on here. He's
He's
just
the
so
best.
fucking funny, and when he goes off on his tangents, and it's just so fun to listen to.
Yeah, we always have a new outfit too.
Yeah.
Last time we were clowns, and what was hilarious, we were dressed as clowns, and Fox News was
God.
playing a clip of me and Duncan while we were dressed like clowns. They have to say, well, they were dressed up for Halloween.
Oh, God.
Sort of.
You dress up
sort
every
of.
time.
We dress
Yeah.
up every time he's on. We're like, for 4th of July, we dressed up like Patriots. We dressed up. What else did we do? We put the crazy
Wizards,
wigs
yeah.
on with the
a
wizards.
couple times.
Yeah. We got to come up with a new outfit. Astronauts. A few
Astronauts
times.
was a good one. That was a good one. That shit's funny.
It's new costume ideas. But yeah, Duncan and I did a show last night in Austin. at the
Does he
Creek
live?
in the
Does he
Cave.
live here?
Yeah, Duncan's here.
Yep.
Yeah, Duncan moved here.
This was one of his better outfits, but
Yeah, that one.
yeah,
He
that-
wore a ghillie suit with a face mask.
Didn't he try talking with it too
Yeah,
for
he
a
did
while?
for a while. It was
Yeah,
like
you
it was
can't
too
fucking
crazy.
hear that.
But that was during the height of the pandemic too. He probably like there was certain people that were upset that we were doing podcasts and we weren't wearing masks on the podcast.
Get the fuck out of here.
That was a thing, man. Yeah, they told on us.
It's
The health department came and visited us.
no way.
Yeah, yeah.
Actually.
Oh yeah.
What?
Yeah. I mean, meanwhile we were testing. I was like, dude, we're testing everybody.
Yeah.
And they're like, you can't, you have to do this. You have to stay apart from each other, and you have to have signs up. So we have to have signs up like stand 6 feet apart. And we had a bag of masks.
Some common
Everyone had to wear
sense
a mask.
rules and laws are just it's like holy fuck. Do you still overeat when you go out to eat much? I know you've talked about it and I fucking resonated with that so much. Like if I get high before I go out to eat, like and I'm getting a good cheeseburger, like I might as well order 2 because I'm gonna eat that one and I'm gonna be hungry still. I'm not even gonna fucking touch my doesn't even faze me.
Gluttony.
God damn it. It's such a pain in the ass.
When you're always dieting and cutting weight, do you think that makes you like more prone to doing that?
Dude, look at the reason Patty the Baddie gets as big as he is because it's like you get this mental disorder. I ate strict as fuck for about 10 weeks before that fight. Like I would have a little cheat meal on a Saturday, but the closer they got to the fight, 4 or 5 weeks out, I was just eating so clean to where right after, it's like I'll order 2 cheeseburgers, some appetizers, and just eat until I'm so uncomfortable and so much pain.
Oh my God, look at Patty. I'm gonna send you a video, Jamie. This dude
he
posted today.
Yeah, Patty's, and I'm not, who am I to fucking say, but I know that's just not good for you. How much he gets up to 200 pounds. That's like me getting up to like 190 or 185.
Yeah, that's a lot, dude.
It's sad. It's like that's not good, but it is. It gives you this mental disorder from eating. But fuck, dude, if you take a couple puffs before dinner, it depends how high you get. There's levels of high. If you just get a nice little high and the food just tastes better and you can just really enjoy it, or you get too high and you go in there and you just feel like a bottomless pit and you're eating the fucking bread and the appetizers, then you're eating your fucking other appetizers, then you're getting fucking 2 cheeseburgers. It's bad sometimes.
Michael Easter was actually just talking about that. He's a guy who wrote this book, The Comfort Crisis, and he wrote this book about a study that they did where they took these guys and they purposely starved them. Play it so he could say it. Michael _Easter.
Studies of all time was over. Scientists had to call it off. So in that study, I talked about it a few weeks ago. They took 36 men, they put them in a lab for 6 months, and they starved them, like really starved them, because they wanted to know what happens to the human body when we significantly decrease our calories and lose a lot of weight. What happens to our bodies? What happens to our minds? What happens to all these different processes? So it was a really enlightening study, told us a lot about weight loss. But where it started to get interesting is that now they have to refeed these guys and bring them back up to a normal weight. And the impacts of the weight loss were very lasting on these guys' behavior. So for one, they binge ate. One guy ate 11,000 calories a day. He had to go to the hospital for eating so much in a meal, and all of them were eating significantly higher calories than when they started. Second is that they obsessed about food. It was on their mind all the time, just as it had been when they were starving. And there's a handful of other really fascinating things that happened that basically ended up bringing these guys above the weight that they started at. So after this crazy diet, they actually ended up heavier. And this can tell us a lot about diets today, how we should approach them, how we should think about eating normally once we've lost weight. There's a link in the bio if you want to learn more. Check it out.
What I love Michael, but hey man, that fucking the voiceover, the captions, it's like missing all these words.
I know that was weird.
Like that's the worst like transcription ever.
It's doing it for free. Like if you had to pay someone to do that.
Well, pay for it. Because what is this? You're cutting off all these words. Like what's the purpose of having it so you can read it if you can't read it? Like it's like if you're not listening to him and you're reading that, you're like, what is he saying? There's like he's missing like key words.
It's also better than not having it.
Incorrect.
What's just him making it sitting
An
at his chair?
index of weight loss were what does that mean? Guys' behavior. So for one, they binge ate. Let's say, and then it gets to this other one. See here, and he had to go to the hospital for eating what?
Yeah, that
and
is
all
weird.
of them were eating significally what than when they started.
Yeah, what if you can't hear and you can
can't
only read
that?
It's better than not having it.
You're out of your mind.
No,
you're out of your mind. No, it's
even captions on
it's better to not have it than to have it where you can't fucking read it. because there's a bunch of words missing.
Well, have you ever watched captions normally? They are about
not that good. That's
accurate.
or not that bad, right? That's pretty bad. Whatever program he's using, that program sucks. Maybe he didn't know.
Probably built into Instagram.
Yeah, it's probably just like a built-in
Really?
one. But interesting study.
They're that bad? Yeah, very interesting.
That's dude, it's so true. Every fighter will sit here and say the same thing after a fight. If you cut a lot of weight and you make weight, and then I mean, even for me, I still eat really clean leading up to the fight. But dude, I see fighters at the fucking breakfast buffet eating eating shitty fight day because they made weight, or after weigh-ins that night they're eating shitty.
They just want to eat.
I keep it clean until after the fight. And then after the fight, I let loose a little bit. But this has been the best I've done. Usually, because for me, bread, cheese causes inflammation. Like I work with a nutritionist, Dan Garner. He's working on a really, really cool protocol right now, a concussion protocol for me. He's done 10 plus labs for me. I've been working with him for like 5 years. He has a ton of data on me, but we do a bunch of, like right now we'll be in he's making a protocol for me outside of camp to eat, and so he has all my data. But I've been doing a really good job not overeating. This each time it gets a little bit better, and it's a knowledge thing and a discipline thing.
Does he meal prep for you? So he makes you.
He lives in Canada. He writes it out. I have a meal prep company in Arizona, all organics, that makes my food.
Oh, that's
throughout
great.
the entire fight camp.
So they give you the exact portions that you need.
Portions.
Oh, that's great.
Changed the game.
Oh yeah, no have to think about it, right?
I don't really cook. Danny cooked. She would, full-time mom, and she does hair for a living, so she'd work a couple days a week. But so the recharge center in Arizona, it changed the game.
That's amazing.
Yeah, but this one, I mean, I got out of this camp or out of that fight, and I was like, I'm ready to go. I want to fucking get back to the gym. I know how hard of a fight Henry is, how hard of a fight Aljo is, how hard of a fight anybody in the top 5 is. I need to get back to the gym. So I've been really a lot more disciplined. Because I think it's been a month now since the fight, but not eating as much cheese or eating as much bread if I go out to eat, just because I know that fucking causes inflammation in my body, and I know it's gonna take a little bit longer to get back to training. Or if I am training and I eat too much cheese and bread, it's going to cause that inflammation, risk an injury, or just be fucking more sore than I need to be. But yeah, eating disorder from cutting weight is a real fucking problem.
It's a real thing, right?
If I fought at my natural weight class, I'd fight at 155. If I didn't cut weight, walk around 58, 59, whatever, I'd fight at 155. There's no fucking chance that I'm going to say, you know what, I'm just going to do that. I'm going to go fight Justin Gaethje. I'm gonna go fight Charles. There's no way. I could go fight at 145. I believe and be successful. I'm not a tiny 35er. Those guys would still even be a little bit bigger. But cutting to 45, I wouldn't. Cutting to 35 is fucking hard. You feel like you're dying. Your heart is pounding. You're laying in bed.
Well, you kind of are dying.
You 100% are dying. Like, I talk to my body. I have to tell it, like, hey, what we're doing fight week. Like, we're gonna start, cutting weight. Like I try to tell myself, like, we know we're not going to actually die. We're going to feel like that or whatever. But I could cut to 45. It'd be a lot easier. Obviously, 55 would be the easiest. But I wish more guys would. But then again, like Aljo, he weighs how much right now?
I don't know.
160 to 170.
Davidson Figueiredo.
I wonder if he goes to 35. Oh, he's fighting
25 again. He's going to do it
again.
He said he was mad at me for saying that I didn't think he's going to be at 25 again.
But he's short.
But he's talked about that. He's stacked though.
Is he? I've never really been around
thick
him.
Guy. He's thick.
But when you're a certain height, I feel like you
have to.
But then again, look at Henry. He's fucking 5'3", and he's fucking doing it.
Yeah.
So I guess it depends how thick you are. But how tall is Figueiredo, Jamie? He's 5'5". See, it's not. He could fight at 35, but I'm damn near 6 foot. It's crazy the different body types, and I mean, not one's better than the other. But I do think my length, my body type, Izzy, Alex Pereira, John Jones, the long, like Charles Oliveira is the best for fighting. Maybe the best for jiu-jitsu too, I think.
It's very good for jiu-jitsu, and it's very good for distance.
Yeah.
You have so much of an advantage of, like, if you're fighting a short guy and he's coming, like Jan had little puzzles to solve before he could land shots.
Fucker's good, dude.
Damn, he's good.
I find people's chins pretty, not, I wouldn't say easily, but I eventually find their chins quite a bit. Like that's my whole thing. Like setting it up, boom. I want to find that chin. I want to find that shut off button. And fucker's hard to hit. He's very good at tucking his chin. He's very good at switching stances. He throws his little body kick that he throws when we were opposite stance was so fast. But yeah, finding his chin was difficult. And then in that second round, I found it a couple times. And then that knee in the third was...
That knee in the third was beautiful.
Yeah.
That knee in the third was beautiful.
Fucking... Tim, going into the second round, so right after the first round, going to the second round, he said, just trust that left hand. Because I knew when he was southpaw and I was southpaw, it's similar, orthodox, that right hand, obviously, but it's just switched. And so I just trusted in that left hand, double jab through it, landed it clean, hurt him, and then going into that third round, he's like, feint that right and throw that knee up the middle. So that's important, having good corners that can see shit like that, because that was, those two things he told me really changed the fight. Like me hurt, I didn't win the second round, but I hurt, I dropped him. I hurt him bad with that left hand. I hit him with that right hand, dropped him to his knee. Then he cracked me with that left hand and immediately took me down. But that fucking trip he got me with, he got that little trip when we're both, I tried it back. I got up right away, and then I tried it right back to him. And then at the end of the third, I tried it in it, and then he didn't really take me down. It was more of a failed attempt. So I wouldn't even consider that a takedown on his part, because it was just a shitty failed attempt on my part. But I was trying to get him back with that.
You wanted to get him back like psychologically?
I tried twice, yeah. Just because. I was like, God damn it, little fucker got me.
He's good at those Muay Thai trips.
Yeah. I was hitting him in sparring. Every single sparring session, I was hitting someone with that same trip where you step in. He hit Aljo with it too a couple times or once. But I wanted that bad going into that fight, and he got me with it, a little fucker.
Yeah, I'm very impressed with him. And he's very defensively responsible. Like the way he keeps his hands up high. He's always rock solid with his defense.
Going into that, right at the end of the first round, going into the second round, staring at him on the bench, or on this little stool looking at him, I was like, well, this motherfucker wasn't expecting this. I felt him, like, taking pretty big breaths going into the second round. Like, he usually is in really, and he was in good shape, but I don't think he was expecting me to be as good as I was, or him to have to grapple, because he grappled a lot more in that first round than he usually does. That's exhausting. But I felt like an energy switch, and like him going to that second round. But that fucking left hand he landed, did you watch that in slow-mo at all? Like they've replayed that because I've never really been hit with a shot like that. I've been hitting sparring hard, but that was the cleanest left hand I've ever been hit with. And the only thing I can think of how I took that is just I was in such good shape and just did everything fucking right for 12 weeks. And I was able to take that because of that, because that fucking could have not land cleaner. It was perfect. It was a perfect left hand. And it was because I rewatched it back, and for me, I get hit when I plant my feet. When my feet are planted, that's when I can start getting hit. When I'm moving and on my feet, it's very hard for me to get hit. But that's how it hit me. I had my feet planted. He threw it. I kind of leaned back rather instead of using my feet to get me back. But yeah, that fucker's super, super skilled. I'm excited to watch whoever he fights next. I don't think he's leaving the UFC. There's no need. He's one of the best guys in the world. You gotta fight in the best
I hope
league.
he doesn't leave. The problem with leaving is, you can get paid other places, but you won't be in the UFC anymore. You know, you could get a good gig at Bellator. You get a good gig at, the PFL. But
fuck that.
It's not the same.
No.
It's not the same, unfortunately. I think it's better now than it's ever been before, but there's still like really good guys over at Bellator that nobody knows who they are.
Yeah.
The wildest thing is ONE FC, because those fucking guys, there's guys over there that are fucking elite.
Really? I don't watch.
I think it's crazy you don't watch that. How do you not watch?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't really watch fights in general unless it's like a massive fight, Always tune into Conor fight or Nate fight, John Jones. Like I'll tune into the biggest fights, but yeah, I don't know. I try to just fucking.
You don't get into it.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just because you're doing it.
Maybe.
Maybe when you're done fighting, you'll enjoy it more. But maybe it's just like you just need a break. I mean, it's obviously you're fully immersed. You see plenty of fighting just with your own.
Right.
And sparring and training and fights that you have to watch because you're there.
I'll rewatch my fight. No, I do think that's one thing that where I improved the most was watching my own sparring back consistently. Like every sparring session, I'll record it, watch it back. And I've been doing that since pretty much I went to the lab like 8 years ago. I have like a library of stuff on my YouTube. I just make it private and upload it to my YouTube so I can delete it off my phone. But I have rounds with like sweet rounds like Alex Caceres and what's Henry's boy's name? Pantoja, before I was even in the UFC and he was. I have some sweet rounds from way back in the day. But I do think that's where I improved a lot was recording it and watching it and just fucking figuring out what the fuck I'm doing wrong and right.
And also, like, what do you like about watching yourself that you could see what it looks like versus how you feel, and also like you see where maybe you would see openings on you?
Yeah, 100%. I've rewatched my fights and thought, what is their coach? What is my opponent looking? Where do they think that they can take advantage of what I'm doing? Yeah, right. That's for sure. I've watched my fights back like that.
Do you ever look at it like where you would take advantage of what you're doing?
Yeah, for sure.
Like if you were fighting you.
Yeah. I tried to look at I try to watch it from as many different perspectives as I can, but for the most part, like the Pedro Munoz fight, fuck. That one just did not end. Like that one I don't really rewatch. It was just nothing really happened. He tried to kick my legs for about 5 minutes. I checked most of them. And that's pretty much what that fight sucked. I hated that fight. That's probably the one I've watched back the least amount. The Peter one I've watched back a ton already, like probably 10 times.
The Munoz fight, that ended on an eye poke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Supposedly. No, I'm sure. I mean, it was weird. I mean, it's Pedro Munoz. Dude's fought the killers of killers.
Yeah.
Like, he must have not been able to see, but if you watch it, it's like it wasn't like that bad of a poke compared to 2 fights later when Izzy put, half his finger in Jared Cannonier's eye and Jared's like, no, fuck, I'm good. So I don't know if if he literally couldn't see, I could see it, but
I think sometimes for whatever reason, like it's just how the eye gets hit. I've seen guys get really poked where it looks bad and they say they're fine, and I've seen guys where they get grazed and they can't fucking see, like they can't open their eye, and then you find out later that they had cornea scratches and all this shit, and it's real.
Yeah, I don't know.
How much of a difference do you think it makes with having, like, what percentage of like trying to get a hand under a neck with the glove? How much
rear
harder?
naked?
30% harder?
Yeah, probably something like that. It's definitely the extra couple inches trying to get under the neck, especially when they're fighting it hard.
I was surprised the first time I wore gloves to try to grapple how
it's weird.
You would think it's not that much bigger.
Well, even guillotines or shooting a darce or
nothing fits.
All the headlock
slides
chokes,
in anymore.
Yeah, super fucking weird. It sucks too when you're sparring like on a Saturday and you got a good grappler or wrestler going. You have shin pads on. They take you down and they're like just the whole. Shin pads, I wonder if there's a way you could somehow make those, but then again, you got to protect your fucking, I don't know. Yeah, but grappling with shin pads is fucking hard.
It's hard.
So hard.
It's weird. They get in the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, even sparring with them sucks.
Yeah.
It's like you'd rather have them because you want to protect your shins, but
yeah,
everything moves slower. It seems sloppier.
Feel heavy.
Yeah.
If I'm sparring a guy and it's like, all right, their main objective, take me fucking down and it's gonna be a grapple fuck. It's like I've won in those Saturday sparring rounds without shin pads and didn't even kick, just boxed and grappled, because it's unrealistic sometimes. Like if someone gets you down and you're trying to get your bottom leg free and it's like there's like 5 extra inches or whatever it is, you can't even get your leg free, and then you're there for the rest of the round. But this next fight camp's gonna be grapple fuck. Either one, Henry or Aljo.
Yeah.
Like their goal, take me down. For Peter, I grappled. We had guys we grappled like normal, but for sparring, for the most part, we didn't grapple much. Like we had guys trying to shoot every once in a while and stuff. But I was planning on that being a legit just kickboxing fight. That fucker came out shooting. But I wonder. I'd be curious if his game plan was to shoot, or if I started cracking him early. And he was like, all right, I'm going to start fucking wrestling. That's how I'm going to win this fight.
Well, there was quite a few moments where he was trying to engage with you, and he was having a hard time getting past that length. And you were being really accurate, too.
Like teeps, those body kicks. It's so weird because when you watch them on TV, you can kind of see like, oh, there's body kick. Those fucking teeps are deadly. You saw Dan Hooker's teeps like against that last guy, finish the fight. And I throw, I was doing serious damage to his body with those teeps. It could have been why he was, fatiguing faster than usual too. But that's like probably the most dangerous weapon, I'd say, for long guys. Those fucking front kicks.
Oh yeah, man, it's a fucking amazing kick.
Yeah.
Especially when guys are kind of in MMA style, they're kind of facing towards you a little bit because
Yeah.
they're thinking potentially of taking you down. That wider target.
Yeah.
A good front kick to the body. Tony Ferguson always had a good front kick to the body. Good front kick to the body.
You risk that fucking feet injury though, because you might kick an elbow, you might kick a fucking elbow.
You get those Poeton feet.
Yeah, you got some. Yeah, my fucking toes are.
You know who had the nastiest front kick to the body? Semi Schilt. Do you remember Semi Schilt?
I feel like that name's familiar, but
He was a K1 champion. Giant guy, like 7 feet tall. Fought in the UFC too.
Shit, 7 feet.
Yeah, Semi Schilt was
Jesus.
giant, man. Semi Schilt was
You
giant.
gotta have a good front kick if you're 7 fucking feet.
Elite kickboxer. And Semi used to fuck people up with that front kick.
Yeah. Well, then you start. Yeah, that front kick. Then they have to respect it going to the body. Then you fucking go high with it and you fucking head kick someone.
He had one of the most disturbing losses ever to Sergey Karatanov in Pride, where Sergey Karatanov got on top of him and he pinned him down. Semi was just a kickboxer and Karatanov was like a sambo guy.
Oh god.
Got on top of him and just kept punching him in his one eye. Hammer fisting him and punching him in his one eye, and his eye was a fucking bloody mess. And he was trapped, and he was just getting punched and hammer fisted in this one eye. Look, he's hitting this one eye. Look at this.
God, dude, just a kickboxer, huh?
So he's mounted on him, and then he pins his arm down. And then when he pins his arm, he's just a kickboxer. Pins his arm down here. I mean, Semi's fucked, dude. I mean, he's so out of his world here. And then when he gets on top of him, he just starts hitting this one eye.
Ooh.
That left eye over and over and over again, man. He pins his arm down here and just starts hammer fisting it. And he can't do shit, man. He's just trapped.
Fucking Molly Meatball and fucking. That was crazy.
This is more scary.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
Look how he's doing
Look how
it.
big he is. Like, men fucking.
And he just
Oh,
starts
God.
smashing his eye.
That's a crazy little trap he's got there.
Oh my God! It's just grappling superiority, like
Yeah.
pure grappling superiority. Look how he's doing
It's
this.
life or
no, No,
death.
you're gonna stay here. And this guy can't do shit.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just stuck. And Karatanov was fucking terrifying back then. 'Cause he
How-
was really good standing up too. In fact, he wound up fighting in Glory.
What? How many minute round was the first one in that?
10
Like
minutes. 10 minutes.
yeah.
Pride's first round
He's
was
probably
10
been-
minutes.
He's probably been there for about 7, huh?
Yeah. Well, look at this. It's like a minute 15 to go. What round does that say? I can't even read it.
Round 1, it looked like.
It's so blurry. So he took him down there.
Yeah, he's down for 7 minutes.
Oh,
Damn,
Jesus
just
Christ.
7 minutes on top.
So we took him down early. So now he's just like hammering his eyeball with these hammer fists.
If you're a
Look at
kickboxer,
this.
what do you like? What
Look at
the
this.
fuck?
Look at this. Just hammering his eye. Look at it's just bloody mess. Look at this.
Oh, it's
Dude,
a big
it's
guy on top.
one of
too.
the most distrobing stoppages ever.
I mean,
'Cause
when do you
he's
throw in the
just-
towel?
Look at this, man. Look
It's
at
like,
his
fuck.
Look at his eye.
Oh,
It's his right eye, sorry. His right eye just a
Okay,
bloody
there
mess.
you go.
And the referee's like, enough. I mean, it looks like he's going to fucking lose his eye if he keeps going.
that's terrifying.
Terrifying. It was one of the most disturbing stoppages because it's a guy that's totally helpless. The guy who's on the bottom, like he's totally out of his water.
knows nothing.
His jiu-jitsu is just not, and Karatanov is an assassin.
Fuck.
He was like a Russian special forces guy too, or something.
The
Like,
Russians
what was
are
his
terrifying.
background? He's a terrifying one. He's still fighting, man. Karatanov
No.
is still fighting.
Jeez, this is 2004.
Yeah, 2004.
Damn, that dude really is fucking.
But
seven.
Karatanov is still around, man.
He's 42.
He's 42, still banging out. So he was young then. He was young then. But what is his didn't he have like some
Damn, beat Tyrone Spong.
Yeah.
What
He's,
was it?
Russian
military.
airborne troops.
airborne troops?
Resigned
Yeah.
late 2010s.
Yeah.
Active
Okay.
duty while still training.
So active duty, still training and still fighting. So in that fight, when you saw him smash that dude, he was
Jesus.
still in
45.
the airborne troops. So he was airborne in Russia and fighting in Pride. What a fucking terrifying human being.
45-9 MMA. That's a fat fucking record. Jesus.
It's a fat record. He fought killers too.
Yeah. It's a lot of fucking fights.
And again, I think he kickboxed really recently.
February, he fought Tyrone Spong.
Yeah.
And in one. How old's
He beat Tyrone Spong?
I didn't say he beat. I just said
I
he
think
fought.
I
don't
thought
know
it
who
said
won
I
the
thought it
fight.
said win.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
looks like he's
oh,
winning.
it looks like an MMA fight.
Oh, it's an MMA fight. Oh, I did see this. I saw this. I think this was for Eagle FC.
Yeah, Eagle
this is
FC.
for yes. Okay, so this is Khabib's organization. Yeah, he beat the shit out of Tyrone Spong.
Did Spong not do MMA? Did he?
He did a little bit. He
Okay.
fought some MMA. You know, but Spong was an elite kickboxer, and then he fought Gokhan Saki and broke his leg. Did you ever see that?
Oh,
you need
Who
to see
broke
this.
whose leg?
Gokhan checked.
Oh.
He checked a kick.
Oh, I don't want to see it.
And his leg snapped.
I can't watch that.
You have to watch
shit.
it. We're gonna watch it.
I'll try.
Gokhan Saki was another guy who, was an elite kickboxer that got into the UFC.
God,
but he got in the UFC after
video
so
just
many
starts with that.
years of
Oh,
war.
fuck! I can't
Play it
even.
again.
It didn't show it. It just shows him on the ground.
Oh.
That probably just so you can watch at the end.
Yeah, they'll show it.
Oh,
they'll show it. They'll show it. Here it goes.
$1,000 grand prize. They're Tana able to hit him again and
Sounds
again.
off.
The sound's crazy off. What's the other sound?
There's two videos.
$1,000 grand prize.
I'll watch like.
This was, really high level shit, man. Like, oh, look at that, right there. Boom.
Has injured his leg.
And look at Gokhan. Gokhan just like, oh no.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't even like.
I mean,
Oh.
I don't think Tyrone Spong has fought kickboxing since. I don't think so.
Dude.
I think that was his last kickboxing fight, and then he did some boxing fights, and he was getting a pretty good name in boxing, but he had a big fight fall through, and then he fought Garatonov in MMA.
Through those breaks. Ooh, I wonder if. I'm so curious who Conor's gonna fight. I wonder if he looks at Michael Chandler, because at one point, I mean, Chandler throws bombs, but he throws hooks. He throws some fire. Like,
how does the USADA thing work?
I guess he's not even in the pool anymore.
If he's not in the pool, so how much time does he need before he gets back and competes once he gets back in the pool?
6 months is what they say.
6 months.
Yeah.
That's a long time.
Yeah.
So do you think his leg's still fucked up? What do you think is going on?
I don't even have thought. I don't know. It's hard to say. I mean, I don't know why he was out of the pool. I don't know if they took him out because he's on a fucking yacht everywhere and he's just untestable. Like, what are you gonna fucking? How are you gonna test him if he doesn't?
That
really
doesn't seem fair.
It's crazy. I mean, I literally don't think he's getting. I don't think he got tested last year or whatever it was.
No, I don't think he got tested. So
this year
he jumps back into the pool in December.
January, February, March, April, May, June.
He can fight in June and July.
Yeah. If he gets back in December, which is soon.
Yeah.
And if he does, who does he fight?
But that's something that people need to realize when they're tossing names around.
Yeah.
Like, if you're tossing I want Conor, like, you're talking about 6 months from now minimum.
Which might work out for Chandler after going through that war. Conor has to see a guy that's going to get him excited, that he sees is very winnable. And Chandler's dangerous, but he's shorter and he throws fucking hooks. Conor's a bigger and he's a sniper. He throws down the middle. So he might look at that.
Take it though.
Yeah,
He can fucking take it
for
and bounce
sure.
back.
Dangerous motherfucker.
That guy has a warrior spirit. Crazy warrior spirit. Like, maybe too crazy. Like, maybe if he fought,
Smart.
try to be a little more elusive, but it's like that's how he gets the fans too. He's do or die. And he does it every fucking time he fights, man. You can guarantee if Michael Chandler's fighting, some fucking chaos is going to happen.
His run in the UFC since he's gotten signed has probably been the craziest.
Amazing.
The fucking craziest.
In terms of entertainment, holy shit. Every fight he's in is do or die.
Yeah.
All of them are exciting.
So, but if Conor comes back, it's going to be at 170. He's got to be. He's fucking massive. But he's also still shooting a movie, isn't he?
Yes.
That's got to take... You
He's
cannot
shooting
shoot a movie
Roadhouse.
and fucking train for a fight. You just can't do it. You can't do anything and train for a fight.
No, you can't.
And be like...
But I don't think he's actually trying to train for a fight now, but they're just talking about him potentially fighting.
Yeah.
But everybody needs to recognize, if that's the case, then you're talking about 6 months from now. And maybe, who does he fight? So Volkanovski and Islam fight.
Yep.
And Islam beats Volkanovski. What's next?
It's a good question.
Is it a rematch with Oliveira? What is it? That would be exciting.
Islam versus, Poirier. I don't know if people...
He's not 265. He's joking around.
265.
He's just joking around.
Is it, Poirier versus Islam? Someone's got to come and make some fucking noise. I mean,
Poirier and Chandler was a great fight. It was a lot of fun. It was awesome. But, I don't know. I don't know what he wants to do next. Like, what is Dustin might just want to take big money fights, like whoever talks the most shit and can sell the most tickets.
It's crazy. I mean, Dustin. It's crazy. He's not headlining after those Conor wins. Like he's not. He didn't. I don't feel like he took advantage of that opportunity, and he should be headlining, making pay-per-view money, but he's just not.
Is that his fault though? I mean, he got the interim title when he fought Max Holloway, and then when he lost to Khabib, and he lost to Oliveira, and he beat Conor. I mean, he's in a great spot, right? He's in that fucking top soup. But like, if you're the person that's if you're Mick Maynard and you're making the decision, you're Sean Shelby. And you're saying, okay, this is the next fight. Who do you pick?
Yeah.
Do you pick Poirier? Like Poirier, it's like great fighter, might win, might beat everybody.
Yeah.
But like, who's there's no like real clear, compelling contender, right? Justin fought Charles. That's right. Justin fought Charles and got stopped.
Okay. Yeah.
Justin fought Dustin Poirier. How many times did they fight?
Justin and Dustin only fought the once. Pretty sure.
Justin Gaethje and Dustin Poirier?
So I know what you're saying. Okay, so Charles beat Justin, and then Islam beat Charles. So Islam would, the MMA math, it's hard to say, but yeah.
Well, if you wanted to have a Gaethje-Charles rematch, it's like, Charles took him out pretty quick.
Yeah, it wasn't, I like I said, I haven't seen all of it. I've seen a couple highlights, but it didn't seem like Charles really ever had Islam in danger, did he?
Well, Charles was like competent, he was like defensively responsible. He threatened a little bit off of his back, but Islam was so good in that fight. It's like, who is compelling other than Volkanovski? Like, who's compelling?
There's no one on that I look at and be like, ooh, that'd be fucking interesting. Other than Volkanovski, who's at 45, who's still even questionable if it is. Does Islam go? Is there? Who's at 70? Oh fuck, Islam could be Leon.
Dude, this is how crazy good that would be. That would be an amazing fight. Yeah, this is Gaethje versus Oliveira.
Oh, Charles.
This is how good Islam is, right? Because up until this moment, when Charles Oliveira finished Justin Gaethje and he just beat him up and dropped him on the feet and then submitted him on the ground, people were thinking there's no one that can challenge Charles. Charles is at such an elite level. Islam beats him so soundly that now you're like, I don't even know if it makes sense for Charles to fight him again.
Yeah, that's insane.
That's how good he is.
Yeah. Does he move up? Islam in Kamaru, that's interesting. If Kamaru beats Leon.
But you're assuming that Islam wants to go up.
Yeah.
Like, he might decide that, he can just crush everybody at 155 and just run the division for a while.
Yeah.
Why would he if he just won the title, why would he go up to 70, right?
No, that's yeah. It would be crazy though if he goes if he beats Volkanovski, who's the 45-pound champ. He does not double champ, but beats the 45-pound champ, beat the 55-pound champ, and then goes up and beats the 70-pound champ. That's fucking insane.
Dude, look how fucking well he dominates on the ground here.
Yeah, his next level
his
jiu-jitsu.
Back. He cranks out a triangle while he's sitting there.
Yeah, most fighters don't have great actual high level Brazilian jiu-jitsu.
Dude, look at that transition to the rear naked. That's
and body triangle.
Sensational.
Yeah.
It's just sensational.
So
Charles was so good. Charles was so good when he was running shit that we couldn't imagine a fight where you maybe didn't think it was compelling for him to fight for the title again. That's how good Islam is.
Was Charles
nuts.
the underdog too going into that?
Yes.
Damn.
Yeah, he was the underdog.
That's crazy.
Which is nuts.
Yeah,
that's nuts.
Yeah, that is
as dominant as he was as a champion, to have him be the underdog. Make sure that's true, because I'm pretty sure that's true. Is that true? That Charles Oliveira was the underdog in the Islam Makhachev fight?
Yeah, who knows?
I'm pretty sure he was.
In 2 years, some fucking stud can just come out of nowhere and be like, next guy.
The next guy could be in fucking
underdog.
Oliveira was the underdog.
It was not a lot, but yeah, he was the underdog.
That's
crazy.
insane.
Champion, dominant champion, submitting everybody, underdog. That's how good Islam is. That's nuts.
I wonder if Michael Chandler would have beat Poirier if we would have been more excited for Chandler versus Islam rather than Poirier versus Islam.
Yeah, 190.
It's a 2-to-1 favorite.
Almost 2-to-1. Yeah. 65.5% win probability to become the new lightweight champion.
Damn.
That's insane.
Yeah,
That's
that
how
is.
good that guy is. That is bananas.
I feel like Charles fought a bunch, like back to back to back to back.
He did.
That's
Yeah.
what you do, though. I mean, look what Izzy's doing. He's fucking doing it.
Well, when he
was.
fought Tony Ferguson, that was like a big coming out party for him in a lot of ways. You know, he fought Tony Ferguson, and people were like, "Oh shit! Like, look how he dominated Tony." And when
Yeah.
Tony didn't tap from that armbar, oh
That gives me fucking
Oh.
That shit's gross.
yeah.
The craziest. I remember I've watched like Benson highlights of him being in submissions and not getting submitted. It's fucking insane.
He's
There's
an
just
animal.
some guys. I think Benson. Yeah, Benson was like the first high level guy I watched at the gym when I went to the lab. I was like, oh.
He was the
shit.
first guy to implement calf kicks.
Yeah, he got his fucking legs, dude.
Giant.
It
Yeah.
just and I mean, I'm pretty sure he's recently won or he did just recently win in Ireland. But yeah, I remember watching him. His cardio is just something. I don't make. He'll fucking go on a trip, come back, spar 5 rounds, 5-5s, and just be like,
wow,
it's insane. But that's where I first kind of learned like championship mindset. I was like, okay, this motherfucker's mind is just always. He's just a championship mindset, and it was cool to see. But yeah.
How old is he now? 39.
Oh wow. Yeah.
Wow. And so who's he fighting for right now? Is he Bellator still?
Yeah, he's
So he just fought in Ireland, is that what you're saying? Look at that, Peter Queally.
Yeah.
That's a good win.
Oh, it's hell. He beat Islam. Different Islam, but
I don't know that gentleman who he beat.
yeah.
Do you know who that is?
The Peter Queally or Islam? My man.
I know what Peter Queally
Oh, okay.
is.
I'm not sure about the Islam guy.
There's so many guys that, like if you want to follow Bellator, like there's hundreds of guys over there. They're really good.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy. Like there's so many. Like if the overall landscape of MMA fighters, someone told me that the UFC has 1,000 fighters now. Is that true?
That's a good question. That's a.
How many?
I don't
how many
know.
fighters does the UFC have signed? Somebody told me it was 1,000, but it was like backstage. I was like, what? Is
That
that
seems
real?
like a lot.
Somebody else was saying it was 600.
That seems more accurate.
It says as of 2021, there are 689 contracted.
Yeah, but that's 2021. It's
Yeah.
Well,
almost
dude, they
the end of
signed
2022.
everybody on fucking Tuesday Night Contender Series.
Yeah.
You gotta win, get in here.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's a Contender Series was huge. It was a massive. That's fucking brilliant.
When you were having your fight called by Snoop Dogg,
Yeah.
how crazy was that?
Yeah, that was.
How crazy was that?
It's so crazy looking at my career how things have played out so perfect. Like the fact Snoop Dogg was there, like that was the first time that I started kind of getting busy on social media and starting to understand like, okay, this is gonna be a part like of my career in my life moving forward. And he would like repost me or post me, and then I started getting a bunch of followers from Snoop posting me, and yeah, that was fucking insane. He's still to this day. I mean, you have a conversation with him, he'll call me Sugar Shane. Sugar Shane. Yeah, he'll still just call me Sugar Shane. So I'm
just keep it.
I'm just like that. It's just Sugar Shane for the most part.
That's hilarious.
But yeah, that was massive for my career. Just literally having Snoop Dogg. And it was only that season they had Snoop in your eye doing the Snoop cast.
It all came out of I think Snoop like live streaming him watching the fights.
Oh, really?
I think that's where it came from.
Snoopcast.
Yeah, I think it came from just him like talking into his phone and uploading it to social media. And then I think there was like one famous like knockout that he
Damn, that's crazy. I still remember like vividly doing interviews. It was like the first time doing big interviews at the UFC PI, like being around UFC staff, being just around that, just saying like, oh, I'm going to be bigger than Conor. And like, I got so much shit for saying that. Now we're like, I'm on the verge. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm getting there. Holy pre-face test, pre-colored hair.
Look at you.
Just
You're a little
skinny
kid.
as fuck.
What does that feel like watching this?
It's weird. That was what, 2017? I don't know. It's almost embarrassing. It's like fucking just such a young me.
Well, it's such a fascinating thing that they can capture that moment in time and you can watch it and it puts your head back to who you were then when it happened.
Yeah, I think specifically in that fight, I was eating a vegan diet. I was, I think, like 140 pounds when I walked into the cage, weighed in at 136. Like,
wow.
I was just so many things. I remember having a really bad fight camp for that. I had a concussion in that fight camp. I got kneed in the head. Wasn't really sparring. Had the worst training camp of all time. But still, like, that young me was just so confident. I was on, like, I'd just come off a viral knockout over David Nuzzo. Have you seen that one? You've probably seen it, where I head kicked him this way and then spinning kicked him the other way. Will you try to find that one?
Yeah,
dude?
find that.
And so I was just coming off that. So I had this confidence about me. I had knocked a bunch of people out previous in my amateur career, and I think it was like 5-0 pro. And for some reason, like in the backstage, I remember just being like super confident. So this was the fight right before it. Boom.
Oh, wow.
And that was like one of my favorite knockouts of all time. I thought that was just the sickest fuck. And that was in Phoenix. That was the first time I fought on like a bigger card. It was LFA.
You know what really impressed me about you when I found this out is that you didn't have a background in traditional martial arts.
Just an athlete. I just played ball sports and just I just was intuitive. I just fought I don't know.
Well, I think the
weird.
ball sports, it forces all this like movement left and right really quickly. You know, if you think about like playing basketball, you're bam, beautiful.
Oh, it was so sick.
If you think about playing basketball, you're constantly jumping one side to the other. It involves all this explosive footwork and movement. Like when they talk to Lomachenko and he tells everybody his dad made him do Russian dance, traditional Russian dance for 2 years. Watch him move, man. Look at the way he moves. It's incredible.
It's beautiful.
His footwork is fucking sensational.
Yeah.
That's an advantage that you have too. But the kicking is like, it's really good. Like it seems like you were like a black belt in karate or something. Like when you watch you throw those kicks, if I didn't know, because you told me, I'd be like, oh yeah, he definitely was like a karate champion or something.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like. It looks like you really know how to execute them, and it's over a relatively short amount of time of training them.
Yeah. I
Like
remember,
at that time, how long had you been even kicking?
Well, I'd say I started kickboxing and stuff when I was 16. So, and I was probably 21 or 22 in that. But I was never taught how to kick, like, from anybody.
That's crazy.
It was just natural. Like, some people say they're born for certain things. I'm like, I guess I just was born to fight because I do throw pretty good techniques without having learned it.
That's amazing. Well, did you watch a lot of fighting?
No, I never watched fighting.
That's
I literally, like, when I remember Tim would make fun of me when I first moved to Arizona. We were living together because I was 19, and he's like, dude, you can't name, I couldn't name any of the UFC champs. I was like, John Jones, like, it was the only one I know. And then his girlfriend literally named from 25 all the way up, knew every one of them, and I didn't know who was the champ in any of the divisions. And I was living in Phoenix to get in the UFC. I just didn't watch it. I just loved, I think it's competition, but I also fucking hated it because when I first moved to the lab, never wrestled a day in my life. And the lab's like pretty known, like they're more of a wrestling, I'd say, grinder gym. Dude, I got fucked up for years and years and years. Go in, be like, all right, let's do 2 and 2s wrestling. I didn't know how to fucking do a single leg or a double leg or any kind of wrestling. I had no idea. I would just get fucked up by the guys that were already in the UFC. And it's crazy looking back. I would leave practices crying, being like, this is my only fucking thing. Like, I want to be in the UFC, but I just had to tough it out for years at the lab.
Marlon Vera has a real similar story.
Yeah?
Yeah, he went to Jackson's, just couldn't wrestle at all.
That's funny.
It was, just amateur and just getting mauled by all these pros and just going, what the fuck am I doing with my life?
Yeah. I see people think I hate Chito. I think he's a good dude. And it's funny because when I do listen to him talk, like he was on here, right?
I love that dude.
He saunas. He eats healthy.
Yeah.
He's a father. He's got daughters. He's got kids. I'm like, we're similar. People fucking think I hate him because I beat him up one time. But it's not the case. I think we're good. We're buddies at the end of the day. But he just... Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I've heard him talk about me sometimes, and
of course he's going to talk about you.
Yeah, but he just
like you're talking about him right now.
Yeah, I say I like him. He says he hates me.
Oh, well,
maybe he doesn't say he hates me,
it's
but
very competitive.
Yeah, no.
I bet if you guys weren't in the same division, you'd be friends.
Yeah. You never know.
You never know.
Maybe after I knock him out, we can fucking hang out sometime. But that fight, that fight excites me. This Peter Yan fight excited me so fucking much, and I reached a level of excitement I didn't know I had. Like, I fight Eddie Wineland. In my mind, I was superior as far as, like, I'm better. I'm going to knock this dude out. It wasn't like and then the Thomas Almeida fight was right after the Chito fight, and the same thing. I was like, I'm gonna beat this dude. I'm going to beat this dude. The Pedro Munoz fight, I was pretty excited about. I'm like, top 10 guy. But I looked at that fight. I thought I was going to, go in there, do what I do. Ended how it ended. But the Peter Yan fight, I was so excited. Like, this is the best motherfucker in the world. This is what I had been training for 10 plus years for, is to get this opportunity to go out there and compete with a guy this fucking good. So in that camp there was a level of excitement going into sparring, level of excitement doing my it was different. But I feel like every fight moving forward is going to be like that. But that Chito one's going to be even just different, just because of the backstory.
Well, I think you and Tim and your camp were very smart in how you moved up. You came into the sport and came into the UFC young and talented, and you did it very wisely. And now that you got into a position where you could fight the best, like Piotr Jan, the fact that you were excited about it really says to me that, like, management and a good coach that you trust, that knows your abilities, is really important. It's really important in boxing, right? Like in boxing, they don't throw you to the wolves right away if they think you're good. They build you up. They give you a guy who's going to show you this look. They give you. That's why in boxing it's so common for a guy to get 10-0, 11-0 before he gets tested.
Right.
I think there's something to that, man. I think we have this fucking do or die, fucking survival of the fittest, but you're professional athletes. And I think to maximize the potential of a professional athlete, I think you have to match them up carefully. Because if you get in there with Alex Pereira, and you're a guy who likes to bang it out, but maybe you really don't have good wrestling, and oh, Jesus Christ. And you see that guy on the other end and they're building him up. And so you have this thing in your head, like you're being fed to the wolf. You don't want that. That's not good. That's not. If you have potential, like maybe if that didn't happen, and maybe you fought someone who was like commensurate with you and beat them, and maybe learned a little bit more about footwork, and maybe got a little bit better at takedowns, maybe got a little bit better at fighting off the cage, and then 2 years later, 3 years later, then you can get in there with an elite guy and you'll have confidence you can compete with him.
Yeah.
But you see sometimes when guys like know they're being fed to the wolves, it's not a good look. It's a fucking terrible feeling.
Yeah, the UFC is it's a business at the end of the day, and they did what they did with me. They saw me as a potential superstar, and now
they did it very wisely.
We're here,
and your sky's the limit too, man. Because the fucking division is filled with assassins. Sandhagen, he's a fucking assassin. That Song Yadong fight, holy shit, we were there for the Apex for that. That's why I love the Apex. You could be right there. There's like 100 people in the whole room.
Yep. I hate that cage. I fucking hate the small cage.
Smaller, huh?
I like the big cage, especially for my style. I'm sure wrestlers, short guys that like to get inside and push people against the cage, they probably love the Apex.
Don't you think they should just make it bigger?
The Apex cage?
Make it all the same.
I don't know why.
How much bigger is it?
Like 40% bigger, like quite a bit bigger.
So is there room in the Apex Center?
Oh, yeah.
So why don't they make that bigger cage?
No idea. The amount
Wouldn't it be better?
Yeah, way better.
When I saw Francis fight Stipe
Dude,
in that
Derek
little
Lewis
cage.
is fighting this weekend in the Apex.
Yeah,
that's terrifying.
That's right. Against that Spivak guy. That guy's a beast too.
Yeah, I haven't seen him compete. I don't think I might have. I just don't know his name.
But Francis versus Stipe there was terrifying.
Yeah,
that was patient Francis too. Yeah, so look at that. 7.62 meter diameter versus 9.14.
Wow, 44%.
So 44% larger. Yeah, man.
It's a whole different sport.
Don't they have the room to put that big one in there? Dana, let's put the big one in there. I used to be a fan of the little one, but now I'm really a fan of like a fucking basketball court.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
I've heard you talk about that.
Flat surface with very clear out of bounds, so there's no bullshit, with plenty of room. If we could do it for basketball and you could do it for football, tell me why you can't do it for MMA. Because the cage is a fucking weapon. It's a thing. You can shove someone against it and hold them. You could use it to get back up. There's a lot of things that happen with the cage. It limits movement. If you're going for a submission and you want to turn towards the cage and you can't, you're stuck, and maybe you lose position. So things change because of this barrier. And it's a shitty barrier to see through. It was hardcore in the fucking beginning, bro, because we're in a fucking cage, bro. But that's also why I think it had a hard time gaining acceptance.
Because, locked in a fucking cage.
Dude, when I was first doing comedy, Dana and I talk about this all the time. When we first got involved in the UFC, it was like telling people that you're involved in porn. That's what it was like.
Yeah.
They're like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing?
That's crazy. Not that long ago.
Cage fighting? You're involved in cage fighting?
Was that early 2000s or?
90s.
Late 90s?
Dude, I first did, the first event I did was in 97.
Holy shit! I remember seeing the old school the videos and shit. That's crazy.
Yeah,
97.
97.
I was 3.
You were a baby.
I was 3.
You were a baby. And I was in Dothan, Alabama with a fucking microphone. I had no coaching. No one told me what to do. I wrote a bunch of questions out on a piece of paper so I wouldn't fuck it up. So I can't fuck this. I can't choke.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, if I get in front of Mark Coleman, I might fucking panic. And I did. I fucking completely panicked. But luckily, I had questions, and good ones. I had some prepared questions, like how important it was for him to be the first wrestler to win the UFC heavyweight title. And he was like, oh, it's a good question. I said, we're all right. But it was like him after he smashed Dan Severn. He's looking at me like, who the fuck are you? And this is like bare knuckle times. Like they're bare knuckle, headbutts, wrestling shoes on. It was a totally different world.
Yeah, but that was intimidating as fuck.
Intimidating as fuck.
Walking in there. It was live?
So
like
nervous.
Live on TV?
Yes,
oh,
live on
God.
pay-per-view. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
Yeah, well,
I'm
that's
an idiot.
Crazy. We're still all fucking idiots.
And it was like, back then, it was so raw. It was like UFC 12. It was so raw. Like, the experience was so, dudes were grabbing shorts. I remember Waleed Ismail fought this guy, and the guy gave him this crazy wedgie. He was like grabbing his jockstrap and shoving it up his ass while he was fighting him. Like, you could grab clothes. When Trey Telligman fought Vitor, he didn't have gloves on.
Because
you
tried
to
pick,
fight bare
right?
knuckle. Yeah, you could say gloves or no gloves.
Or one.
Yeah.
Like that fucking
Most of
one
those
dude.
guys were going no gloves.
Fuck that.
And they could headbutt.
Oh, a nut shot, right or no? Was that the only one?
Nut shots were still legal.
Fuck that.
For the first bunch of fights, nut shots were legal. I don't know when they stopped, but I remember Keith Hackney versus Joe Son. Joe Son had Keith Hackney in a headlock, and Keith Hackney just punched him in the nuts over and over again, just straight shots to the nuts.
I would not. I wouldn't compete. I would not be in the UFC now. If headbutts, groin shots.
Bro.
I don't even like stomps on the ground. I'm glad that's not in the UFC.
You don't like it? Think it should be illegal, or
I like the UFC rules right now. I think.
what if you were really good at stomps? I bet you'd be really good at stomps.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really take people down much, so it's
But if you kick someone's legs out from under them
and then stomp them, oh, I'd rather choke them. I'd rather fucking Darce choke them or something. I don't.
But
I mean,
in certain opportunities, it is a weapon that you would use.
Yeah, I
like
would.
if you were in a life or death situation, it's certainly an effective weapon to use in some positions.
Yeah, I mean, dude, when people are trying to get up against the cage, and you're kind of standing over them, a nasty fucking soccer kick.
This is why I say basketball court.
No cage to get up on.
No cage to get up on. You don't get your head trapped.
I feel like I would be.
Yeah, so here's Keith Hackney and Joe.
Oh,
Look,
God.
nut shots, bro.
Fuck that.
UFC 4. Look at these straight shots to the
No
junk.
cup, right?
Straight
Like,
shots to the junk.
Even, well, it looks like you might wear a cup, but still.
Yeah.
That'd fucking hurt your hand, probably, depending.
Dude.
But dude, a basketball court, I feel like I'd be dominant. I feel like no one would fuck with me if
That's
they
what I'm
couldn't take me
saying.
down. If someone couldn't get me up against the cage and take me down, I don't
But
see motherfuckers.
Also, if someone did take you down, you'd have to earn getting back up to your feet. You can't use the cage. You'd have to try to get back up to your feet from being flat on your back on the ground.
I feel like I would be good at that, just creating a scramble, going like triangle and platas, like very active off my back. I feel like that would benefit me.
You know what would be really wild? If people did what Gordon Ryan is doing in MMA and challenge people to no time limit fights. No rounds, no time limit.
Yeah, fuck that. I mean, fuck that. I wouldn't really. God, I don't know. God, you get some. Yeah, I mean, who would dominate the sport? Fucking. Like, I don't know. The guy's the best. Fucking just gas tanks. I think
guys who are the best at managing distance and are managing their energy, and also I think the best grapplers.
Unlimited rounds or no rounds, just one.
Just one. Damn. The thing is, though, if you can't take the guy down, and if there's no cage, if you can't take a guy down, there's no cage, and you're moving towards him, and every time he's whack, whack, he's chopping at those legs, whack, whack. You can't corner him anywhere, and he's moving, and he's backing away, and he's got plenty of room behind him, and plenty of room. Like space is not an option anymore. It's not an issue at all. We're talking about a giant arena and a big center area, and the fighters meet in the very center, and there's very clear out of bounds lines.
But they're far. I'd feel very confident. Yeah, that would be
a completely different sport, right? But that would be a sport. Like, imagine if you played basketball, but there was like fucking shelves in the middle of the court, right?
Yeah.
You'd be so stupid. Like, why is the shelf there? I could just fucking coast through this empty space, but instead there's a desk and a table. Like, that's dumb. Like, why is there a cage? It sucks to see.
Yeah, you can never pay-per-view that, huh? The timeless.
If you're there live, it's the shit because the energy's insane. But how many times are you looking up at the big screen?
Yeah.
Like, especially if they're fighting in that little corner area where the post is. I can't see shit.
Right.
I'm 5 feet away and I'm looking at a screen.
Yeah, the cage does fuck with it. And then the ref sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, he's got to be right there. But, I mean, I guess that has to be the case anyway.
Well, some refs, like, there's some shit they just can't, like some eye pokes, they just can't see. They have to make a judgment call on the spot.
Fuck, being a ref would be tough.
What did you think about Goddard's call? I think, first of all, Mark Goddard's one of the best ever. He's fucking phenomenal. I agree with him almost always. I don't think I've ever disagreed. I mean, everyone's going to make a bad call every now and again or do something, but I think that guy is as good as they get. And when he stopped the fight, a lot of people are like, damn, I don't know. Like, what, maybe he could have let it go a little longer.
I think the ref has to know which guys are capable of what. Obviously, he knows Alex Pereira is so dangerous. I think because I like Izzy so much, I was okay with the stoppage. Like, I just feel like Izzy's a good dude. I've met him a few times. I really fucking like him. I think he's a good human. I like what he's doing. I think he's a great champion. And the fact if Alex would have KO'd him clean, that would have been very hard to see.
And he could have hit him with a knee.
Oh, like it could have been bad.
Izzy was like head down, moving like that, and wasn't moving very fast. And I know his mind was there, but his body was not moving fast anymore. He got clipped with some big shots.
Yeah,
I think it was a good stoppage.
I agree.
But I could see how Izzy would say, "Bring back Steve Mazzagatti."
I think, because I think he was saying that. I saw a clip. He was saying that before the fight. He was saying, "I hope Steve Mazzagatti." I saw Derek Lewis. Steve was in the fight so he could tee off on Alex and not have the fight stopped, and he could just keep beating up Alex. Yeah. He said that before the fight. Then I heard him say it after the fight. So I think he was kind of being funny, but I also was like.
He was definitely being funny. But he was also saying, look, he's a champion.
Yeah,
of course he's going to think that he could survive. He's like, if I make it out of that round, he could have. Anything could have happened.
Couple minutes left, he starts circling around.
You never fucking know. You never know. But it wasn't trending well.
Very fast, negative.
Yeah, very bad. And that guy is a fucking murderous puncher. And he's also, we saw that knee that he landed on Wilness. Imagine landing that there.
Especially he's up against the cage. He's kind of moving around, not looking too sharp.
Bro.
It sucks because for Izzy, he's like fought such a good fight. The only time he was really in danger is when he was up against the cage, and it's like that's the skill is not getting put up against the cage, and he did such a good job doing that. And then 23 minutes into the fight,
what was those calf kicks?
Yeah,
he got hit with those calf kicks early on. I watched that again, and go see if you could see if there's like a video showing Alex Pereira first round calf kicks. He landed like 5 or 6 of them in a row.
Yeah,
they were hard.
And I feel like I kind of remember, but I want to see that.
He's got that real sneaky way of doing it, man. He's not like looking at your calf at all. He's distracting you with certain movements, and there's no wind up to it, and it just fucking slams home. And he checked a lot of the ones that Izzy threw,
which hurts.
Yes,
hurts.
Dude. His checks were on point. He was always lifting his shin up, always. With every time Izzy's like throwing kicks, he's lifting his shin up. It's like, you got to think that guy was tuned in for glory kickboxing. Yeah. 2 division champion. So he's fighting all those guys that are kicking the shit out of each other.
Yeah.
I mean, and no takedowns at all. So you have to be like so on point with your checks.
I feel like Izzy had so many. Like, there was another. I go back to when I was saying I want to be well rounded. I want to be known. I can do everything. I can grapple. I can fucking wrestle. I can strike. He had so many opportunities. Alex is a big motherfucker, though.
It's huge.
He had opportunities to wrestle. He was in the clinches. He was in certain positions to be able to,
Well, that
if he
second
had
round when he had his back, man.
Yeah.
I mean, he had the potential to land big shots too. He was riding his back for quite a while.
Yeah. But imagine, I mean, like even in the third, fourth, he had they were in the clinch. There were options for him to wrestle. Where Alex, who knows, if he has the certain skill set to defend even like a lower level wrestler.
Right.
Like I feel like if Izzy was just a better wrestler, easier said than done.
But also you got to think Pereira probably didn't train a lot of wrestling for this camp.
Yeah.
He probably felt this was going to be a stand-up war.
100%.
That's what Izzy does in all of his fights.
Yeah.
Izzy almost got him in the first round.
Dude.
Almost got
that
him.
left hook landed like right at the
Oh
bell,
my
maybe
goodness.
after. But if there was 1 or 2 seconds left and he threw a right hand to right, left, boom, that right could have fucking.
It could have been over.
God, imagine that's so crazy.
It could have been like the Derek Brunson KO.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I mean, as he gets sharp when he sees he's a sniper.
Yeah.
Like that Derek Brunson that KO was a thing of beauty.
Yeah.
It was just perfect precision. Just pop, 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 pop. It like
Yeah.
moves in on him and it's just, oh my goodness. Yeah, he had him. I mean, he had him. He had him with 0 time.
Literally, yeah, no
Perfect
seconds
right
left.
hand, wobbles, left hook, bam.
He was
hurt.
He was seriously
Really hurt. He recovered well.
Yeah, must have been in good fucking shape.
Yeah, he recovered well, and I mean, he got so fortunate that the bell was right there. I mean, imagine if that was like 2 minutes into the fight, he cracks him with that.
Yeah, he definitely dealt with some adversity. I mean, yeah, the round where Izzy had his back. Did he
Mm-hmm.
ever have hooks in and was trying to choke, or did he just kind of riding him, standing on top, throwing?
I don't remember if he had 2 hooks. He was on the back for a long time, and he was flowing back and forth from different positions, but holding the top position in a way that you're like, I mean, I'm sure Izzy's really good at grappling, but he's not known for it.
Yeah.
He's known for being able to survive on his back and get up on his feet and stuff Marvin Vittori's takedown attempts.
Impressive.
Yeah.
Alex fucking took Izzy down, didn't he? Shoot a double A?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
He did.
That-
He did.
It's
One
always
of the rounds. I think that was the end of the first round, right?
End of
Yeah.
the first round, he was getting knocked out. Or
No.
damn near knocked
Was
out.
it end of the second round?
Might have been.
End of the second round. That's right. End of the first round, he almost got knocked out.
But yeah, Alex
end of the
dealt
second
with
round,
some-
he took him down.
That was some adversity. I mean,
Oh,
that's
for sure.
That was impressive.
Yeah, and now, I mean, what do you do? I mean, the rematch is very compelling, right? It was a very close fight. In fact, Izzy was ahead 3 rounds to 1 going into the 4th. But it was always that the feeling of danger was always there. When Pereira would like march towards him and get him close to the cage, you're like, Jesus Christ. So in the rematch, Izzy's going to be way more careful with that calf kick, right?
Yeah.
So what does he do differently? Izzy can fight southpaw. That's
Yeah.
one thing. I mean, he does fight southpaw very well. He could fight from any position.
Does he wrestle more? I mean,
Yeah.
he's
What does he
seen
do?
But wrestling is so much easier said than done. Wrestling's such a hard sport, especially with that switch knee that dude throws and just fucking so dangerous.
Well, now he knows like what went wrong, right?
Yeah.
You know, you cannot be compromised when you're with that guy.
Right.
So he's got to move around. And then Pereira's going to know he can do it again.
Fuck.
He's going to know he can do it again. He did it again. He knocked him out 2 fights in a row. Knocked him out in kickboxing and knocked him out in MMA for the world title.
That's
like he's
insane.
going to know he can do it again. But what do you do if you're the UFC? Do you risk Pereira against a Marvin Vittori or Pereira against a Robert Whittaker? Because if Izzy doesn't fight him right away and one of those guys is really good at wrestling,
I mean, Hamzat's moving up to 85 too, right?
Dude.
Who makes the most money in that division? I mean, right now probably Izzy just because he's been champ for so long, but Hamzat's a fucking problem.
he's a problem. I thought they were going to take Hamzat and give him one more chance at 170.
Well, Colby,
See,
right?
Is that accurate?
I think.
Well,
I think-
Colby could fight at 85 too if he chose to.
No,
If he chose to.
I think Colby probably walks around fucking 190.
Right.
I mean, yeah, he could. He's skill wise, he's fucking definitely skilled enough.
But if he
to.
just chose to not cut weight at all, it's
Yeah.
not like it's impossible. He's not a small guy. He's just real lean.
Oh,
know?
I've never been around him in person, but he doesn't seem like he cuts a ton for 170.
No. Well, his pace is so crazy that
Insane.
he can't be drained.
Yeah,
He can't.
that's true.
He
Yeah.
fights. He just breaks people.
Yeah.
You know, and he says he always throws punches like 50, 60%.
Yeah.
Everything's 50, 60%.
God, oh yeah, he hasn't fought.
According to ESPN, Brett Okamoto, he is asked for Pereira in January at UFC 283 in Brazil, and then said he would turn around 2 months later to fight Colby in March.
Who, Hamzat?
Yeah.
See, they're not going to give Hamzat a title shot at
Listen,
185.
if they did give Hamzat a title shot in Brazil and he strangles Pereira in front of the Brazilians, good luck getting out of there.
Dude, Pereira ain't taking that fight.
Don't take that fight. Listen, the Izzy fight is the big money fight anyway. That's
Yeah.
the big money fight.
Well, he gets pay-per-view now.
Yeah,
like
he's the champion.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah,
It's amazing. Look, I was a giant fan of that guy before he ever fought in MMA. And when he fought in MMA, I was so happy.
I remember you saying that early before he even got signed, or right as he got signed, or something.
He's the outlier of all outliers.
Yeah.
When it comes to striking. Like, he's that power outlier. You watch his, find his highlight KO reel. Bro, it's preposterous. His highlight KO reel is like, what is he doing? Like, how is he hitting them so hard? It's like Sort of like when Deontay Wilder KOs people. You're like, what the fuck, man?
Just touches him.
Deontay knocked that dude off balance, and he hit him with one of these, blap, and the dude just like was dead.
It's that. I feel like that long, like this. That
Tommy
that
Hearns.
length, that snap of the punch. But his is also snappy and heavy. It's a dangerous combination.
Yeah, because he's a big guy and he's also long.
A big fella.
Yeah, he's I mean, even when he was like 209, he fought Tyson Fury the first fight. He was 209.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
flattened Tyson.
That was that
crazy.
Still doesn't. Did you see Tyson Fury's dad yelling at Jake? Took his shirt off and was yelling at him in the boxing ring.
Really?
You didn't see that?
No.
Jamie, you got to pull that up.
Well, what did we ask you to pull up first, though? Get the
is he?
no, Pereira.
Oh,
Alex Pereira KO reel.
Didn't we already do that?
KO highlight reel. No, we should show the Jason Wilness one, that one. But there's a shitload of them, and they're all like that.
What's his record? Kickboxing glory or just
He definitely
kickboxing?
lost. He lost to Wilness by decision. He lost to a few guys. He lost to Vaitov, who's elite, in his last fight, and that was a split decision right before he came over to MMA. And then he fought that one fight in LFA. He won that fight, and then they signed him to the UFC.
Andrew Tate knocked out Pereira.
So look at these KOs. Did he really? No. What? What are you saying?
I found
that left hook. Dude,
and that's Simon Marcus. Simon Marcus is a bad motherfucker, dude.
That left hook, dude.
But I don't think he knocked Simon Marcus out here. I think he just dropped him.
Top 10 kickboxing knockout.
But he knocked everybody out.
Dude,
Look at
that left
Come on, son.
hook.
But look what happens when he hits people. Like, look what happens. They just go off.
He's so good at fucking going downstairs, upstairs.
That right to the body
Bink,
left
bink.
hook. Look at bink, boom. My goodness.
Yeah, that is a gnarly left
And that's
hook.
the Izzy one.
Fucking seen that about 400 times.
Yeah, you don't need to see that one again. Let's see this one. This one. Boom.
Ooh, just a sniper right hand. That left
Bro.
hook would have been bad.
It's just the power he generates. It's the same kind of thing that we were talking about with Deontay. That long frame, but heavily muscled.
Check. Yeah, you're right about those. Oh.
He just, once you start feeling that thud, you're like, oh Jesus Christ. Jesus. He just puts it on you, man. Like, that's how he's the outlier of outliers. Because, like, there's extraordinary power, and then there's, like, Peloton power. It's just everybody who gets hit is like, what the fuck, man?
Looks like what the fuck.
Like, what the fuck?
You got to see Tommy's dad yelling at Jake with his shirt off in the ring. Just look coked up, just fucking having it's funny. And Jake was sitting there talking, and his dad's fucking tits hanging, just yelling at him. I wonder if they'll show him just like ripping his shirt.
Nobody likes you. You're embarrassing.
John Fury tells
you're,
Jake
you're a fat,
Back it
miserable
up.
old
Back
man.
it up to the beginning so I can hear what he said first.
Come fight me right now, then. Come fight me right now, bro.
Oh, that's a big boy.
Look at him.
I'm the fucking king.
You're embarrassing.
John Fury tells
You're
Jake.
a fat, miserable old man. He looks nervous as hell.
Yeah, I didn't watch the boxing fight, but I thought that was so fucking funny. Him just ripping his shirt off in the middle of the boxing cage ring.
That's who those folks are. They're fucking wild people.
Yeah.
That's a wild family. And for Tyson Fury to come out of that, man, that's strong stock.
Yeah.
That's strong stock. That dude's fucking good.
Yeah, he's fun to watch. He's like
my
so
God.
massive, but so fucking like quick-footed, and it's just. And
when he fought Deontay in the last fight, he's standing across the ring from him. He goes, "You're a bitch. You're a bitch." He's like staring him down. "You're a bitch. You're my bitch." And you can see Deontay was like,
he's
"What
like,
the fuck, man?"
Because Deontay put on a lot of weight for that fight, didn't he? Like quite a bit for the second one.
I think for the second one, it was the second or the third one. He was calling him a bitch.
Oh, they have 3.
Don't they?
They might actually. I know was it the first one where Deontay dropped him?
Yeah, the first one Deontay dropped him. They have 3, and then he stopped him twice.
Damn.
He stopped him, and then he stopped him in the rematch. And when the rematch, the third match rather, it's not a rubber match. The third match, I guess it kind of is because the first one was a draw. But the third match, Deontay catches him hard.
Oh,
and
that's
hits him
right.
with that bomb of a right hand, and you see like literally all the ripples of his fat go down. Like it was crazy the impact of it. And then he dropped him again after that. But that right hand was a missile.
Yeah, there's some serious. There's that lengthy fucking power.
Oh, dude. Tyson Fury's a motherfucker, dude, and so is Deontay. They're like any other world, Deontay is the unified champion probably.
Yeah.
Like if Tyson Fury doesn't exist, because he's got that power. Is just everybody goes out except for Tyson Fury.
Yeah, I feel like if Francis and Tyson fought, I feel like Tyson might. I mean, Francis is always gonna have a chance, no matter what. He could fight anybody in the world and have a chance. But if it came to a boxing match,
dude,
Tyson is so good.
It's not an even matchup,
No.
you know, and the gloves make it probably harder for him to win with one shot. He certainly is dangerous as
talking
fuck.
about this video we're talking?
No. This one's great though. This one's
is
great.
that a filter?
Play this. This is for Usyk. Listen what he says here.
Say you want the WBC, and it's held by gypsies. It is held by gypsies. It's held by the Gypsy King, and it's held tightly, grasped tight, and all road leads to a 7-foot behemoth that will absolutely destroy you, middleweight. Middleweight, you will get smashed to bits. You say you wanted to fight me after you beat the bodybuilder, called me out on television, and now you're being a little bitch pussy boy, running, hiding, saying you've got injuries. You ain't got no injuries. You had a sparring contest. Get out and fight in December. You let your mouth go. Now let's back it up. See if you can back it up, middleweight. Doesn't matter if it's December or April or August next year. The outcome will be the same. I will obliterate you. I'm a 7-foot, 20-stone behemoth, and I will destroy you, middleweight. Find your balls. Come see me.
That looks like a face filter on like.
Find your
Instagram or
balls.
something.
Come see me, bitch. What's he saying again? A bear moth? Do we figure out what he said? He calls himself a 7-foot bear moth. Is that what that is?
20 stone or something.
Behemoth, is he saying maybe?
A bear moth? Behemoth?
Maybe he says it.
He's fucked up.
That's
That's
the
right.
way the closed caption had it. Yeah, it was behemoth. But that's
Let me hear him say it again.
Bear moth. He didn't say
Let me hear him say it again.
Behemoth. And I will I will obliterate you. I'm a 7-foot, 20-stone behemoth. And I will
Okay,
Oh,
behemoth.
yeah, it was that.
Behemoth.
It did sound like bear moth.
Yeah, I was like, maybe that's like a thing they say. He's a bear moth. Like,
Kinda
you know,
sounds-
like a bear man, scary.
Yeah,
He's a 7-foot bear,
pretty much. Fuck.
but who can move and he can
Quick,
real
fast.
quick, and he's skillful.
Yeah, he's sick to watch. I wonder how hard he's training out, like just like on the weekly.
I don't know. I mean, I would gotta assume that he would think that a real fight is like very close to being signed. He's got to be in some kind of shape. He's not going to let himself get fat.
Yeah, he's very disciplined.
Well, he has to be now because it's like this is the last fight or 2 fights he's ever going to have probably. He
Yeah.
was ready to retire after the Dillian White fight, and he decided to keep going. But I think he's just going to keep going because he thinks he can beat all those guys too.
Yeah, retirement's a scary thing. It's a tricky one. I mean, look at Frankie. It's like, fuck.
Do you think you know exactly when you want to get out?
I feel like I have a good team around me, but I also know like how competitive I am and how like I think I'm not a coach. I feel like I can't coach. I do think it'll be fun to stick around, and if Tim and I, once I retire, maybe co-coach and build up a student if we can get like some great athlete, or maybe coaching might help kind of eat like with that. But I don't know. It's kind of scary to think about retirement, just because I like being in camp and I like knowing there's a fight around the corner. For me to even think about maybe not fighting until like June, July, I'm like, fuck, it's a long time. But I'm hoping I definitely have the right people around me, but it's not even up to them really. I mean, I'm sure Frankie has good people. It's that competitiveness that, I don't know. Or you maybe like Conor, you just make so much fucking money and you just go do.
But it seems like clearly he's still got a competitive drive. He's still working out really hard. There's a bunch of videos of him wrestling.
Yeah.
There's videos of him. He's kicking the bag with his fucked up leg, which is crazy. Like, and I think with a lot of those guys that get those pins, they have to make the decision whether to leave it in or to take it out.
So have surgery again to take it out?
Yes.
Oh, fuck.
Yes.
Yeah, I wonder if you're allowed to keep it in.
I don't know. I don't know what kind of hardware they put in his shin. But I do know that some guys have had to have a second operation and take plates out. Like Tim Sylvia, I believe, had to. Because, his arm broke with Frank Mir.
That's gross.
And then, there's Anderson. He had his leg screwed back together. Chris Weidman hasn't fought since he broke his leg against Uriah Hall.
Oh, he hasn't?
I don't believe so. I don't believe Chris has fought.
I don't think Silva took his out.
Silva didn't?
I'm reading an article about it right now. It says the doctor said it wouldn't have been a benefit either.
Dude, another surgery
Well,
would have
it's not whether or not it's a benefit. It's also whether or not it's fair. Like if a guy has a titanium plate over his shin,
Dude.
look, it's like you. So it's going to be different in each case. So in some cases, the leg's going to be really compromised to the point where the guy never feels confident about kicking with it again. And Tyrone Spong, again, we said he fought that MMA fight with Caratana, but I don't think he had other kickboxing fights after he broke his leg with Gokhan Saki. So it's like, can you throw a kick with that leg? And if you can't throw a kick with that leg, is it okay then that you have the plate still? Because like the leg's already fucked up anyway. Like, is it balance it out, or did you get that plate put in and you had full recovery, and now you're smashing things with a shin that also has a plate in it?
Fuck, I'd feel a lot more confident if I knew I had metal shins.
Would you though? Because you also have screws. So there's these fucking screws in your shin. Do those compromise your shin?
Yeah, that's a good point. I was just picturing. I remember when I had my Liz Frank surgery on my foot. You know, there was an option. The 2 surgeries was the one with they put the screws in or whatever, and then they have to redo the surgery or surgery and take them out, or do whatever I did. And I did what I did, so I don't have any metal in my foot. But yeah, I don't know.
How long did that take you to recover from?
Dude, the Liz Frank surgery took legitimately 2 years to stop hurting. Wow. But I was probably training on it too soon. I probably wasn't doing exactly everything. This was 2018, so I was kind of learning about eating healthy, and I was still learning a lot of stuff, so I might not have taken care of it the best way. But legit 2 fucking years, that foot hurt so bad. Like, I would train and it would just ache. I would have to ice it every day. It was miserable. The Liz Frank surgery was miserable.
What is specifically the injury that causes that surgery?
So that happened in my fight when I was laying on my back talking to you. So I threw the head kick, and then right when I threw the head kick, I planted and threw a right hand, and my foot snapped when I landed. So
it's the bones in the middle of the foot.
Yeah, and the tendons and shit. Oh god, it was so fucking.
Boy.
Yeah,
Jesus.
Yeah, that was fucked. And then I remember I had to get like an extra. I remember I went to the Vegas doctor after the fight, and they said no, you're fine. And then they told Dana, oh, his foot's fine. And then Dana said at the post-fight conference, like, my foot was fine. I got carried out in a stretcher, and everyone was making fun of me. And but yeah, my fucking foot snapped in half. And then I went to another doctor in Arizona. They did X-rays and shit, and they're like, oh, it's fine. So it was like the 3rd doctor I went to. They're like, oh, your foot's torn in half. I'm like, how the fuck are these doctors not fucking finding this? It's like, you're a fucking yeah.
So it was 2 years before there was no pain. How long before you had full movement?
I don't even remember. I just remember fucking definitely I wasn't able to run for like 2 years. Like grappling, just bouncing around hurt, but I could still do it. But I was like just doing it through the pain. I'd always have to wrap it a certain way. I don't even remember though.
And so what was it like fighting with that?
So now it feels now it feels fine. I feel like I feel it if I'm really eating bad.
Did you have any fights where it came up after that?
No, it's been I haven't had any issues with it.
So from that injury, how long was it before you fought again?
2 years.
2 solid years.
2018 to 2020.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, I had gotten suspended from the Austrian.
Right.
Which worked out perfect in a way because I was dealing with this. I was trying to I booked a fight like a year or something later. I was supposed to fight Jose Quinones, and like I was going into that fight super fucked up. My foot was in so much pain, and I was going into that fight, and I was a couple weeks out before I got suspended, and then so I couldn't fight because the suspension, but it was so perfect timing because my foot was so fucked up. So it was like very beneficial that I couldn't fight. But then 2 years later, but yeah, I was grappling a lot in those 2 years, even with my foot fucked up.
Did you just not plant on it?
It was just painful. It wasn't. I don't know if it was just super inflamed all the time, or if I just didn't. You know what? I think it was a lot of scar tissue. I didn't get it massaged out enough. I didn't get enough manual physical therapy. So I probably just didn't take care of it enough. But I know Liz Frank injuries, I was looking it up and stuff, and they're very serious fucking injuries. Like, people can be career enders. I think it happens with football players and shit, but it can be a serious injury. But I've been super fortunate lately. I've been feeling good.
Well, it seems like you're back 100%. Like, your movement's excellent.
I had a torn labrum in my right hip shortly after that that Liz Frank surgery. So I had 2 surgeries within like a couple months, and because my debut and then that second fight, I had a torn labrum. Man, I couldn't fucking. It hurt so bad. Have you ever had a torn labrum in your hip at all?
No.
It's just annoying as fucking. A lot of people have torn labrums, but just small tears, and then eventually it gets to a point to where it's like it's an issue, and that's where mine was. So I fought Terrion Ware with a torn labrum, and I remember walking around Fight Week in Vegas, and I was just fucking. It was the most uncomfortable. Like I had to like hobble back to my hotel room and stretch and just like. It was super painful, but I was able, right after Liz Frank surgery, shortly after I got the hip surgery, which was not bad at all. Like that's a lot less of a surgery. So, but yeah, now I feel fucking great. I would like to get my nose fixed eventually.
Justin Gagey just did his.
Yeah, I heard that your nose is less. It's weaker after you get surgery. I don't know.
I think the benefits of you being able to breathe out of your nose far surpass.
Yeah.
The weakness.
Yeah, I would agree.
It'll help your cardio.
Yeah.
I got mine done
Yeah.
like a while back, like 15 years ago. It's the fucking greatest decision I've ever made.
I sleep with mouth tape every night.
It's probably hard to get air through that
Yeah,
nose, right?
once I'm a little congested right now, but even last night at the hotel, I bring my mouth tape. I sleep with it, and I have to fucking. I've been sleeping with mouth tape for years now, and I have to. But I have to make sure. I have to hit some nose spray sometimes.
Maybe it's a good time to do it now, because if you know.
Fuck that! Dude. I'm so ready to get back to the gym. I'm ready to grind and grapple, and I'm pretty much.
What are you hoping for? Like if they offer you a title shot, when are you hoping for? July.
If I had to guess, yeah, it would be July. I wanna get. I just want to go grind and be in the gym and just basically be in jiu-jitsu camp, because I know which is gonna benefit me in the long run anyway. And that's what I've been doing. It's grinding on the jiu-jitsu anyway. But I want to take it up another level. I'm in such a good mind space and a head space to just get back to the grind of grappling and wrestling, and it's going to benefit me so much. So the next 4 or 5 months, what do we got? December, January, February, March, May, June, July.
Because it seems like
months.
a good fight for that big card that they do.
International fight.
Yeah.
I'm so curious if Henry and Aljo are going to fight in like March in Vegas. I know that's probably what the UFC. If Henry's coming back, he deserves a title shot. Whatever. Let those guys fight. Aljo's healthy. He just beat up TJ. He took no injuries.
How much time does Henry need to get ready?
Supposedly Henry's on Twitter saying, "Let's go, Aljo." He was calling out in Perth for February. So I think Henry's ready to go. Aljo, I don't know. I don't know if he knows Henry's a tough fight, doesn't want that fight, or what. But if I had to guess,
it's definitely a tough fight.
Oh, 100%. Henry's a tough fight for anybody. They fight in March. I fight the winner in July is what I'd like. So, but for me, my next fight, it's a title fight. So it's whoever, it doesn't matter. I'm fighting for the title.
Sugar Shane!
Yeah, Sugar Shane. Every time I've heard him do like on Instagram or interviews or get asked, Sugar Shane. That's just me for Snoop, but that's fine. It's fucking Snoop.
It's hilarious.
It's close enough.
Yeah, it's hilarious. Well, hey, brother, thank you very much for coming back in here, and congratulations on the win and all the progress and everything. It's been fun to watch, man.
Fuck yeah, I appreciate it, Joe. Thank you so
much.
much.
It's been fun.
Thank you.
I can't wait for your next one. It's going to be exciting.
10 more years of the Sugar Show.
10 more.
Yeah, 2020 to 2030. The Sugar era, and we're fucking I'm excited. Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you, Joe.
Tell everybody your social media so they can
find
you.
The Timbo Sugar Show podcast. That's me and Tim's been doing a podcast actually after we came on the first time. You fucking inspired us, so thank you. Timbo Sugar Show podcast on YouTube and all that good shit. And then just my Instagram, Sugar Sean. Then my merch, sugarshop.co. Appreciate it.
Boom. Bye, everybody.